Okay, give me a couple checks.
Check 1, 2,
Okay,
2.
sit like where you're
Normal?
gonna be comfortable.
This is
Yeah,
kind
like
of where I'd be at.
yeah, you can kind of move
Check,
it.
check.
You can get closer, like where, like
Yeah. Just want to
Yeah.
get it, like
Yeah.
pretty much like a vocal mic. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. You know the deal.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
That feels
perfect.
comfortable, like
okay.
right there.
All right. Cool. All right. Check.
Yeah. Check. This is a sick rig, man.
Yeah, man. I put a lot of damn money into it, but I mean, if you don't drink, you spend your money on cooler shit, because you're not spending $100 a week on booze. So
100%.
All right, let's see. All right, everything's set up. That's good to go. Mics are on. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, I'm gonna hit record. What's your last name?
Padron.
Do you want me to say that, or do you just want me to say Saul?
Saul's fine, man.
Okay.
It's either way.
Yeah, I'll just say Saul. Do you want me to say Saul from your band, or just Saul?
No,
from
Saul's
this band?
fine. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Cause
all right. Yeah, because we'll get into it anyways.
yeah, as informal as it can be.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Okay. All right, man. Saul, thank you for coming on the show today. I got a hold of you through our mutual friend Lionel.
Yeah, man.
And he told me that you were in a band with one of my high school friends. And he told me some interesting stuff about you. So I was like, man, give him my number. Have him on, have him the show. Thanks for coming on, dude.
Yeah, no problem, man. Yeah, Lionel's actually one of my oldest friends.
Like in life, period.
In life, yeah. Actually, it's funny because, like, my parents grew up with his parents. So, like, we're, like, second generation
shoot.
hanging out
Oh,
stuff.
okay. So we're talking, like, 3 or 4 years old?
Oh, totally, yeah. I remember the only place I could really go that would let me just walk. And I would go, hey, in the morning, I'm going to Lionel's. Cool. Come back at night. Like, oh, where were you at? Lionel's, chilling. Like,
yeah.
Ninja Turtles all day, bro, and wrestling.
Oh, dude, I was hardcore Ninja Turtles, bro. I was diehard Ninja Turtles, dude.
Bro, I just did on my TikTok the other day a stop motion of the toys
No
I still
way.
have. I was like, yeah, no, this is so much fun. Yeah.
Stop motion?
Yeah,
Dang,
man.
That's cool. I wish I had some toys, dude. I had everything, dude. I had everything my dad would buy me. My freaking dad painted a mural on the whole wall of Ninja
So
Turtles.
rad.
Like, he
That's so
painted it.
rad.
It was freaking dope. And I remember one time my dad, he told my brother, he goes, hey, Jeremiah, would you rather have a bike or the Technodrome? He was like, he didn't even think twice. He's like, Technodrome.
Dude, all day, man. Dude, I have a little Krang at my house, and I'll put them on other toys as I walk through. I'll just put it, now your Krang's head. Done. All day, dude.
Dude, they had like this big-ass Technodrome. It was like $100, and then you could like
Bro.
open it up and have all
The
this stuff in there.
the turtle van, dude.
Hell yeah.
I always wanted to have that. Like,
Yeah. You should buy it, dude. eBay.
No, man, it's like super expensive,
I
and they know we have money.
I know. It's like $500 turtle van,
I'll pay it too.
I know, right? For sure, dude. That's worth it.
Oh yeah, man.
So yeah, man, thanks for coming on the show, and let's talk about your band a little bit, man, because there's a few things that I want to get into with you, and one of them for sure is music.
Hell yeah, man. Heck yeah. Well, my band's called Return to Sender. That's my main band where we do most of our writing. We've been together here in Corpus now for about 10 years. And I was living in Tampa, Florida. And we moved back home and kind of got back into playing. And that's been my main band. The only 2 core members that are still there are me and the bass player. But we've been doing that. And that has led us to a lot of cool stuff, man.
Yeah. So I heard he told me that you were in a band with Clarissa for a while. Is that how's that?
Almost the same amount of time. So I started my band. The funny thing is, I used to work at Guitar Center. I worked for the company for like almost 10 years.
Yeah.
And they told me, hey, every Tuesday there's this place called Revolution downtown. Not downtown. This one was where the South Side is now.
It was a bar?
Yeah, it was a bar, and it was owned by some cool cats. Rick Medina, who actually owns some bars now in Alice, and they were like, if you like music, live music, Tuesday nights they have $1 beer night. You go out, have some fun. It's like a cool thing where Clarissa plays, and I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
And ended up getting to know everybody there. And then we got into like, hey, well, can my band play here? And that band ended up backing up Clarissa for almost 8 years or so.
Wow.
Yeah, man, it's been a lot of fun, but it all started there at Revolution, which isn't even there anymore.
Wow. Okay, sorry, I had to
No, go
pause it
for
real
it. Go for
quick
it.
because I'm hearing a little. Are you hearing
The
a
pop. Yeah.
the like the from the fan?
Yeah.
Damn it! I wanted to keep it on because it's hot in here.
No, no, yeah, I got you.
Shit, I wonder if I should. Here, I'm gonna listen
Well,
back to it and see if we can hear it.
yeah, go for it.
Can you hear it, or are we just hearing?
It's kind of there,
this
but
one?
you might be able to kill it with like a low filter.
Yeah, or maybe I'll just. Cause I have it pointing right at the mics. Just maybe do it like that a little bit, or maybe point it more this way.
Yeah, either way it works with that open. It feels good. With that
You're
open,
cool?
it feels
Yeah,
good.
okay.
Yeah, it feels.
Sorry, man. I'm gonna.
Oh,
Put
worry
the
not,
AC in
man.
here, dude.
Worry not,
eventually.
man. It's all good.
I've been outside all day playing golf. I'm fucking.
Oh, bro,
wicking it.
no. When you said what you were doing, I was like, no, I get it. Like, bro, that sun will eat you up right now.
Oh hell yeah, dude! It's brutal out there. Okay, so let me see where you were at. Okay. So I know that she was on TV and everything, man. She had
Yeah,
her
man.
little 15 minutes of fame, and now she's like, I think she has her own show or something.
Yeah, man.
right?
She was on The Voice.
Yeah.
She did pretty good on there, and then after that, we did some playing. It was actually really random how she got that gig too.
Really?
She was on a boat because she had The Voice stuff, and a reporter didn't show up, and they were like, "Hey, would you like to be the anchor tonight?" She did it on the fly, and after that, it was like, "Hey,
You're good.
would you like to do this?" I was like, man, that's super random. And she's just that kind of person, man. She just took it by the horns and was like, here we go.
Yeah, for sure, man.
I would have freaked out.
Yeah, if you get that kind of opportunity, you just got to take it, you know?
Yeah, man. And she's, that's the way it's been, kind of like why we work so well together. When me and her
Yeah.
get together and work, it is that kind of like, well, we push each other, and it's a lot of fun, man.
Yeah. I knew her. I was in art with her, and she was a grade above me.
Okay.
So, but my stepbrother was a grade above me. So like he would hang out with her, and I would hang out with my stepbrother, and there was like a little like like a little clique, like
Yeah,
everyone
of
would hang out
course.
and stuff. And yeah, man, I became pretty good friends with her. And I remember one time I went to her house, and she had like this room, and there was like a badass drum set and a guitar, and I was like, oh, dude, that's so awesome. She's like, yeah, I'm starting a band. I'm
Heck
like,
yeah,
really?
man.
She's like, yeah, I'm starting a band. I'm like, dude, that is super cool. And like I was jealous because she had like badass equipment. She had badass equipment. And
Yeah, man.
I had all these rinky-dink amps and shit, you know.
Yeah, a lot of times, man, it's not what you have, it's how
Oh,
you
for
use
sure,
it, man.
for sure.
And like it's intimidating, especially when you're younger, like with people you're like, whoa, bro, what's that?
Yeah, yeah. And now I'm older. I'm like, fuck. I always wanted a nice drum set, so I bought that monster right
Hell
there.
yeah, no, that thing is sweet, dude.
Yeah.
Those shells look awesome.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. It's one of those things where you couldn't have it when you were younger, so you just.
Oh man, that's everything right now. That's like when you get older, you actually see it like, oh well, that's not too far off. I might be able to grab that right now.
Yeah, for sure, man. But yeah, that was cool. I was glad to see that she got to do all that fun stuff.
Oh man, and she's still continuing to do it, man.
Yeah.
She's definitely one of my most favorite people to jam with, because she's
Yeah.
really good at ad-libbing, and she's really just fun to be around, to
Right.
be honest.
Yeah, for sure, man. So do you still play with her, or?
Yeah, man. Right now, with everything going on, we've been kind of slacked a little.
Yeah.
But we do pick up gigs. Like we were doing opening slots at Brewster Street, opening up for
Oh,
like some
okay.
of the tribute bands that came through.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, knock out about an hour and a half of music, get off
Yeah.
stage, the big band comes out.
For sure.
And that's really what we've been kind of keeping it to.
Yeah.
We don't really have to so much continue to play out as much right now with everything
Yeah.
going on, but
Yeah.
we can still be out there and be relevant sometimes.
Yeah, for sure, man. What about your solo band? How's that going?
Oh man, still good. It's kind of funny because it's almost an overlap of most other bands. So with my band, I wouldn't even say it's my band. It's me and my buddy Matt's band.
What does he play?
He plays bass.
bass, right?
And
Okay,
he owns a studio that him and his buddy run, called Harbor City Sound, and it's awesome, right?
Here in Corpus?
Yeah, it's actually in Flower Bluff, the
Oh,
place.
okay. Cool.
But it's awesome, man. And the cool thing is that what we wanted to do with the band, especially when we started out, was write original music. That
For sure.
turned into us backing up other people. So then it just became like we wanted to be that go-to band. Like, hey,
Yeah.
we backed up DJ Kane for a while. We did Clarissa Cerna. Each member played with other bands like La Conquista, stuff like that, while we were kind of coming up because we just love to kind of sit in
Yeah.
that. So it kind of turned now where I just write my own stuff and I'll put that out on the side.
Yeah.
We write for other people, and with the studio, we'll write our own stuff. So just more of a creative thing right now
Yeah.
than anything else.
That's awesome, man. So y'all like almost like hired guns. Like y'all just write good music and you can get people
Yeah.
that want it. And
That's it.
You know?
And then live, when we go out there, a lot of it's just covers, but we do our own arrangements. So
Right.
we take a song that we know and we're like, hey, well, let's try this. And, you know, sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's always different.
Oh, for sure, man.
And it's one of those things where we understand for us, since we're not really focused on really pushing the original stuff because it's just more for art and fun,
Yeah.
just to go out there and, hey, have some
Yeah.
fun with everybody else.
I mean, if you can get a good gig playing cover songs, there's no
Oh,
shame
dude.
in that, you know.
Oh, totally, yeah. And I play my originals peppered in there every now
Right,
and then,
right.
so it
There
still
you
works.
go.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. If what do you like doing more?
Man, actually, I love just playing. It really
Right,
doesn't
so it
matter
doesn't
to
matter.
me. Yeah, but the cool thing with what I do is I can take a song and make it my own. So
Yeah.
that way it doesn't become boring to me. Like I can
Like
play
if
the
you
same
do a cover song, you can like kind of like add a little bit of this or something. Or
Oh,
like that.
totally, yeah. Or
Yeah.
sometimes just rearrange it to where it's like a different song altogether.
Yeah.
And so when I'm playing it and somebody's hearing it, they're almost going like, "Oh, wait, we got to stop my conversation because that's
Right.
is that this song?"
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
"Yeah,
yeah.
totally."
Yeah, for sure. Even if like you pick it different or strum it different.
Oh,
or,
totally, yeah.
Or you do the solo a little bit different, add a couple
Well,
bends and slides.
there's
and
really
whatnot.
only two ways to play a song, and that's to me from the heart. Is you have the way that the record has it, and
Right.
if you're anywhere
Right.
better or
Yeah.
worse, people are gonna, hey man,
For sure. Hey,
yeah.
you didn't hit that note right.
Or
yeah.
you did all of this extra stuff you
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
need, or you do it your own.
Yeah.
And when you do it your own way, that doesn't leave a lot of room for people to be like, oh well, they don't have to like it. As long as
Yeah.
you do, hey, have fun with it.
Yeah, for sure, man. I know I've heard bands do cover songs and I'm listening to it like, you know, like is he gonna do it right or is he gonna do it wrong or sometimes it could. Well, it depends on what song you're playing. Like you could be playing
course.
like a really hard Rush song or something, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, and I hear him play, and if he just gets the gist of it and it sounds good, I'm like, yeah, badass, you know, you
Oh,
got
yeah,
it,
man.
you know.
I learned a long time ago, man, that there's always like, especially if I'm doing like Crazy Train, there's that
Oh,
one guy
yeah.
you can see through the crowd.
Yeah, he's like
peering
staring
dead
at
at you, like,
He's
here
like,
comes
"You
the solo,
motherfucker."
bro.
Yeah.
Here it's coming. Let's
Is he
see what
gonna
you
do it?
got. And I'm
And-
like, hey man, I'm not Randy Rhoads.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, there's
Exactly.
no way.
Exactly. And then he tells his friend, "Oh, I could have done that better,"
I mean,
or he didn't nail it perfect, you know. But
I mean, they probably could. To be honest with you, like I've made a really good living of faking it till you make it.
hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. And that's all it's about, man. Is like you said, man. It doesn't matter if it's a cover or
man.
original. It's just fun to freaking play, you know.
Well, the truth about any art, man, is that if you're doing it from the heart,
yeah.
it's gonna be real and accepted. If you're doing it
Yeah.
for fakers, people see through BS, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah. For
you,
sure.
You've seen it where you're like,
yeah.
okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been in a lot of bands. I had my original band called Imperial.
Cool.
And that was a lot of fun, man.
What kind of music?
Like technical metal, like
Hell yeah.
technical, like real. I got into progressive metal a lot.
Hell
Like I
yeah.
freaking love like 10-minute songs, you know, Dream Theater and all
Hell
that,
yeah,
Opeth,
hell
all
yeah.
that stuff. I'm like, dude, that is so amazing. So I started like, oh, okay, I'm gonna write a 10-minute song, you know. And so
Dude.
like I would like add like all this shit, and it was hard on my bandmates.
Yeah.
But they were into it, man. So it's a lot harder that way, you know. But that
Totally.
was my funnest stuff
Well,
to do.
the funny thing is, like, where I am now musically is nowhere near where I started. Like,
Yeah.
my favorite band growing up was Testament. I
Testament.
loved Alex Skolnick
Yeah.
and that stuff that they did, you know, New World Order alone. Like, you know, practice
Yeah.
what you preach, you know. You got this stuff that's just brutal, and then the thrash stuff
Yeah, it's
was
just good
was
old
fun,
thrash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to do, man.
Yeah.
I wanted to be in a thrash band. I did, when I was younger, like, hardcore bands. I did really
Yeah. Oh,
aggressive metal. And then somewhere in there, I started doing what I do now. And most of what I write is heavier. But what I do out and play is just like, hey man, here's ding ding ding, there you go.
Yeah.
It's kind of soulless sometimes.
So, so, so do you sometimes, like, let's say you're saying, okay, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna write a song. Do you know, like, this song has to be popish sounding, or does this song have to be like I saw you with the cumbia hat? Do you write songs like that kind of? You know,
Oh yeah,
stuff
man.
like
Well,
that?
well, it's funny because like even for what I do, so a lot of what I've done in the recording wise is very broad. So what I loved growing up was I watched a movie, and you see where the guitar player's there, and he's like, I don't do any of this music.
Yeah.
And they're like, can you play this song? And he's like, yeah, bro.
Yeah.
And then they become big. In my head, I was like, I got to learn all these styles so that I can, never say no.
Yeah.
And when I write, a lot of is mixed in.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
have to
yeah.
pull from influence. Like I did about 1.5 years with DJ Kane, which is totally cumbia. And, most people, you have the Bajo Sexto, stuff like that. And it's got a hip hop vibe.
Yeah.
But for me, they were just like, they wanted me to be a rock player. So I
Okay.
got to do these metal shearing, finger tapping solos in front of this crowd that didn't want to hear that at first. But
yeah.
they're there like, yeah, bro, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So when I write, it depends. Like when I write personally, I just start, hey, here's this idea, and it grows.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But if somebody asks me to specifically, here's
Oh,
this,
okay,
I'll
I
pull
see.
from that. But
Okay.
it really
Like,
depends.
Yeah, like if someone's trying to get, like, hey, dude, we need you to write this type of song. You're like, all right, cool, I can
Totally,
handle it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's about where I grew up was, in school, here's the part. So there's people who can overplay, and I overplay a lot when I record.
That's for sure, dude.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I'm sitting there going like, here's the part.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, it's cool, pull it back. And then I pull it back a little.
Right.
And then at the end, I'm just playing a chord. They're like, that's the
That's
part.
it right there.
And I'm talking like guys that I'm trying to impress.
Yeah.
And they're like, the impressive part is just to play the chord.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I learned, hey, whatever the song needs. So.
Dang. Yeah, and that's a hard thing to realize, man, when you're trying to make music.
Oh,
You know,
man.
because like I was saying, like when I was playing with my friends, I was like trying to write the most hardest song I possibly could, and I would tell my drummer, I said, I know you can do it, bro. So because I was almost doing it to challenge him,
Yeah.
because I know he's really good. So I'm like, I'm gonna like troll him and like try to make something really hard.
Well, that's the thing, is that you got to do that, especially
Yeah.
at the beginning, because we emulate at first. Hey, we want to
Yeah, yeah.
become
Oh, for
those
sure.
people, but really we're making these riffs and they're complicated. Like I used to write super complicated.
Yeah,
Me
yeah.
and my buddies would have these parts that I wrote in high school that I still remember, and
Oh,
I'm
really?
like, bro, this is awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
But now I realize, oh, this is what works.
Right.
And a lot of times knowing
That's how you
that,
get the jobs.
well, a lot of times knowing that can hinder your creativity too.
Right,
Like,
right.
I don't write anything, but when I'm playing with metal plans, I'm like, I forget that I love this.
Yeah,
Like, this is
yeah.
where my heart is. And
Yeah, for sure. And see, like, if someone were to come up to me like, hey, can you write me a country song? I'd be like, get the hell out of here, dude. I ain't playing. like, I'm hardcore. I'm not going to write a country song, you know? Even though I probably could, you know?
Well,
But maybe that's, you
well,
know.
here's the thing, especially with that. I had
Yeah.
that mentality growing up. But when people ask you to do something, I've learned, especially in music,
Right.
they want your interpretation of it. I used to think
Yeah.
like, oh, you want a country song. Well, here's all the A, B, C lined up, and there's your country
Right.
song. But sometimes when you do, here's my interpretation of a country song, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, to me, like,
Yeah, because it's not going to be, it's going to be what you're,
yeah,
you know,
totally.
yeah.
Like Pantera, perfect example of like, to me, that's country music. All those twangs and bends.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe not my
No,
grandfather's country,
right.
but
It's like
definitely
rebel music.
Yeah. And
for
it
sure.
resonates really well because those licks are familiar to us.
Yeah.
And it has that influence where you know that's Texas
Yeah.
groove
Oh,
metal.
for sure,
Yeah.
dude. That, for sure. And that's what makes a band good, man, when they freaking stand out completely, you know?
Oh, and well, that's what all of this is, man. Oh, it's out of all the voices in the world, finding yours, whether it be in one instrument, whether it be your voice, whether it be what you do, is finding that thing that makes you go, hey, this is what I'm good
Right.
at, and finding
Yeah.
that group that does that together.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. That's a hard part too, man.
Oh man, it's like
That's hard.
like a daycare, bro.
Hell yeah, dude. We tried to start a band since we were like 13, dude. I remember we were trying our hardest and we were learning all the Metallica songs, and I was playing all the damn
Yeah,
Metallica
man.
songs and sitting in my room for hours learning all the solos, you know, trying to make it, dude, you know, just trying to
Yeah.
make it, and it just
Well, see, that's the other part. The other part is what is making it. So like for me
yeah,
growing up, I swear, I had wall to wall posters at my house, like
me too,
floor to
dude.
ceiling,
Me too.
and it was like that's what I want
That's
to
it.
do.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what that meant, you know.
Right,
Like I was
yeah.
actually talking with my wife about this. Like
Mhm.
when I saw these guys partying and drinking and
Yeah.
doing that thing, I was like, oh, that's what you do. Like I didn't think like now.
Yeah.
Like I have my kids that are watching me. My wife's
For
like,
sure.
where you at?
Mhm.
So for me, making it is doing what I love and
Making. a
well,
living.
just
Or
have
something-
enough money to support what I
Yeah.
do. Like
Yeah.
my art pays for me to do it.
Hell
Like
yeah.
all my money I make from playing goes right back into my art. So I'm not
Yeah.
spending any of my money.
Exactly.
And once it starts paying for itself, it makes it really easy to go, hey, this is what I love.
Definitely. Definitely, dude. It takes the work out of it when it's.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And writing, man, is the best part. Like what everybody has now, even like this podcast. Like
Yeah.
you have the ability to make everything on your own. Where it's,
Oh yeah.
when we
it's
were
awesome.
kids, that wasn't there, and these
Hell
companies
no,
were taking
dude.
advantage of everybody.
Yeah, for sure, man.
And still do. Like
Yeah. Oh hell yeah, they do, man. They're doing it even more now.
Oh man.
Like Spotify, what kind of shit is that, dude?
Bro, it is nuts. I'll get my royalty statement sometimes, and they'll be
Uh-huh.
like, "Here's the 10 plays. Here's your 5 cents." I'm like, "Thanks."
What?
Yeah, I'll get a direct deposit. Here's your 5 cents. It's so great.
That's crazy, dude. I heard like I think For Real, the rapper, he made a song called Happy or something.
Yeah.
It had like over 1 billion plays or something,
Yeah,
and he
man.
got like $5,000 or
Yeah.
something crazy
I
like
mean,
that. I'm
the-
like, dude, that's just not right, man.
Well, it's that in between time with anything. So when you have a medium that's just coming out, when that's this case, it's the internet. And stuff.
Yeah.
What happens is that there's no rule for this.
Right.
So
There's
the
no
company,
precedent,
yeah. So
they
the
just
companies
go
can
for
say,
it.
hey, look,
Yeah.
here's why we're doing this, and if every other company's in agreement, they can just screw us over.
Hell yeah.
And that's
dude.
why, like for me, like you could like I do publishing and stuff through BMI.
What's that?
It's like a company that basically does licensing. So when I write a song, I'm signed up with this company. I register it with it. So when I play my own music out, I can get paid because most places that you play at have a licensing to play live music. If they have a jukebox, that's what they play into. So every time a song is played, like you go to a bar
Yeah.
and you play your favorite song,
Right.
that's counted, and it goes to two major ones that I know of, ASCAP and BMI, and they just give credit to the people that made the music. That's
Yeah.
how you get your royalties and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But a live band, like if your band recorded a CD and y'all went and played at House of Rock and you played all your song, you could write that into BMI and they pay you because
What?
they license the song, and technically you're playing your music at the venue.
Really?
Yeah. And it's one of those things that not a lot of musicians know about.
Yeah, I
And
guarantee
it's-
you not a lot of
And
musicians
it's
know about
super,
that.
super beneficial to a writer. Now, you are signed up with a company, and these companies do license your music. But at the same time, you're giving credit to the writers.
Yeah, at
And-
least they're getting something.
Yeah, and it's not something anybody ever tells you because that's part of
Yeah.
the business side. And it's really easy to do. Like, I do it on my own. And whenever I play my song, hey, and you just go through it and have some fun, man. Like, because you still get your royalty statements through whatever medium is, but you also get it for playing it out live yourself.
Yeah. Dang, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's really fun.
That's cool. So, man. Okay, so let's say you write a song, right?
Yeah.
Is it your band, what's it called, that band? The
Return
band?
to Sender.
Yeah, okay, Return to Sender.
Yeah.
So let's say you write a song for that band.
Yeah.
Is that registered in that thing?
Yeah.
And then-
And then anything I've written, like with Clarissa.
right?
And whenever I play the song out with Clarissa, I put it into my list. Hey, I played this song on this date. And because it was a licensed place, they'll go make sure the place has its license. Okay, cool. Here,
Wow.
and I'll get paid that royalty for that.
Dude.
Because whenever you play your music, you're still playing. It's just like anybody playing it on the radio. It doesn't cover
Yeah.
TV and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if you're playing at a venue, every venue has to sign up for that if they're doing live music or any kind of jukebox. Because that's all licensed from. It's like,
Yeah.
it would be like illegally playing it if you didn't do it.
No,
And
yeah, I get it.
you get hit
Yeah.
really bad. There was a place, I think here locally, that got hit. It's like $5,000 or something for hey
Really?
man, you don't have this,
Oh.
and they'll hit you with it, man.
Okay. What about podcasts?
It's a little bit different the way I don't know. You'd have to look into that one. I know
Because
it's
I mean, I'm putting it out on Spotify, and then people listen to it.
yeah. I mean, if
It,
it's
it seems like the same
I
thing.
would have to look into that. Yeah,
Dude, that's
definitely.
crazy. I could be getting paid for this
Or
shit.
you know what? The cool thing is if you do it, you could actually do your song. Hey, here's me playing it. If you played it,
Yeah.
that would register to me. In my mind, I would have to look it up. But yeah.
Dude, I'd have to talk to you a little bit about that off air, man. Maybe
Yeah,
you could
totally.
explain that a little bit to me
Yeah,
more.
man. I'll show it to you.
And not only that, I know a lot of local bands, dude, and they don't make shit. We don't
No.
make any money. I've played gigs, lots of gigs, and we don't get no money.
Well,
you know?
the biggest thing, and like I said, what goes back into like making it, like
Yeah.
it's what do you want to do?
Yeah.
When I was growing up, it was you get the record label,
Right. That's
gets
what,
it, and that's
you
you
get
make
the
it
record
big.
deal, and you're
Yeah.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't until I started hanging out with musicians that were signed and
Ah.
talking with them, and like I had one dude, I'll never forget this. There was a place at the compound, and it was Haste the Day. And it
Mhm.
was one of my favorite bands. It's like, yeah, and I'm talking to the guitar player, and he's literally telling me, like, dude, I live in this apartment I never get to see because we're always on the road. And he starts talking to me, and as I realize, like, oh, it's a job, you know?
Yeah.
As he's telling me, and as I start hanging out with my buddies, and I realize, oh, well, a record company is almost like a bank. What
Mm.
they do is like, hey, look, we're going to invest some money in you,
Mm-hmm.
and here's what we give you up front. And you go on tour, and if you don't make that back, you owe the company.
What?
Like they don't really say, "Hey, here's free money." It's like,
Oh.
"Here's what we're gonna do for you, and you got to pay some of it back." So if you don't have a good tour, nobody goes there. You owe
Damn.
somebody some money,
Oh, that sucks.
and it does suck, man. So if that's making it, it was like, well, what can I do on my own? So for me, I looked up
Yeah.
a bunch of stuff that you can do by yourself.
Yeah.
You can start your own record label, and you
Yeah.
can get bands and do this stuff on your own.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of cool stuff because with this, you basically are in charge of your own music. And
Yeah.
it makes it super easy to do. They got an app on the phone that you can register your works
Yeah.
and put in when you do your work. And for us, it's just another way to make sure that we have like lawyers and other stuff on the back end
Yeah.
in case somebody steals your stuff. But
Yeah.
at this point, if they stole it, it'd be probably beneficial to me.
Yeah, I know. Dude, that is so insane, man. I didn't even know that. Like I said, I have a lot of friends. They could maybe
Oh,
eat up that
man.
information, you know?
Totally, man.
Because I mean, yes, we're doing it because we love it. Yes, it's fun, but we're also spending a lot of our own money. And you know, the venues don't pay you shit, especially if you just play a gig. You might make $30, $40.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
And that's the thing,
And it's not
man.
like we're trying to get filthy rich. It
No.
would, like you said, at least you can just fund you to keep playing.
Yeah,
You know
and,
what I mean?
and the thing is, when you're writing your own music, it feels like, hey, man, nobody's really hearing me because I'm at this bar. Like,
Exactly.
it doesn't really matter. Like, to me,
Yeah.
if you're writing
Uh-huh.
and you have some way to push it out, you can get more people to like your music. Maybe not locally,
Mm-hmm.
but when you're playing your own music out, you should at least get that credit for it.
Yeah.
And that's that thing where if the venue pays like crap, but you played your music out
Right.
20 times a month, you
Uh-huh.
get a pretty decent check because they do it every quarter. You're
Uh,
playing your own music, and
Right.
hey, every time that adds up. So
Yeah, because they're
these
making money off of you.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going in there, you're playing, you're entertaining the people there.
Yeah,
They're spending their money on booze. They're paying to get in.
exactly.
You know.
And all you're doing is making sure one, the venue has the licensing paid,
Okay.
and that you're getting credit for your stuff. Because all they do is say, I signed up, I did it at this place. Cool. Does that place have the licensing? Yes, they do. Cool. We're gonna give you credit for your song. And that's
Dang,
it.
That's awesome.
And so like I just write and hey, here's the song. Nobody likes it. I don't care. It's like done.
Dude, that's awesome. So name those two companies real quick, so people listening, if they're hearing this, and they're like,
ASCAP and BMI.
ASCAP and
yeah,
BMI.
I'm signed up with BMI personally, but those are the two when I was growing up. Like, hey, these are the two main ones.
Mhm.
With BMI, there is some stuff you can do, paperwork wise. ASCAP, I believe, is the same thing. You can go to those or internet's available with all there, so you can definitely. Most of it's free, man, and
Mhm.
you just sign yourself up as what you do. It's something that companies do already. You're just
Yeah.
doing the legwork on your own,
Yeah.
man.
Because I'm writing songs for no reason other than just entertaining myself, you know.
Yeah, and the cool thing is, like, let's say you write this song, you're signed up with this, you have the licensing
Uh-huh.
number, right? And you put it on the internet, and some TV company in Europe wants
Yeah.
to use it.
Yeah.
They'll mark that down and be like, hey.
Boom, cash.
And every time that plays over there on the TV, on
Yeah.
the radio, in the mall, in the
Yeah.
elevator, ding, ding, done.
So is there like can you like put your song into like a database where people can go through that database and just say, hey, that's
Oh, totally. There's a number
really?
of different services that do that. And having those like BMI or ASCAP helps you because what they do is they give you the number, here's this, and you just, hey, here's my number for the membership, here's this, and boom. And you have a whole catalog, and they can tell you, hey, here's where this song goes. And a lot of times companies are just like, hey, here's the generic, okay, I need this for the background. I have buddies who have been on TV shows for like 30 seconds, and hey, that's more than enough for a song. Yeah.
Dang.
And it doesn't even have to have lyrics. It could just be background noise, and you'd be surprised what people buy.
That's very interesting, dude. I've never heard of that ever.
Well, see, and that's the thing when people think of music, like they want to think of, hey, I go out every day and I play.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating because you're like, damn, I'm spending hours and hours writing these songs, you know, and it's just like.
Well, the thing is, the biggest thing that other people in the big business are doing that we're not is putting music out.
Yeah.
And they have the people that do all that legwork. It's a little more, but you can do just as much. You can make more money. I mean, for the past 4 years, I've probably helped support my family with making songs that I do in my garage,
dude. Yeah, that's freaking really cool, man.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun, man. And it's super simple. Anybody can do it. And, like, there's no rules with music.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. You can write anything you want.
Yoko Ono, bro. Listen to that. And people buy it.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I was saying. I was like, dude, I have all this crap, in here. Yeah. I could potentially record people, like start a freaking studio,
Yeah, totally.
All I need is an AC, and then people want to come in here.
It's not that bad, man. It's
I know, but when you're playing drums, holy shit, dude. Oh my God. It's like
I was actually talking to my buddy the other day. When we were younger, 4 of us would get into a room with no AC, no nothing. It was just an abandoned house.
Yeah.
And we would jam in there for hours.
Yeah.
Dude, there's no way I could do that now. At all.
Brutal.
At all. Yeah, no. It's no way. There's no way.
Getting sweat all over you. It's like, like the guitars
totally.
and your hands and all sweaty,
Man.
Brutal.
But when you're younger, like, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
And that's even getting to what we're talking about, is that's what it is. As you get older, what I started to realize was it's not just about playing. There's a lot of other stuff. Like, you can do background music. You can do Foley, like.
What's Foley?
Foley is in movies. Because you have to have everything be nice, everything that's there is re-recorded, from the sound of the desk to the wind and stuff.
Oh.
So there's special guys who go and they have the wind sound.
Oh, dude, that's brilliant.
Yeah, so because you can't really capture that with the cameras. You're there trying to capture the video.
Yeah.
And there's sound people that do this, but and their specialty is just, hey, this is what it sounds like in a subway.
Yes.
And it fools you. Yeah, they give out awards for it, man.
What?
Yeah, and my favorite one was when I was a kid. They had this Disney cartoon, and they showed the cartoon, and they pulled back, and they showed the guys making the sound. So, like, there's a guy with sand.
Yeah.
And for me, it was like, oh, that's how they record the sound.
Yes.
And I have buddies who do stuff like that, and it's crazy because
that is crazy.
You're recreating a room.
Yeah.
From nothing.
Yeah.
On the computer, and it's a trip.
Dude,
and a lot of people don't realize that. Like,
yeah. And I noticed that, like, in movies and stuff, they'll use like the same exact like woman scream, or like they'll use the same exact dog bark. And I'm like, dude, I've heard that. Like, they just keep reusing it. You know?
And
that's weird.
That's called stock stuff, like stock footage, where you're like, I've seen this before. I don't know why. Because there's stuff like, well, even that, like public domain stuff.
Yeah.
There's stuff that's been out so long that nobody gets credit for it. You can use it all you want.
Yeah.
But then there's like the song Happy Birthday. Like that's owned by certain people. So when you watch a movie, there's always a different variation of it.
Yeah.
It's never the Happy Birthday song because they have to buy the licensing for it.
That's crazy. Can you put Foley music on the BMI?
I don't know, man. That would be a weird one. I mean, I know you could probably do like maybe an audio book or something.
Dude, I'll do that shit all day. I'll just walk around with the microphone and hit a pot, bing,
Well, the funny thing is like sampling. Like I have buddies who do sample packs. And what they do is they do exactly what you're talking about. Here's this bell soft. Ding.
No.
Here's this bell medium. Ding.
No.
Hard. Bust that out. And you can have WAV files so you can download. And oh, now I got the hard bell, and you can put it
And
in
they're
your
making
MIDI.
money off of that?
A lot of money, man.
Shut up.
Yeah,
Hey,
man.
dude, even on this program, you can buy that stuff.
Same
it's like,
stuff.
oh, MIDI pack. Oh, you can add little sounds.
Same
you know?
stuff. Yeah, and you can record them, especially with what you're using right now. This is
Yeah,
what?
Ableton.
Ableton, yeah.
Yeah.
You can definitely get a lot of cool stuff in it, man.
Yeah, dude, that's intense, man. That's cool to hear that side of that stuff because you're kind of in the game, you know. I don't know any of that crap. I mean, do you ever listen to Nine Inch Nails?
Oh yeah, totally.
Dude, all that stuff is like just racket, like but he puts it like a really good way. Like I love Nine Inch Nails like, a lot. Like one of the songs is just a chain dropping on the beat. You know what I mean? And it sounds really cool.
Yeah, and that's the idea, especially with that kind of stuff, is pulling that, I guess, that emotion out of it. And Trent Reznor is
He's a
amazing.
genius, dude.
I do know about what gets me is when somebody does a song so good that people believe they did it. Like for me, it's Johnny Cash with Hurt.
Right.
Like Trent Reznor wrote that song.
Yes, and people say, oh, that's a Johnny Cash song. I get mad when they say that. And it's like, no, dude, that's a freaking Nine Inch Nails song.
Well, actually, Trent Reznor didn't even want Johnny Cash to do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was reading a story, and it was talking about how Rick Rubin came up to him and was like, hey, man, look, we want Johnny Cash to do this song. And he's like, no, man, like,
that was his baby, dude.
Yeah, he's very personal to it.
Yeah.
And this, as the article said, he heard the version, was like, okay, like,
right. He did.
We'll let
really
that go.
Good
yeah,
job.
like, and it's realizing that, man, somebody's interpretation can be a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, man.
Like actually, most people think that that's a Johnny Cash song, or probably have never even heard the Nine Inch Nails version. You know?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, and even the Nine Inch Nails version, it's real. If they heard it, they'd be like, "No, Johnny Cash wrote this."
Yeah, I know. My friend did that to me, and like he would like argue with me. He's like, "Why would Johnny Cash cover Nine Inch Nails?" I'm like, "Dude, that is a Nine Inch Nails song." He's like, "No, it's not." I'm like,
well,
"All right, dude, whatever."
Well, that's the other part, man. Like, there's songs that people don't even realize are covers.
Oh,
yeah, covers, like Cyndi Lauper's "Girl Just Wanna Have Fun." Total cover.
Is it?
Yeah, totally a cover.
See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, see, and a lot of people don't because she did it so well.
That it took over the other one.
It took over the other one, yeah. Just like who? Like Screaming Jay Hawkins doing "I Put a Spell on You." I mean, you have Creedence do it, and most people would go Hocus Pocus.
Yeah,
Bette Midler, dude.
Yeah,
it's probably one of my favorites.
That's crazy, dude. How old are you?
I'm 38.
38. Cool,
yeah,
man. I'm 35. I think.
Heck yeah, man.
I don't even know how old I am. That's pretty bad.
Oh man, after a while you stop counting. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So Dan, that's cool, man. I like to talk about all that stuff. Let's talk about some other stuff.
Yeah, man.
I mean, if you're not in a hurry, I'm not in a hurry.
Oh no, go
we
for
got
it.
Plenty of time.
Yeah.
So. Okay, sorry, I paused it real quick. I just want to make a save. Dude, you just blew my mind with all that stuff. I didn't even know that shit. I didn't even know you could do all that.
Oh yeah, man. And dude, it's totally free.
It's free to do it?
Yeah.
Dude, you gotta tell
me.
I gotta try to figure that out, dude. Because, like I was saying, I spend so much time writing songs for no reason. Like I just put it on YouTube. I'm like, oh, I wrote this song. It's cool, right? Oh yeah, it's badass.
Yeah, same idea. You know what I mean? And they'll load it up to YouTube too.
Yeah, and even like you're saying, like maybe I could start messing around with hold on. Maybe I could start messing around with like other types of music, like you know.
Oh, totally.
Because I wonder why I think I'm pretty good at the blues, and I always wanted to write a blues song. I should just like start dabbling in all that stuff.
Well, I mean, here's the truth, man. You got it like anything, If you want to do it, you gotta learn all styles because you never know. You may do country one way where somebody's just like, that's the sound.
Yeah, like oh,
Michael J.
shit.
Fox. Like, hey, that's the sound I'm looking for.
Next thing you know, I'm playing country songs,
Dude,
for some guy.
I've seen it in real life.
Like, oh yeah, I'm really a metalhead, but I'm playing country.
Bro,
I know that's
Kevin Fowler.
Happen.
You know who Kevin Fowler is?
I've heard that name.
He's a country
guy.
Oh,
yeah.
Country guy.
Big guy. Big time
tall
country guy.
Yeah,
right?
big country guy. Comes out here all the time. He was in a band called Dangerous Toys with Jason McMasters. Full on metal. I'm talking shred. I was on a bus with him one time, and he goes, hey, man. Oh, no, I told him. I go, hey, man, look. I seen you in Dangerous Toys. Why are you doing this? He's like, bro, look at this crowd. Like, why wouldn't I? And, dude, he's a shredder. The guy's killer.
Dude, that is insane.
And he plays country.
That blows my mind right now. Okay. All right, man. Let's all right. Is that hot, dude? Let me get you a cold one.
I actually like
You like a room temperature?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is it Saul or Sal?
Saul. I mean,
Saul,
whichever,
okay.
man.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
didn't. Yeah.
growing up, like,
You heard it all.
oh man, like as long as it's an S in my direction, I'm usually gonna turn around.
So Saul, man, Lionel told me that you live in a big ass house, or your mother, or someone that you know. I forgot the detail. That you live in some kind of a plantation looking house, dude. What the hell
Actually,
is that
man,
about?
I knew you might bring that up, so
I
I'm gonna
had
show
to.
you.
I
I'm gonna
had
show you a
to.
picture of the house,
Okay.
and you're gonna be like, "Whoa, bro." I figured you might ask about
Oh
it.
my god, dude, that's straight from a horror film right there,
Bro,
dude.
You have no idea.
That is straight from a horror flick show, freaking house right
Dude,
there.
it is crazy.
Whoa.
And it looks scarier than what it really is.
Yeah, I know, but it just looks like one of those houses from.
But it's still scary. Like, don't
For
get
sure.
me wrong. So
Like, tell me about that house.
it was
dude.
built in the early 1800s, and this is
Whoa.
straight up. Like, we had it verify. It was family built,
Uh-huh.
and my parents bought it from one of the family members. And
Family members of your family?
no, of the family that built the house.
Okay, okay.
And we bought it, and it was basically one of the oldest houses there in Mathis. And the people that lived there, or the lady that my parents bought it from, she was so reclusive that, you walk by and it's a small town. It's like, hey,
Look
what's
at that
going on
house.
in there?
What's
you
in
know?
there? Yeah,
and
for
nobody,
sure.
I mean, really, and I'm not even exaggerating, the first 3 years of us living there was people going, can we come inside?
No
Like, yeah,
way.
totally. Come in. My
People
parents
asked you
yeah.
that?
They would be like, hey, we've never seen inside. Can we come inside? So my parents would give tours like, yeah, this is this. And
No way.
it was totally cool growing up in there because, you have that creepy house. And,
Yeah.
the funny thing is, we used to play music off the balcony because
Uh-huh.
it has that
On the
big
top
balcony.
balcony?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
put my speakers up there and we'd play parties and
Oh,
stuff. It was
okay.
fun.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Dang. Like a stage almost? You
Yeah,
know?
man. It was really cool, but I mean, it's still like people don't go there on Halloween.
Damn.
But it was also a big target growing up because my dad was a teacher, and people didn't like him, so it was a big target for eggs, man.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. Oh, I was that kid.
Hell yeah,
I was that kid throwing eggs and rolling houses, man.
Hell yeah, man. It was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Have you seen? Did you ever see anything weird in that house?
See, and that's where it always goes, right? So
Yes.
here's the funny thing is, how do I say this? It's like I believe in like energy and stuff like that. No, it sounds kind
Okay.
of creepy.
Yeah.
But ghosts to me are always kind of like, I don't know, like, I feel like that's a lot of trouble for somebody to come back because, hey, it's just, but I believe in stuff being around. Now, that being
Yeah.
said, I've seen some crazy stuff in that house.
No way. Oh,
Dude.
hit me with it.
Bro, like, there was one time, me and my uncle were hanging out, and there was a jug of milk, an empty jug with a top on it.
Okay.
And I swear, it looked like somebody had just taken their hands and just clapped it, top comes off, nobody's near it.
You're lying.
No, this is real stuff, man.
Holy crap.
And I am the biggest skeptic. I'll be the first to say, like,
yeah,
bro.
you don't seem like you're into that stuff. You're
Yeah,
just like,
and it freaked me out. And then when I was a kid, doors would slam shut. It could be, the wind, whatever. That's a drafty house.
come on.
But after a while, you start going like, I don't know, man. I'm
Yeah.
like, to the point, to my mom, just when stuff weird would happen, she'd be like, Minnie, stop, because that was her name for whatever was
Minnie?
going on. Yeah, Minnie. I don't know where she got the name from, but
Whoa.
she would, and stuff would stop. And I'm like,
Nuh-uh.
okay, so this is weird.
How old were you when that was going down?
Oh, dude, this still happens to this day. Like,
Do you live there still?
No, I don't live
Okay,
there. My
okay.
parents do.
Oh, okay.
But to this day, they'll do. My parents are super cool,
Yeah.
Even to the point where one day they even hired like ghost hunters.
No way.
Somebody, I forget if it was my mom or dad, worked with somebody who were like, hey, we saw your house. We know it's over 100 years old.
Yeah.
We want to do the ghost hunt. I mean, we turned off the power. We were partying in the empty lot because there's no how. And they went in with the readers and video. One lady came out like, there was definitely a spirit inside here. And I'm like, half drunk, like, really? Inside there. I sleep there. It's no big deal. But, I mean, if it was, or if there is anything there, it was never malicious.
Right,
so,
right.
anything, it was just like playful stuff that maybe you could chalk up to stuff. But, I mean, we're superstitious.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to question it. There's some crazy stuff.
Yeah. So, like, you said that milk thing. Were y'all like sitting at a table and all of a sudden it just went boom and y'all looked and y'all were like, what
imagine
the hell?
we're like here,
right?
Like this jug's here,
Yes.
and we're over there where your weights are, and there's somebody just clapped it. Nobody around
No
it, just
way.
by itself. There was also a time a gentleman came to appraise the house, and we heard him upstairs knock on the door and say, "Hey, I'm just coming to appraise," and he just stopped, and he comes down and he's like, "Hey, there was somebody upstairs," and we're like, "What are you talking about? There's everybody that lives here is right here."
Right.
He's like, "Dude, I saw somebody sitting on the bed, and they were in there." And I'm like, "Well, they're not there now, so that's cool." But we just grew up with it, so it was just one of those things like.
Is there like a big yard behind it or something, or?
Well, what we have, it's a pretty big yard, and it was empty lot. So it's, to give you an idea, that's the only house on that whole block.
Right.
It's that house.
Oh, okay.
There was an empty, abandoned lumber yard, and then a warehouse kind of thing. So there's a lot of stories about that being a plantation and underground tunnels and stuff like that.
Have you ever seen any underground tunnels?
Nothing that I've ever seen.
I bet you there's an underground tunnel.
I mean, it could be. I mean, there's nothing.
Have you ever been in the attic?
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
Really?
I mean, it's a totally different. So, funny story with the attic was, we get up there and there's these like metal, not even metal. I'm sorry, they're glass balls, right? And
What?
I'd never seen anything like this.
A glass ball?
Yeah,
like
it's
a solid glass ball?
Solid glass ball with a liquid inside it, right?
What?
And I don't know. And they're all up top. On
They're
the roof.
inside the attic?
Inside the attic.
And you don't know who put them there?
Don't know who put them there. So for years, we didn't know what this was. I'm like,
you just left them there?
yeah, we looked up, hey, glass balls with water. No, we took them all down because we don't know what they are. But we had them in the house, and I'm looking like, what? Oh, hey, searching the internet, what is this? Years passed by. I'm in the Smithsonian Institute, the museum. It was old fire extinguishers. They were up there, so if it came, the glass would come, shatter. It would release the liquid. It would react with the air and put out the fire.
Wow.
And I'm like, so it's like a grenade. That's awesome. Like,
that is crazy.
Still have some, but it was just weird because the house is that old. You know?
Have you ever tried to trace back like who built it?
Oh yeah, no. My parents know the whole lineage, and the family that's there. Actually, there was a picture that we found in there because when they left, the lady just left everything. Hey, as is. Here's whatever. I think the family came in and took what they what they wanted, and they left some stuff. So, actually framed in the picture is the school that's there in Mathis when it was first built in like 1825. Wow. And in the very back, you could see the house. Oh. And it's almost like that creepy, movie where you're just like, in the background, that's like the house, Yeah. And it's been around for a long time. And, we know the family. And you can, in the history books there in Mathis, because my parents are both teachers, they went and looked it up, and they traced it down to when it was first built. Because they like that antique stuff. And it's,
for sure.
It's pretty cool. Well, for me, the cool thing about it was the original front part of the house was built originally, and then they added on to the back part.
Oh, okay.
So when we moved in, we had like a little walk-in pantry, and my mom decided she didn't want it, so we were going to remove it. When we removed it, we found what would have been an outside chimney. So you know how like when you live in a house, you have the outside chimney to cook outside, outdoors, in case you're doing it.
Like a barbecue pit almost.
Kind of, but it was a double chimney, so one was inside the house to warm, and the other side would be outside.
Oh, okay.
And so that's still built. So all they did was cover it. So it's the original chimney from when they first built it, and it was cool. Now they have it kind of exposed, but every now and then you find some really cool
That is
stuff.
weird. There's probably more mysteries in that house for sure.
Oh no, man! When we first got there was these big old pylons, and at the bottom of the pylons was like a
What's a
cemetery
pylon?
marker, like just big rock, not rocks, but big logs, square.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And also there's a big depression. There's that, and at the bottom of it, like a little cemetery marker. I'm like, bro,
What?
what's this? I mean, it scared me as a kid. It could have been just trash or whatever.
Dude, there's probably a graveyard in the front yard.
Oh
dude.
man, oh man, I used to get
Guaranteed.
so scared, so scared, man. But you know, if anything, it's been super cool because it's never harmed us. So
Yeah,
you know,
for
and I've
sure.
had people have weird experiences there, get headaches, tell me there's
Huh.
bad energy there. I mean, to me, it's always what you make of it, man. Like even if
Yeah,
it's
like if-
evil,
yeah,
you gotta
like
find
if
out
you-
why.
Yeah, like if you're putting yourself like in that kind of vibe, you know, and you're expecting something to
Yeah.
happen, something could happen, you know. You're kind of almost like looking into a door or something, you know.
Yeah, no,
you
totally.
peek in there, you might see something.
No, and that's totally it. You know, especially living in South Texas. Like, if you're familiar with, like, you know, just any of that blurring of between here's the religious stuff and here's like the magic. You know, like
Mhm.
Cunanderos, stuff like that, where
Yeah,
the both worlds kind of come together.
yeah,
Like, you invite a lot of stuff in, and that's totally crazy because, you know, scientifically you may be like, I don't know, but hey, energy's energy, man.
yeah, yeah. Did it actually? Am I completely wrong when I'm saying it has anything to do with the plantation?
I
Or
don't
did-
know, man. I mean,
Yeah.
to be honest, like, there was never any kind of like plantation. So like,
yeah. So I don't know why it goes there all of a sudden.
well,
right?
because it's the style. I
I
mean,
think- yeah,
and
'cause-
when you see it, it definitely screams plantation.
Yeah, because I think they got that idea from back the Romans when they used those white pillars. You
Yeah,
know, like when you
totally.
see old ruins and they have those big white pillars.
Totally, I could totally get
That's
that.
kind of where they got the idea to put those white pillars in
Yeah,
the front, and
and-
that's what gave it that look. You know.
And for us, like, I get it because you got to think like Mathis is a small town.
yeah.
There's a lot of just stuff in the town that's just old,
Right.
and that even means mentalities, man. So,
Yeah.
you know, when you get that and you see that visage, it's like, oh, that's the plantation. You know,
Yeah.
something bad definitely happened here. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe it did, but
Yeah.
I mean, nothing that I found historically. That I mean, because we looked it up. Believe me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure y'all freaking.
Yeah, you live in that house, you have the internet. You're like, whoa, bro. And I've
you-
had times where doors slam and my buddies are there and they're like, bro,
Uh-huh.
I'm just ready to go home. Like,
No.
let's get out of here. Like,
Whoa.
yeah.
All drunk, like, boom, what the hell was that?
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
and you know, it's definitely an old house, and the cool thing about it is my parents try to keep it as original from when they bought it as they could.
Oh.
And so like there's light switches that are push buttons.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah,
Like
it's
real old school.
Real old school, and you know, it's wiring that you don't even want to touch because you
Hell
die.
no.
Yeah.
Did they get it like on the cheap, like as like an eviction notice, or not an eviction notice, but like a what do they call them?
I
Like
mean-
when they like when someone tries to sell the house, like
See,
where
and-
like the bank takes over and
No,
then they just sell it.
I don't know, man, because really, my parents at that time, you know, they were both teachers. You know, they were just buying property,
Mm.
and it was one of those things that I think that for my mom especially, it was one of those, hey, we got to get this. You know, like we can
Oh.
afford it. Like
Yeah.
I want to know what's in there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like it's right in the center of town, right across the street from a church.
That is weird.
And you got to understand that this church rings its bells every hour during the day.
Every hour?
Every hour. During the day.
Still?
Yes. So
Oh,
at
shoot.
7 o'clock, or I think maybe 8 o'clock, it'll do the chime and then it'll ring 8 times so that you know that it's 8 o'clock. This does it all day.
Can you see it? I mean, can you hear it inside the house?
Oh, dude, you can hear it blocks away. So now imagine being right next to the source.
Dude, I don't know if I can handle that every day.
Oh, man. The first few years were... to where I wanted to go to the church and just be
For
like,
real?
look, bro, look, this is dumb. Turn it off. Now, it's like, oh, it's 5 o'clock and all is well.
It's like a
like, for real.
It's like a clock.
Yeah, and
cool,
that's
it's
what
5
you...
o'clock.
Well, that's what you grow up like with Lionel and them. They live
Yeah.
next to the train tracks. So,
Mm.
like, I could never understand how
Hearing
the train,
damn
like the
trains.
train, the grain elevators.
Yeah.
But after a while, you grow up, you don't even
Yeah,
hear
I guess
it.
you used to it, right?
Yeah, you don't even hear it, man. It's small town living, man.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That's like another world,
Well,
like from living in Corpus, you know.
well, it's funny because I lived in a few different places. Like I lived here, I lived in the Valley, and I lived in Florida. And what I learned is living in a small town definitely benefits because you see the same mentality is just on a larger scale.
Yeah.
And when I went to the Valley, it was the first time I saw a huge place like McAllen. But
Mm.
it's actually a lot of smaller places. You got, all these little places that have their own identity,
Yeah.
but still have the RGV, I mean, Rio Grande Valley's big
Right.
and it's all one place, but having that mentality from a small town, you just kind of have to me at least,
Yeah.
like a faster track to it.
Hmm. That's crazy, man. I like talking about stuff like that.
Oh
So,
man, well, dude, this like when I was growing up. I don't know if you've heard about this, but there was a doctor named Dr. Logan, that was a doctor there, and like Mathis didn't really have anything when I was growing up, like a doctor's office. Like the closest place if something happened to you would be like Alice, hospital.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, there was a doctor that would come in from Corpus, and you can look this up.
Yeah.
And there's a big, I guess, mystery on how he died, because from everything I've ever read, he was very helpful to the Chicano people that were there, Mexicanos,
Right.
because there was a migrant force that was there back in the day, and he was one of those just outspoken people that was just different.
Yeah.
And one day he would drive from Corpus, or he had a motorcycle. He would ride back and forth from Corpus to Mathis, and he would help out there. He was very outspoken politically.
Okay.
And one day there was a big situation where he ended up shot.
Oh.
And the guy that shot him was a officer,
Cop?
a cop.
Okay.
And the mystery was that he was supposed to have somebody with him, but there was nobody with him. And then when they asked for some of the evidence, it was not there. So when you hear that kind of story, whether the facts are there or not, what some of those people saw was, oh, the cops killed this guy because he was helping us.
Helping who?
Helping the migrants and stuff like that. Because, in their mind, it's like, oh, this is that. And that's a big part of that
Was
Mathis
the cop white?
Yes. And there was a lot of stuff, but the guy was white too. Dr. Logan was a white, but very outspoken. And there's a lot of articles about it because what happened was a situation where he was alone with them. And he said in the official report, look, here's what happened. He broke out. I fired a warning shot. I shot him. And when they did the autopsy, it was like, hey, man, he kind of looks like he was kneeling down and shot. And they're like, well, no. And at this time, even it goes up to even the governor knowing like, hey, man, here's what we're wanting to do. And it goes into politics and that. And when you have that in a small town, and nobody really talks about it now, but back then these people grew up with that. So you see a house like that, you're going to be like, oh, bro, that's definitely.
Everyone knows about that house. I
bet. And to me, it's one of those things. They even wrote a book about it. There was a guy, I don't know if
At the house?
No, about
the doctor thing?
The murder, yeah.
Okay.
And it's called Murder in a Small Town or something like that. And there's all this stuff where when you have these small town politics and these mentalities, you kind of see that everywhere, man. So for me, it's like small towns are crazy.
Dude, yeah, because in a small town, everyone knows everyone and everyone hears everything. It's like, gossip,
Oh, and dude, my favorite story is one time I got into an accident, right?
You did?
I did, right? And my mom was at work. Before I even got out of the car, somebody had told her at work that I was in an accident. She was there before I got out of the car. That's a small town.
Oh, shoot, your mom was there?
Yeah, I got hit by the car. I'm like, oh my God, I got hit.
Right.
Open the door, and Mom's like, mijo, you got hit. Somebody told me. Yeah. I was like.
So it's like a one-horse town.
Yeah, and everybody knew everybody. Like Lionel's parents knew me. Like they knew that. So everybody growing up, it was almost like you couldn't go anywhere and get into trouble because, hey, or even like that network of moms like, hey.
Yeah, hey, did you see Sao? I saw Sao at my house.
He's over here. Yes.
Getting drunk.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun, and it was at the same time like, okay, like creepy.
For sure, man. Oh, I definitely think that cop killed him.
Oh yeah, man. When you look at the evidence, man, and the thing, and even going back into like this wasn't even in our lifetime. Like, I wasn't born yet.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, there's so much that just reflects that small town like mentality. Because even my parents, they got into like some small town politics, and just from what I saw firsthand, even them being teachers, I was like, oh man, this is kind of weird. And a lot of that mentality carries on with these people, and it's really weird, man, because a lot of it's just experience. And when you get into that mentality of that, what happens is when you see like my house, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
some bad shit, bro.
For sure.
And it's
dude.
like, no, man, it's just
It's a house.
stylistically this
Just a
house.
house.
That's the way they built it back then.
Yeah. I wonder if she could sell it for like a lot more now.
Well, now it's it's older and there's a lot of stuff with it, man. What
I bet
happens
it's
when you
hard.
have an old house?
Yeah.
It's an old house, and with a house
Exactly.
like that, to get value for it, you have to restore it to
Restore it.
its
Yeah.
actual condition. So to get the woods from that period, that
Oh,
kind of stuff.
snap.
Yeah, like you don't
Yeah.
think about, like, it has to be
Yeah.
that stuff, and
Yeah.
they've fixed it up, and they've had like the historical society look at it.
Really?
And and it's really definitely in that range, and it's an old house.
Mm.
But I mean, it's probably not as awesome as you would think. Like that first facade you see is really just 4 rooms. There's one room, and 2 on top, but they're just huge.
I bet.
Like there were 10-foot ceilings, and just basically
Damn.
think of a big box.
In the rooms they were 10
Yeah, all of them were
Oh,
just big
crap.
because they were designed to be drafty. So if
Because
the
there's
house
no
g-
AC.
Yeah, so if the house got hot, the room would take all that heat up there, and then you have the room on the bottom that would take some of that heat, and the windows are almost floor to ceiling, so you can open them up and get that draft
Oh,
going in
wow.
there. And that's just the way it was designed because it's an old house.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, they didn't have freaking AC back then, man.
Oh man, and the cool thing is when we were younger, that draft really worked really well.
So y'all actually did use it?
Yeah, no, my mom when we were younger, like I grew up with, hey, open the windows if it's a good day, and now we still do that over there.
Dude, that's like a forgotten thing, man. Everyone's like, "Oh, turn on the AC." The next thing you know, my
man.
bill's $300. I'm like, "Son of a
Dude,
bitch."
right now, I don't know, like I true story. Me and my daughter were watching Pirates of the Caribbean, right?
Yeah.
And she's just like, man, that looks so cool. I want to be a pirate. I was like, no AC. She goes, what? I go, there's no AC on that ship.
Oh yeah.
And she stopped, and dead in her tracks, and goes, yeah, I don't want to be on that ship. Like, that's real life, bro.
Dude, and it's worse than that. There's no restrooms. There's no hand soap.
Oh.
There's no freaking. There's no
Man.
nothing, man.
See, but at the same time, it's like, well, how did they survive back in the day? I mean,
'Cause they were
obviously,
tough.
You learn.
Yeah, they were tough. Man, I don't know, dude. I feel like America is like we've been so soft, you know.
Well, I agree and I disagree.
Okay.
Because as a country, we're almost in those teenage years, to me. Because
Yeah,
we're not as old as some of the other countries.
China's
And,
older.
yeah, and we just feel like there's some stuff in us that we have to figure out as a country. So some of it's weak, some of it's real strong. I think we're just at that point where it's like, hey, we need to figure out what we are and what we want to do as a whole, rather than like, hey, here's different factions, which you see through everything, man. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the hard part, is it's easy to divide by differences rather than go, hey, look, we have a lot of stuff that we like in common.
Well, I feel like somebody's trying to do that to us for some reason. I don't know if we're being
100%.
infiltrated from China. I mean, I know we're being infiltrated from China in some respects. They've infiltrated the colleges. Like this professor just got busted. He's going to prison. He was taking shitload of money from China.
Yeah.
And he was spouting the Chinese propaganda to the people here in America.
Yeah.
You know, so they know they can't invade us, militarily. So
But
they kind of
At the
hit
same
us from
time,
the
yeah,
inside.
I get that, and that's valid, man. Like, there
Yeah.
are people who are gonna preach crazy ideas, and I get that there is that. I mean, dude, since the Red Dawn, that movie with
Yeah.
Patrick Swayze,
Someone keeps telling me about that movie. I've never seen it.
Oh man, it's great. It's perfect to me, movie propaganda. So
Yeah.
in any movie,
Uh-huh.
there's usually somebody who advises stuff, especially if there's military involved.
Yeah, for sure.
The government will come in and be like, hey, let's see if this is how. Yeah, okay, that's how we do
for
it.
Sure.
So with that movie, it was like, look, the only way they can invade is if they come through Mexico, and then they come through Canada at the top, right? And this is like Cold War mentality.
Right.
Because it's the 80s,
Yes.
everybody's on edge. And it's the perfect movie for America to me, because what it goes
Yeah.
back into is, hey, remember the Revolutionary War? Because they come in, and it turns into these young kids who know their area. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, bro, we know this place. We'll hide in the trees.
Oh, okay.
And it's to me,
yeah.
that's what we, the 80s did it all the time. Look,
Mhm.
hey, I'm Chuck Norris. I'm stuck in a hole. my car's getting buried. I just pop this Ford into gear. I jump out and I beat the bad guys.
Yeah.
And when you grow up with that mentality, that's what we think about. And it's easy for, especially for other countries, like I said, for what you were going at, to see that and feed on those fears. And there are going to be people that agree with that. And, what somebody believes is hard to take from them sometimes. And to me, if an American hears that stuff and they turn around and go like, well, I'm going to go into that, to me, they didn't have true convictions in what they had originally. I think if you have convictions in what you believe in this country, man, nothing can really change you, man.
Yeah. Well, see, because like you were saying about Red Dawn, well, that's why, like, a lot of Americans have died in Afghanistan and stuff because they know the terrain, man.
Oh,
like,
yeah, no.
I talked to a guy that was over there, and he was like, dude, that's why Vietnam was hard for us.
Oh, bro.
Because they know the terrain.
Well,
So they have caves and shit all through the mountains. We don't know what the hell. I mean, we can like map out the geography and stuff, but they got tunnels and all kinds of shit.
Well, Well, you just see like the two you mentioned, like Afghanistan and Vietnam. To me, both of those wars, it was like, what were we doing there?
Exactly.
As a country, what were we doing there? And
feeding the machine, man.
Yeah, and what you saw was the product of that. We wanted, like I said, as a teenager, hey, we're going to go in there and we're going to do this. Yeah. And you had these people who knew their country. They knew what they were doing, and they had something to fight for. And to me, as Americans, that's what we do. Like and even to the point of craziness, we will fight for our ideas tooth and nail.
But I think that it got to the point where, like, yeah, I when I was younger, I was thinking that way too. But when I got older, I'm like, well, yeah, we're going over there. We're patriotic. We're gonna go over there, kick these commie assholes, But really, it's like, then you find out JFK got murdered, and he wanted to get out of Vietnam.
Oh yeah.
And then as soon as he got murdered, we were in Vietnam making thousands of helicopters. And who was making the contract? Who was making the money off those helicopters?
Yeah.
And who was making all the bombs? And who was making the machine guns? You know what I mean? And then you start going down that rabbit hole, and then you start digging and digging and digging, and next thing you go full circle, and you realize, hey, we kind of probably just started the shit ourselves.
Well,
to freaking make money off the war machine.
I forget what ship it is, and you can look it up. But there was one that always got me. There was a ship that was, I want to say it was World War I or II. I forget which one. Okay. But the important part was that the ship was blown up, and what they did, and this is in declassified information, they told Americans, look, here's what's happening. They blew up the ship. There was a bunch of Americans on it. We should get into this war.
That was World War I.
Yes, it was World War I. And they were like, here's exactly what we did. And you can't take that information and then be like, oh, they won't do it again. Like, of course they will do it.
They do it all the time.
The old tricks are the best, dude. Like,
yeah. It's just using the playbook, man.
Oh, bro. And see, and that's why even now, like, with what I see with the country right now, it's that division. Yeah. Where, yeah, man, right or wrong, we have the freedom of choice.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is that they're dividing us based on differences, when a lot of times, man, most people agree on the majority of stuff. There's these slight differences that, hey, this is where we disagree.
They exacerbate them. Like,
oh, totally.
Like, let's say me and you came into a room. You're like a hardcore leftist. I'm a hardcore rightist or whatever. We would probably get along just fine.
Yeah. And
then as soon as we find out, hey, depending on your temperament and stuff and how you really, like surface level people, they'd probably they'd be like, damn, I was friends with that guy. Like, I'm supposed to hate that guy. You know what I mean?
No, totally. I know exactly what you mean, man.
And it's crazy because they all day long they'll tell me, oh, the left is chopping kids' dicks off, and they wanna make everyone transgender, and you know what I mean? Like, that pisses me off, Well, and they know it pisses me off. And then they go on the other news channel and they say, oh, these people hate gays and they want to kill all the gays and throw them off buildings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it creates like a clash, dude.
And it's supposed to. And that's exactly what it is. Now, the hard part is really this to me. We want information. We got the Freedom of Information Act. Hey, we have declassified information every 2 years coming out, right?
Yeah.
So before, if they could hide a lot of stuff, right? Because they didn't have to give it to us.
Yeah.
How do you hide the information again?
You
You
don't tell 'em.
oversaturate it. You oversaturate. You give them
Yeah.
more than they need to know.
Yeah.
Then you give them bullshit.
Yeah.
Then you give them so much that like even now, most people read the headlines.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's
They don't
it.
read the story. That's
no.
it.
And if you don't read the story, because I've seen some captivating headlines and I read the story, I'm like, oh, well, that's not
Right.
exactly what that meant.
Yeah.
But that's what they do. They give you so much, and you don't want to dig into it because, like,
I do.
We do. Yeah, no,
Like,
we
I
do.
do.
But there's other people who won't.
Oh,
and
for
those
sure.
are the
And
people that they're feeding on.
The majority.
Yeah.
And those are the people that are
Oh,
causing
bro.
all the trouble, man. They're the silent majority, you know?
Yeah, and the thing is, and this is both sides. To me,
Yeah.
again, this is my opinion. This is, to me, both
Yeah.
sides do one thing very well, which is they prey on the people that feel disenfranchised. Like, hey, you're not getting your word heard. I'm the guy.
Yeah.
You get that rally, okay. And then
Yeah.
the other side's, hey, now hey, man, I don't know. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm the guy.
Mhm.
And it's the same thing. Like, they're doing the same thing. Their
Yeah.
interests are the same.
Yeah, you have to be able to read through the lines, man. You have to.
Oh, totally.
You have to research things, and people don't really want to waste their time on it, but they should because they get filled with rage.
Yeah,
You know,
man.
by reading the headlines.
Well-
and I call it loosh. Like me and my friends joke around, like the lizard people.
Yeah.
They feed off our loosh, right? So like when we get pissed off and we read the headlines, we get mad. It's like it feeds them energy.
Oh, totally.
You know what I mean?
dude.
And that's real. We have energy. We
No,
put out energy. You know what I mean?
totally. Yeah, I
And they
believe
want
that.
us to get pissed off. And they love it, and so they feed off it. And so you know what? That's all bullshit. I ain't even gonna read it. It's all lies.
Well,
I'm not gonna
again-
let them piss
Again,
me off.
that's
you know?
the more level-headed mentality. But
Yeah.
the other people, that's what they want.
They
They
feed off
want
it.
you.
They
They
love it.
want you
Yeah.
to get emotionally
Yeah.
involved. Because once you're emotionally involved, now you get into your belief system.
Yeah.
And it's harder to be like, oh man, well, maybe what I believed for so many years is wrong.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to look at yourself like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Nobody
Even though
does.
you know in your heart.
But you have
But
to.
you have to toe the line,
Look at it.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have to look into
Yeah,
it.
and a lot of people they won't. You know what I mean? They'll bury it down inside, and they'll be like, "Oh, you believe that? Okay, yeah, I guess I believe that too."
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with disagreeing. Where I draw the line personally
Uh huh.
is where it's like, hey man, like, you know you're in the wrong, it's morally wrong. And that, again, that's different to different people.
Right.
But like, there's certain things that you can tell, like, hey man, like, I don't think you should just stab that guy randomly. Like, that seems pretty
Yeah, that's-
excessive. Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, if you can talk, I personally believe that people in groups are stupid.
Right. Yeah.
Individuals-
Yeah.
Talking to each other, that's what makes the difference.
Yeah.
Is a group of people, dude, if they're all attacking, like, hey, let's get this person.
Yeah, it's like
and
a
it looks-
mob.
Yeah,
It's a
and
mob.
And it's dangerous for me. I'm gonna be like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's
You're
do
like, oh,
this.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll go
Yeah.
along.
Well, self-interest, man.
Yeah. I mean, what the hell were the riots? That's what
Oh,
they were. That's
man.
what it was.
Well, I
Everyone
mean,
was freaking getting
Every
together,
single
you know?
one, and there's a lot of stuff that goes into that. Like, and there's a lot of different facets about that because you had so much going on at one time as a people,
Mm.
not only in the country but in the world.
Yeah.
Everybody at that time, tensions were just high, man. And
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of excessive stuff, and man, we're just seeing that windfall from it now.
Yep. So where are the BLM rallies now? Where are the rioting? Where's the looting? Where's the killing? Where's the burning down?
Well,
build?
I mean, what it comes down to for me, man, is there are people who are getting justice for what happened, you know, like, and I'm not saying that it's calmed the masses. There still are people who do the conventions, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's gone completely. Now, that being said, there was a lot of stuff on the internet that did show it in your face every day.
Of course, dude. They
Yeah.
played that shit on a loop.
Dude, I came down to the one that was here in town, and, you know, there was obviously counter-protesters with ARs and their guns, and
Yeah.
to me, I'm like, that was the first time I saw it here.
Yeah.
Locally. But it was all peaceful. I mean, the guys ended up talking to each other. They were
Yeah.
cool. They had armed people who were
Yeah.
there for the BLM. It was really cool. And to me, it's just one of those things where they definitely did put it in your face a lot more.
Of course they did.
And
They had to.
I mean,
Trump
it's-
was president, dude. They
and
had to create
that's-
chaos.
and that's the other part for me. It's just like, dude, I voted for Joe Biden, right?
Oh.
But listen. Even I'm like that right now. No, look, see, I'm like that right now
Yeah.
because the first few days I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And it's okay. Like, hey, sometimes you back the wrong horse. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with decisions. But like, even I was embarrassed when he was blown down by a stiff wind. Going up, like, oh my God, bro.
Dude, do you see the videos of him like on a daily?
Oh man.
They need to get that dude in a home.
Well,
Like they're
you
they're
know,
freaking.
the earlier they get him, the
They-
better he is. And so for me, there's got to be a handler somewhere that's like, hey,
Of
bro,
course, dude.
only till this time.
Dude, have you seen the videos? He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get in trouble. They won't let me talk to you
Well,
guys, you know." And then an old lady goes and
he's-
grabs him and walks him away. Like, come on.
He's
Like,
the biggest,
dude.
like and that being said, I voted for Barack Obama. Now,
Okay.
that is one of those things where when you hear that, most people who voted for Trump would go like this, bro, well, you just don't know what's up. No, the difference is I voted for Obama, but I also understand that, yeah, dude, he is a war criminal.
Of course.
He built,
Absolutely.
He totally built those cages.
Dude, he blew up so many fucking people.
Yes.
Dude.
He's the reason that we can have the drones that
Dude,
can
he blew
do
up.
all that stuff.
Trump didn't even get close to how
Yeah.
many bombs that. And since when did Democrats and liberals become pro-war?
Oh, bro.
You know what I mean?
America's pro-war.
Like it's fucking yeah, that's true for sure.
America
But
does better when
no,
we're
that's
fighting.
for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like the typical liberal that like says they're liberal and like I'm a Democrat, they don't really know what that means, you know?
Well,
Like,
it's sad because you know what?
and you know what I started thinking too? I was like, damn, how did we go from the 60s with Jimi Hendrix singing about loving your brother and we need peace and you know, they're trying to get me to kill you and they're trying you to kill me, you know, and that kind of type of
bro.
thing. From that to liberals fucking, oh, we need to support, we need to do what the government says and we need to vote for Obama and, you
bro.
know, and Obama's drone striking fucking kids left and right. And, you know, it's crazy, dude.
It's not hard to see as far as when you look at it. Like, so even when you hear people talk, even the conservatives, like, hey, look, giving them handouts, stuff like that. Democrats usually try to make some sort of, you know, social, I guess, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, help would be, you know.
For who?
For most of the minority groups is what they'll tell you, you know.
But
And-
why though?
And this is why, because, and honestly, and this
But-
is, again, my opinion.
Okay, no.
For
go
me,
ahead.
it's this, because you can get those people on board a lot faster
for the vote.
for the vote.
Yes.
And
So
there's
it's a
nothing
ploy.
wrong. Yeah, it's a ploy. And that's where I'm at. But for me,
Well, how did they trick you?
well, they didn't trick me. Like, what I go with is what I feel.
At
Like,
least you know it's a ploy.
I take when I vote for me.
yeah.
I vote for what I think is best. And sometimes it goes with what people think, sometimes it doesn't. But really, like for me, my only really big concern with Trump, for me,
Yeah.
was just taking responsibility. Like, there were some times that I personally thought he could have been very presidential, and then it's just like fumble. And there's nothing wrong because that's who he was. And every
Yes.
time, he was the same. And I'll give him that because
Yeah.
one of
he
the
wasn't
things,
faking it. That's
no,
for sure.
and one of the things that I think his legacy is really going to be is that he informed both sides. That
Yeah, 'cause
there was
he-
a lot of people who went out to vote, and you can't take that away from him. It wasn't because of Joe Biden. It was because of Donald Trump.
yeah.
And a lot more
Either
people
way.
got involved.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and that's what it's supposed to be about.
Well, yeah, but the problem is the people that get involved, they're low information people.
Well,
So,
on both
you know what I mean?
sides. And that's to me like you can't say that
Yes.
one side is one doing
Yes.
and both sides have it.
Yes, but there's more conviction. I feel like on the right, like they're gonna research more. They're gonna look into the issues.
Well, okay, yes, I agree. But
and they're different issues.
there's
too,
also
by the
the
way.
same people on the other side. And you can't deny that fact. Just
Uh-huh.
there's like I'm totally on the opposite end of the spectrum of you.
Right.
I would say we're very similar by talking right now.
Right.
And we dig in, but we're also the exception.
Yeah,
So to
for
me,
sure.
definitely for every one or two of us, there's also a few others on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing is to separate that.
But why do you think that CNN was lying so much?
Man,
why do you think that they have to lie to the people?
It depends on which side. Like to me, I watch Fox News and I'm like, why are they doing the same thing?
But you can do your own research and
Yes.
find out it's not.
Well,
it's not-
some of the stuff I
you
looked
know?
up and it's like it's not the same.
Yeah.
Like there's all your perspectives.
Well, remember when Trump was like, "Oh, there are rapists coming over the border," and you know, and all of a sudden it turned into Trump called all Mexicans rapists. You know.
Well, I mean,
and then you watch the rest of the video.
but at the same,
and he go, hold on, and he goes, and what I mean is the bad people that are coming in, the MS-13 and the child sex traffickers. Those are the people that are horrible people. And they just cut that shit out completely. Well, and then they say Trump called Mexicans rapists. Oh my God. You know what I mean?
Well, and again,
that's propaganda.
That is on both sides, because at the same time, it could also be like, hey, look, these are the clips. Can
you give me an example though?
Well, I'm just saying, like with that
was a
poignant one, yeah. To
yeah.
me, it was that, hey, look at what he said. Now, could he have worded it different? Yeah. He could have made it.
I think I would have been even more hardcore. I've been like, they're fucking killing kids and they're selling them into sex slavery and no one gives a fuck and they're bringing guns and drugs.
See,
that's why.
Yeah, that's fine,
hardcore,
and that's totally cool. But
yeah.
to me, you're playing on people's fears.
But now, it's true though.
No, it's. I mean,
it's
maybe
100% true.
But they're not all. See,
no, they're not all.
Yeah. But that's the feeling that people get is, all people like that. Again, there's stupid people on both sides.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that there's a larger majority of y'all that don't believe this or a larger majority that us do, but there are large groups of people who are like, that's correct. I believe that 100% on both sides.
Yeah, but yes, you keep saying that, but I'm giving you clear-cut examples, and I can prove that tons of drugs and kids are literally being kidnapped and sold to people in America.
Specifically by Mexican or illegal immigrants?
Yes, absolutely. Cartels. The cartels are doing
it. Cartels, yeah, I believe cartels.
And that's who we're trying to stop.
Cartels are a completely different thing. They're not trying to come in here and live here.
No.
They're trying to come in here and do business.
Yes.
So that's different.
But the cartels don't come over here. They just bring the people and the drugs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's because...
That was the whole point.
Well, then that goes back further, because then you got to think of like Reaganomics and or the war on drugs.
Oh, yeah.
Like that, the war on drugs was specifically to make money.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not protecting any Republican.
No.
I'm not talking about that.
No. It goes back to that. So like when you get to the trafficking, like
and that's why I said Americans are buying and torturing the kids too.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying.
See, but
we're so innocent.
No.
No.
But what you said was specifically what his wording was. Look, there's rapists, and he could have worded it differently. Say there's bad people. Left the word rapist and all that out. But what they did, CNN, was they saw the opportunity to go, hey, here's that snippet. I don't need the rest. And then it's like me and you. Like when I watched it, I agree with you. That's where you're getting confused. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that what they did, and you say, why did they lie?
Yeah.
Because they're trying to hit a demographic.
Exactly.
And both sides
that's where you're correct.
Yeah, and both sides are.
At least you can see that, though.
No, and a lot of people don't see it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But but that's what I don't get about you. Like, they're bullshitting you, but why did you still? Why are you still?
For me, my vote. No, well, my vote is like you see, and that's where you get the line blurred. Is that I'm not saying I'm Democrat. I vote mostly Democratic.
Okay.
But when I make my votes, I make them based on, hey, here's my idea. Like,
yeah.
When I voted for Obama, Bush wasn't a bad president.
Bush was a fucking warmonger.
Yeah, like he wasn't a bad president, but he definitely did. He did the war stuff.
Yes.
Obama to me did way worse.
Yes, he did.
And he continued what they were doing. And
well, if you ask me, Bush kind of sat back and let 9/11 happen.
Well, I'm not gonna go there, but yeah. I mean, continue.
Hold on, we're gonna go there. Okay. And this is the Republicans.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not picking a side here.
Yeah,
I'm just
totally.
calling it like I see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay. So Bush sat beside and let Cheney, because there's a bunch of movies on this shit too.
Yeah.
Cheney I think he worked for one of the biggest oil companies in the world. He did. He was the CEO. Cheney was. So Cheney wanted to go to Afghanistan, start some shit over there, right?
Yeah.
What do they got to do to get the Americans on board? What do you got to do?
You
got to get everyone together, right?
That's where it starts,
right?
And there's a lot of...
And remember all the patriotism that was going on after 9/11?
And then there's also a lot of negative stuff that happened to Muslims that were Muslim American, just like what happened with any war.
For sure. But absolutely. But
it breeds that conflict as well.
Let me finish the ploy, because it gets into that. So Cheney was like, I don't know if you heard this, but Cheney told him to stand down, and the fighter jets who were coming.
Yeah.
They fucking lit the planes, hit, the building. They could have sent planes out to shoot those planes down, and in real shit, they should have. You know?
Yeah. No, if
But
they have the opportunity.
yeah, even though you would have killed a couple of hundred people, they killed 3,000 people, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know how many deaths in Afghanistan. We're still over
yeah,
there
we're still
fighting.
there,
20, 30 years now, or whatever. And so they let that happen, just like in Vietnam. They killed JFK. They put the other guy in. He was pro-war. Boom, we're in Vietnam. Okay, so 9/11, same playbook, like you were saying.
Yeah, the old tricks are the best.
Yeah. Let them hit the buildings. Okay, now we got it. Everyone, we need to go stop terrorism. Then they do the what was the Patriot Act, where they said,
Yeah.
okay,
Oh, bro,
you know
that's
what?
So much bullshit.
We need to start spying on every fucking American. We have the right to do it. So they put in the Patriot Act. They started spying on all Americans. Totally illegal. So much bullshit. They did it anyways. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
After that, and then boom, next thing you know, we're fighting terrorism in the Middle East. You know, and a lot of those people, they didn't want us over there, dude.
No,
you know,
we
to me,
we shouldn't have been there.
country,
Yeah, we
basically.
shouldn't have been there at all. To me.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some benefits economically that I
Oh.
obviously see, but
Oh, there's lots.
yeah, to
and
me,
that was the point.
to me, what it gets into, man, is that, especially with that, like when I see I look at what policies there are, and the only problem I have with Trump, and honestly,
Mhm.
like, cause hey, he won fair and square. There was no
Yeah.
way. Hey, cool, you win. Let me see what happens. And for me, there was just times where he was brash and uncouth, which is cool, but it wasn't somebody that I would consider presidential. And there's been some
Yeah.
rowdy presidents, and there's some that I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, but that
But some-
doesn't take away from what he did,
Right.
because he did,
Because he did a lot of good stuff.
Yes, he
He
did
did.
do a lot,
He
and
did.
I'm not going to take that away from him,
Yeah.
because as a president, he was the president, and I'm one of those people who said, yeah, I may not have agreed with a lot of stuff, and I didn't agree with some of the wording that he used, but that's because
Yeah, but-
that's who was voted in.
But some people don't give a crap about that, like me. And some people like it. You know, like some people think it's so funny. Like he
Well,
was the funniest son of a bitch ever.
there were
dude.
some times where I did laugh, but there's also times where, as a president,
Yeah.
it wasn't something that, like, there was times where he could have calmed some stuff down, and it had nothing to do with what he was saying. It was the way he was saying it, because there were some times where I'm like, yeah, but when he would word it a certain way, you would get
Yeah.
those snippets.
Right.
And what they were doing,
That's why they hated him, though.
yeah,
That's
and
why they hated him.
that's why they loved him too,
Right,
because
exactly,
both sides
same.
got the snippets.
Yeah.
But when you look at it as a whole, it was just, I mean,
I think it was a big middle finger, dude.
Oh.
To you know.
Totally, but at
to
the same-
to the career politician. And you know what's weird? What happened with Trump was, all of a sudden we had all their phone numbers and names. We knew who was in the House, the Senate. All those people became popular, you know. And then those people started to freak out because they were running a racket. They run a racket.
Oh,
I mean,
dude,
there's
that's,
no doubt.
that's all that is.
It's a racket.
That's all
right?
that is. Yeah.
So imagine running a racket for generation after generation. All of a sudden, this dude comes in, starts fucking up your racket, right? Everyone starts freaking out. They're like, "Oh my God, this guy Trump, he's not on board. Oh shoot, he's a billionaire. We can't bribe him. He's got tons of money." He even said on live TV, he goes, "This is what got my dad, and my dad's
Yeah.
Mexican." He said, "This is what got my dad to vote for Trump for sure, hands down." Trump was on TV. He goes, "Look, all CNN, they hired all these people. No one's clapping for me. All these people are paid off." And he goes, "I'm a billionaire. No lobbyists can pay me off. I'm already filthy rich, so you can't buy me." And that
Ross
my dad
Perot
was
said
like,
the same thing.
but Trump literally was a billionaire though.
So, Ross Perot didn't need the money from that too. I mean, he did a good thing. And the thing is
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
that doesn't impress me. Like, okay, cool. I
Yeah.
know you got money.
Yeah.
But a lot of stuff that I saw really was for businesses, man. There's a lot of stuff that he did.
But is that bad though?
No, I think if you're a businessman, it's not bad at all. I
Yeah.
think if you're in there,
It's good.
But what you see was that disconnect from the other people, and like you said, the BLM. You know, you
Yeah.
start feeling like, hey, you're disenfranchised, and to me,
Yeah.
it's just that. I think the difference is that I know that both parties are out to get me.
Yeah.
Whether you're on the left or you're on the right, both parties to me are out to get you. I just, you line yourself with what you feel in your heart is right. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying that what you're saying is wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not saying what I say is right, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I'm not going to change your mind. You're going to be the one that can change your mind.
The only way you could change my mind is if you could show me proof with documents or any kind of
Bro.
any kind of deep research
See,
that would show me that either Trump was wrong or Biden was right or anything like that.
And there's your mistake, right? That there is not going to be, because no matter what, you'll have something to counter. And that's the beauty of this, because you can ride on both sides. And there's facts or facts.
No, because when I see it, I'll believe it.
Yeah.
You know, seeing is believing.
Yeah.
Like
and
if you show me, I say, hey, okay, you're right.
Yeah, and like I said, facts are facts.
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
I said, but what I look up, and that's the culture of today. Back in the day, it used to be like, look, here's what happened. And a lot of people didn't question it, right? And we have to
Yes.
question everything now. Everything
Yeah.
is. So like I said, like I could show you this, but we'd have to both agree that the sources were right. And dude, if you
Yes.
change my mind, dude,
Yeah.
I'm down for it.
Yeah.
Because that's what a discussion is.
Yes.
And that's what a lot of people don't take away from this.
Yeah.
Is that, hey man, like, cool. And like everything you talk about, like, yeah, I
Yeah.
totally researched it too, the Cheney stuff, because
Dude, I research everything.
yeah, because you have to know both sides too.
I have to know what really happened.
Yeah.
That's
And you
what
want to
I
know.
want- yes.
And it's there.
It is
and
there.
that's the thing, is that
Exactly.
to me,
It's there.
is that people won't do the research to do
No,
it.
they won't.
It's
And when you tell people this, it blows their minds because they're like, damn, I never, spent 2 seconds. They watch the news, right? They watch the news for a little segment. They get really pissed off, and then they go on about their day.
yes.
You know?
Well, and to me, it goes down to that. To me, again, that small town mentality of it doesn't
Yeah.
affect me, because look, I'm here, and they're over here, so it doesn't affect me. Because even my grandmother, she grew up not voting because they told her your vote doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Maybe not directly. Maybe they did do it directly, but in her mind, it did not matter. So her whole life, she's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. She taught, my parents, and
Yeah.
hey, no big deal. And it turns into that, well, why do I care? And a lot of times, that's what you see. Oh, here's that headline. Oh, that's over there in another country. I don't care.
Right.
Not realizing that it does affect us.
Yeah, it
At,
does.
a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
And like I
for
said,
sure.
like I voted for Joe Biden. Even I'm kind of going like, what the fuck?
Most people are. Dude.
Yeah, and
most
and
people are.
like I said, I'm not saying that I backed the wrong horse, but I backed the wrong horse. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you think Joe Biden won?
Man, now that's a whole other discussion. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, man, especially with like the stuff they're doing here in Texas, with voter suppression.
Nope.
And look, it's not
Don't
voter
call it that.
suppression. Yeah. And
That's-
that's what I'm saying, is that
they use those
the
words, dude.
terminology.
Yes.
Voter suppression.
Words are so powerful, dude. Words. People don't realize how powerful words are, man.
Well, it's even, that's why I do
Really?
music. Music
Yeah.
was used to teach. How do you learn your ABCs?
Exactly.
And that's the thing, is that
Exactly.
the way they word it is that. Now,
Yes.
there's other things that you can use. Like, to me, I think a college ID would be good. Now, it's still fallible. Still like a regular ID that you get. The thing that...
Dude, you need your ID to buy beer.
Yeah. And the thing is this. Now, what they're talking about, most people, what they want to jump on is the idea of, well, what about impoverished places who really can't get... And I get that.
Yeah, and that's a joke, too.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
But, like, even where I come from, like my family, like I said, my grandmother,
Yeah.
she wouldn't do it. But
Yeah.
in their minds, it's like, here's this. Here's another vote. Here's all this. Dude, I saw it, perfectly in Mathis. Small town. They would go pick up all the elderly people,
Yeah.
different sides,
Yeah.
and go do this. And, hey, you go vote for this person, then go and do that. I
Like,
saw
what
it.
do you mean? Like they talked him into it?
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
I saw it
dude,
too.
Yeah, totally.
I saw it too.
And
I got
that's,
pissed.
And that's the thing, like when I say like this stuff on a larger scale, I have to at least think that there's people like me on the other side. Because if I don't, that means that I've already discounted anything they said. And maybe they're right.
Yeah.
Because maybe I'm wrong. And I have to do that research because
Yeah.
like you said, I need to know.
Yeah.
And I need to know that what I believe is at least something that I
Yeah.
could take with me, and look
Yeah.
at myself in the mirror and go, cool.
Right. Yeah.
I think what it comes down to for me is, and somebody told me this in music, is you get to a point where there's a situation where you have to compromise yourself, and if you don't want to do that, then you don't have to. And for me, that's been like a big part of like anybody's belief system. Like, believe what you want. To me, I think you should fight fervently for what you believe in.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a healthy thing of what makes us American is to have those differences,
Yeah.
but not to exacerbate them. Not to sit there and go like, hey, like right now we're having a conversation, pretty civil,
Yeah.
but like to me, not a lot of people do this, especially online.
hell no,
Hey,
they don't.
bro,
Yeah,
F
fuck yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
And all it takes is like, dude, everything you said, I don't disagree with.
Yeah. Because normally, like when I get into little spats with people online, I'll just drop a bomb on them and they just go silent, dude. They go silent, and I
Dude.
don't understand that. I'm like, did I just like shock their world, or you know what I mean?
I
Like,
read and watch everything.
because
yeah.
I want them to say something back
Engage.
to me, and I'm not even being rude. I'm like, I'll drop like a big, provable, bit of information on them, and they won't say nothing back.
Yeah, and a lot of times, especially, you got to think that online or any review, it's usually a strongly opinionated person who's already like, bro, here's what
Yeah.
I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
You know, most people don't really like. If you're friends with them, you'll have a civil conversation.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I'm not trying to change your mind. You're not trying to change mine. We're just saying,
Yes,
hey,
I
look.
am. Yes, I am.
Well, even if you are, you know,
Yeah.
I accept the challenge
Yeah,
because
yeah.
to me, hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Okay,
and
I got
I'm
a
okay
question.
with that.
Okay,
Go for
remember
it.
how earlier we were talking about like if like a mob like get attacks you, you kind of like okay, I'll go
Yeah.
along. Do you feel like you're in a group of people that would attack you if you voted for Trump?
Oh no, no,
You don't
no,
think
no.
so?
I have a few friends that I feel would be very angry and maybe,
That's
but
what
not
I mean.
attack, but not
Yeah.
attack. Now I felt that from the other side, totally.
What do you mean?
Like personally,
liberals?
yeah. Well, I felt that from people like if because I voted for Joe Biden,
Uh-huh.
I've had aggression toward me. That's just real stuff.
Yeah.
And that's because I didn't even do nothing. Like I'm like okay, if I'm an asshole to begin with, and that's okay if you don't
Yeah.
like me for being that. But
Yeah,
to
yeah,
me,
yeah.
especially political, I lost a lot of friends because
That's crazy.
the idea of hey man, like it doesn't matter. Like to me, it does matter
Mhm.
for the country, but between me and you,
Yeah.
like
It doesn't
okay,
matter.
cool.
That
It's
doesn't matter.
not gonna affect me and you hanging out
Yeah.
unless you're do something that's super like hey bro, I'm sorry I can't hang with that. But
Right.
I don't see that happening, man.
No, that I would only draw the line if like if I was with a friend with someone that was like a Biden supporter and they're like, yeah, I totally think they should give puberty blockers to kids and teach them about sex at 3 years old, and you know,
Now, see,
I'm totally cool with that, you know. And
see,
that's where I get.
I don't
pissed.
agree with that.
That's
No,
where I
but
get
but
pissed.
what I do agree with, and this is just not the same. I mean, it's tough because it depends on which side you're on. Because I believe that you should be able to do, I mean, like some stuff, you know. But with parents,
what?
man, no, I'm
Like-
saying with parents, it's a tough line because parents will always do this. Man, this is my kid, but at the same time, you could be harming the child, and that's where it's tough
It's
to draw the
child
line.
abuse.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
where the line gets blurred for people because of beliefs. Church people and religious people will fight
Yeah.
fervently for the child.
Yes,
Some scientific
for sure.
people will fight fervently for the idea of parents and stuff like that. Neither of them are wrong. It depends on your perspective. Now, there's some moral stuff. No,
There's more.
there's moral stuff that goes into it. But I'm saying, go.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to pause it. You want a beer?
Yeah, I'll take
All
one.
right,
Yeah.
Okay. I think they're cold now. I was thinking, like, damn, I hope I don't freeze them.
No, I'm good, brother. No, I'm good. Fucking A, man.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Oh, thanks.
You can use this as a little...
Little coaster.
Yeah.
There's that, brother.
I made this table too.
Man, nice.
I do all
Fuck
kinds
yeah.
of weird shit.
Fucking A, man.
So are you in a hurry? Like
No, man. No, I was just checking the
chilling?
time. Yeah.
Okay.
Fucking
No, cool. Hell yeah.
having some fun.
Yeah, man, it's getting good. I'd like to hear you play some guitar too.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
I got tons of guitars, dude. Tons. Those are just two of them. I have like a shitload. I'm sure you do too.
Oh, man, I got a few.
Yeah. All right, cold beers.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. All right. So, Sal, you're talking about parents and the kids.
So where I was going with that is this. Well, to me, if I believe in the government, the system working,
Yeah.
then it should fall into a court deciding that. Now, that's a perfect world because
Yeah.
you should have, hey, here's what we all decide collectively on, but that's not a perfect world that
What
we
if the
live
judge
in.
is a hardcore Democrat, bought off?
Well, same thing on the other side. It could be the other way. Now, there are variables because anything...
Then what do you do?
Well, here, anything built on people is fallible, and that's the hard part. I always say that's
Yeah.
where it gets difficult.
Yeah.
It really is who has the power right now.
But
and
there's
that's
a
how
clear,
those
but
laws
there's a
get
clear
created.
cut line, like you said, like, hey man, you probably shouldn't stab that dude.
Yeah,
That's a clear
there's some
cut.
stuff, but not everybody, like I said, is normal. Not everybody thinks
I know,
rationally.
but everyone knows you cannot murder someone,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Everyone knows you shouldn't steal innocence from a child.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but at the same time, we're in stuff that really hasn't happened before. So now we have to establish, hey, well, what is right? And I agree with you.
there's present.
Yeah, it's one of those
about that.
situations where it's like, well, who's right and who's wrong? And again, I feel it doesn't matter where it goes, but you can always appeal it and stuff like that, that it should be taken care of just like that. And it's not right and it's not wrong.
Yeah.
It's really the government that decides that, to me.
Well,
And it's tough because it's built
but
on
there's
people.
there's a moral problem when you have people that are godless
Oh, yeah.
and do not think what they're doing is harming children. Like, I draw the line hard on children.
Yeah, I know. I'm
You
a
know what I
parent.
mean?
Yeah, I feel the same
like
way.
real hard.
But
Like,
there's also people that don't think like us.
I know,
And-
and I know, but they should be stopped.
Yes, and that's what I'm talking about. There should be a president that says that. Hey, look, if we as a people agree, then hey, we
Yeah.
pass the laws. And again, in a perfect world, this is where
Yeah.
we're at. That's not where
Have
we're
you ever
at.
heard of drag queen story time?
Yes, I have.
What
Yeah.
the fuck?
Well, to
And
me,
and then you got parents egging it on.
well, again, there's different people's ideas of what's moral and what's not because,
But we know it's not right.
well, there's a thing. Is
So,
that
is it right?
What you think is right and what I think is right is completely different.
I don't know. There's not a line there.
No, that's what they're going to
But
throw at you.
I know. But if you go to God and in the middle, we all know we're not supposed to be
but what
stripping
God?
in front of kids.
But what God?
Every God in the book.
Okay, well then that's what no, I'm saying. But these
Oh,
are-
no. You know which God doesn't agree with it? Satan.
See, and that's where you get into that. There's the Church of Satan might say, no, I think he's cool with it, and that's the thing is that yes, there are things that we both would agree with. Maybe, hey, yeah, we agree is
Don't
wrong.
fuck with kids.
Yeah, no, that's
And Yeah.
rigged thing. But there's that group, and I'm not saying it's right. All
It's
I'm saying is
wrong.
there's that group that is
Yes.
fighting for it, and that's the
Yeah.
other part. Is that okay? If we agree collectively that this is wrong, then we need to
Yeah.
stop it.
How do we do that though? How do we do a collective?
I
'Cause-
think it's
'cause it-
happening right now. People are
Well,
trying to
there's
figure
fighting
that
back.
out. Yeah.
We are fighting back because it seems like the news puts it out like it's going everywhere, but it's really a small factions of this weird child shit going on.
Yeah.
Because I can already hear my friends screaming at me like, "You should have told them all that stuff." I'm like, "Look, we're talking, we're having a good conversation, but I can tell you some things, like I was saying earlier, like the child trafficking across the border."
Yeah.
That is a serious, serious evil thing going on.
And it happens
And
everywhere.
Absolutely it does.
Everywhere.
It's global.
Yes.
But why aren't we trying to stop it, and why are we ignoring it?
There are people that do. I mean, maybe not the government as fervently as they should,
Yeah.
but there are.
Why are we saying open the border? Nothing to see here. Just come
Well,
on in.
I think that's another thing. Is like we're not saying everybody come in. Hey, everybody willy nilly, because they're still vetted. At
Joe
the
Biden
gate.
literally said we need to surge the border.
And
everyone
then,
coming in over
and then
here.
later on, what did he say?
I don't know.
Don't come here.
I know.
Yeah,
Why?
because he realized what he was doing was dumb. I mean, he didn't
Yes.
say it actually. It was
Yes,
just Kamala. She's
because
like, "Don't
he's-
come here."
Yeah.
And-
When he said surge the border, Trump was president.
Yeah, and that's
They're
the
trying
thing.
to sabotage him.
Disenfranchised. Again,
Mm-hmm.
you have a group of people who feel they're being attacked. So what do? Hey, look, here's that. And
Yeah,
both
you-
sides do it. Both sides do it.
Yeah,
and-
but what are they doing it for though?
Oh, votes, dude. Power.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like I said,
for
that
sure.
I don't think that what
But
mostly,
I've never heard a Republican say you need to surge the border, bring all the
Oh,
drugs.
and you're never going to.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
never going
Yeah.
to, because that's not their demographic.
Yeah, but in the same time, I've looked into a lot of child sex trafficking and child pedophilia.
Yeah.
A lot of it, like so much that it's fucking. It's like that old saying: "Stare too long at the abyss,
Yeah.
you become the abyss." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you don't want that, and it's because I'm looking into this evil shit, man, and it's not
Yeah.
fun, and I
Well-
don't like doing it, but I need to know the enemy, and I like to learn, like, oh my God, there's people when you're super powerful and super wealthy, you have all the money in the world, you have tons of money. Money doesn't mean shit anymore. So what do? You start to prey onto kids.
Well, it's just like that. I don't know if you saw that TikTok. Did you see that one from the Germany one about pedophilia being a mental disorder?
Oh fuck.
So check this out.
Yes, I did hear about that.
It tripped me out, right?
That's what
'Cause
I'm talking. That's
I
the
wanted
kind
to
of
see
shit I'm
it.
talking about.
So what I got from it,
Mhm.
and to be, I don't believe that.
Okay.
But what you see when you're watching that is somebody just scientifically looking like, here's what's going on. I think personally, hey, I don't think that's correct at all. But obviously they had a person do a talk. There was people listening to it. And that to me is the weird part, because anybody
That's
can
the
do that.
propaganda,
Yeah,
man.
anybody can do that on both sides. It's what we do collectively. And again, divide and conquer. You can control small factions with a smaller group, but if we all got together, we could do the opposite of, the government's good, but it's not great.
No, but I think they should not have given that dude. That guy should not be saying that shit.
It's a girl, actually.
It was that person
Yeah.
should not be saying that shit.
Well, see, and that's the other part is
that
that,
person should be taken out to the back.
well, there's a scientific
And taken-
group.
get taken
there's
out.
a scientific group
No,
that,
dude,
that literally
no,
did this.
no.
No, listen.
I don't give
agree.
a fuck what science says.
No, I agree.
I don't give a fuck.
But there was a group that said this. We want to study them. They studied them. That to me is weird.
It's
because-
demonic.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also learning more about human.
Dude,
People-
but we can't pretend to say that science has all the answers.
It
Science
doesn't have
changes
the
every
answers.
day.
No, science is
Yeah.
changing every day. It doesn't have the
But,
but it
but
helps.
we're looking at it through two different ways.
Yeah.
You're looking at it through, oh, there was a study. I'm looking at it through, there's a devil.
No,
Hold on. Hold
Go
on.
for it.
Okay, I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No, go for it.
But you're saying, yes, there was a study and then people studied it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but I'm coming at it from, there's a devil. And he wants to kill innocents. He wants to, he feeds off of fear and death and hurting innocents and children and all that shit. That is a clear sign of Satan right there.
But
Fuck that person.
to you.
No.
No, I'm saying that's what you believe. There's people out there who don't believe what you believe.
Yeah, pedophiles.
No, I mean, they're not all pedophiles that don't believe what you believe. I don't
know, but
believe what you believe.
I'm talking strictly about pedophilia.
No, I'm saying, but that's the thing is that you're getting on something that comes to your religion, your belief system.
Yes.
That's the difference. Is that maybe they don't have a belief system.
You're right.
That's similar to yours.
So they're atheists.
They don't have to necessarily be atheists. They could be a different religion, just interested in human psyche.
Okay, so Islamic, they believe in pedophilia, I think, to an extent.
I mean, I'm not in that religion. I've never looked it up, so I can't quote.
They marry little kids and shit.
I mean, maybe that's a cultural thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be a religious thing.
Yeah, their culture is Islam.
But not all of them.
The ones that marry kids is.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, but I'm saying what I'm saying is you get down to semantics. Like, I get where you're coming from.
But I'm telling you direct examples, and you're saying you're throwing like a broad umbrella over it. Like,
well,
yeah, you know
it's
what I mean?
because you're throwing an even shorter, narrower view. Because of your religious beliefs, and that's cool. And I'm not saying that I disagree with you.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that there's a large group of people who do think differently from you, and whether they're right or wrong is for all of us to decide personally.
Do you agree that pedophilia
is wrong?
Yes.
Yes, totally, 100%.
Then why are you not siding with people that say it's wrong? Why are you
I do side with people that say it's wrong. What I'm saying is that not everybody sides like us, and that's not a problem. Is that what happens is that there could be a group.
It's not a problem if we're talking about something that's
But you're talking about
regular.
You're talking about people condoning pedophilia just because they're studying. No, they're actually seeing, hey, is this a condition or are these people fucked up? To me, I don't care either way. I think I agree with you. But these people don't think like us, and they wanted to figure this out. And are they wrong? To me, maybe. That whole thing, I watched the whole thing, and I listened to it. They talked about brain and stuff. I still think it's messed up. Doesn't matter what the research says, but there's a group of people who think differently.
So should we let them think that way?
And that's where it gets dangerous.
Should we let them?
Well, that's where it gets dangerous.
Yes. Should we you're right. You're fucking right. Okay, this pedophiles they're just have a little problem. So let's just give them kids and let them.
Well, see,
do
that's
their thing.
no. See,
you know what I mean?
That's
why you gotta fucking draw a line.
Well, the other part is just like religion. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
when you get into the pedophilia that happens in the Catholic Church, I don't think that because there's pedophiles in the Catholic Church, that Catholicism condones pedophilia. That's me personally.
They do.
I mean, obviously they switch
Quote,
people around.
unquote.
Yeah, no, and again, another thing that happened.
And I'm
Mathis,
against that too.
Another thing that happened in my hometown.
Yes, tell me about this.
No, I can't. I mean,
What do you
really get into it. But nah.
Okay,
well, we had a priest
Okay.
in the town
All right.
that was convicted of stuff, and you can
Yes,
look it up.
I believe
Dude
you.
left in the middle of the night, went to another, and it was fine.
Are you shitting me, dude?
Not shitting you at all.
Where did he go?
Back to Spain.
You're fucking kidding me.
You can look it up. You can look up the name. Now, this is
Back
what I'm
to
talking about. Yeah.
Spain.
Now, this is what I'm talking about, is that it's not so much that I don't think that people are right or wrong. To me, I think that we should decide as a country, no, we don't do this. We don't condone this. Like, we don't have to listen to what they're saying, but there are people.
And widely, we are against pedophilia.
No, totally,
But-
yes.
but-
Yeah. There's a few,
But-
obviously, jail cells. You know.
But I think we're not hard enough on them, and two, I think the left is kind of like going further into the abyss,
Well,
and it seems like that because there's reasonable liberals, I'm sure, but they're supporting something that's like saying I'm a Republican, so I support the KKK.
Yeah. See,
You know what I
and I
mean?
don't think that that's true at all.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
but,
why I'm saying there's reasonable people.
but
like,
there,
you know,
but there's also people who, or again, same way, who are like, oh man, I love the KKK, I'm going to be a Republican, or same thing, I'm a Black Lives Matter, I must be Democrat. You know what I mean? There's like I said, on both sides, there's these extremists.
But I think if you want to be a KKK clan leader, fuck, go ahead.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking
But
about.
if they're gonna start lynching people, fuck you. That's where I'm drawing the line.
Well, for me, it's accountability, man. If you want to be a bigot, be a bigot.
Yeah.
But you understand that there's stuff that we as a society
Right.
have decided that we're not going to condone.
But how long is it gonna be until the left starts coming around and saying, well, we're gonna go ahead and pass a law that actually they did in California. If you're 20 You can marry a 10-year-old.
Man, I have to look that up.
There's
That's crazy.
There's a 10-year difference. If anything within 10 years, it's legal. So, like I said, if you're 20, you can date a 10-year-old.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of old Texas stuff here too that's outdated. That's still legal.
Well, what the fuck?
Not that fucked up. Yeah,
No,
not that fucked up.
But that's new.
Yeah, and I'm saying I'm not condoning any of it. All I'm saying is that that's where I am. For me, it's this. Hey, I understand that I have my own beliefs, and what I do with my vote or whatever it is, it's me.
Yeah, and I'm not hating on you.
Yeah. So like for me,
I'm just trying to explain to you where I'm, where
yeah,
I'm
no,
coming from.
totally. And I'm not saying that you're right or wrong. I mean, like I said, like I'm here to discuss stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. You learn.
Thank you, man, for coming on. I've been trying to get someone that doesn't agree with me.
Oh
on
no,
my
man.
show,
And it's not even about disagreeing. It's just
Yeah.
about like, well, let me hear what you say. Yeah,
Right.
well,
Yeah.
cool. Well, I'm gonna go look it up and see. Oh man, if you're
Yes.
right, like I'm gonna be like,
Yes.
bro, check
Yeah.
this out.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what happened to me. Like, excuse me, I wasn't political really at all until I got a little bit older and I got into the oil field. And then I was like, oh, the government's fucking with my job. And so that's when I started to get involved and say, hey, what's really going on over here,
Well, and then again, you touched on two things for me, and this is where again, you said that you were listening. You're the oil field. Your religious stuff comes in.
Yeah.
Your actual work,
Yes.
your livelihood,
Yes.
and your belief system now are tied to
Those
something.
are the two main.
Yeah, and they're tied to something. And that's
Yeah.
cool. Whereas my allegiance to whatever political party doesn't get affected by those two.
I see.
Like
what
I'm
you're
not
saying.
thinking with the more like, okay, let me look at what the policy is, and like for me, I'm like, okay, that's
Okay,
cool.
that makes sense. So your vote isn't as crucial to you. I don't have to say
It
that
is
in a bad.
crucial.
I'm
No,
not saying
it's-
that in a bad way, but it's not like you were saying. It's not directly affecting you.
Well,
You know
no,
what I mean?
it's crucial to my
Yeah.
moral standards and
right.
stuff like that.
Morally,
So,
but not
yeah.
like financially.
Yeah, like it's not
Yeah.
motivated by like. See, I'm not sitting there depending on like I need this thing
Right,
to
because
work.
if I wasn't in the oil field, I probably wouldn't care as much.
But
you know what I mean?
and I will agree that when they came in, they started doing this stuff to oil field. I have a lot of family in that.
Right.
The whole town of Mathis got affected by
Yeah,
that
for
because
real.
they shut down a whole. And I could see again disenfranchised. You feel like, fuck, I don't
yeah,
want this
those
to happen.
motherfuckers took my job.
Yeah, and then what happened is that they did the opposite. Well, look at these oil pipelines are doing this.
Yeah.
And, oh, well, I care about the environment. Well, I want to do this. And it's just that cycle of,
Yeah.
hey, bullshit to me.
Right.
And so
It
for me,
is.
like, I did vote for
Yeah.
somebody that I can honestly say I am not happy with. And like I said, I'm not going to sit there and be like
Mm-hmm.
Obama was the greatest president.
No,
because
he
he
killed
wasn't.
more people than
Yeah,
anybody.
and I'm not going to say that Trump was a bad president because
Okay.
he wasn't.
Yeah.
The thing is, what happened was, for me, with the people. Now we
Yeah.
had these factions where me and you discussing this is
Yeah.
what they don't want.
Oh hell yeah.
They don't want
No.
us going like, hey man,
No way.
we
Especially
disagree
in
on
long
this.
form. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Because on a longer time of us going like that, we maybe feel like, hey man, we agree on this, this, and this, and this, and this is this.
Yeah.
Or what we don't agree on. As long
Yeah,
as it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
morally to us,
Yeah.
I think we'd be okay, cool. Well,
Right.
maybe that part of you is just, nah, I don't think that's
Yeah.
Saul.
Yeah.
And that's okay, man, because it's
Yeah.
okay to disagree.
For sure.
And that's the thing that people don't understand now, especially with
Yeah.
the internet, social media.
Yep.
It's, hey, I don't care if you don't like me. As a musician, if you don't like my music, I don't care.
Who cares?
That's what we're in this to do.
Yeah.
Look, as long as I say, hey, here's what I feel, here's
Mm-hmm.
what I think, here's my ideas.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, cool. End of the day, I got it off my chest. I look myself in the mirror. Cool.
Yeah.
Now, when it starts coming to our front door like it did, and it
Yeah.
has been lately,
Yeah.
that's when we start getting more, hey, let's
Now-
see
yeah.
where people are. And
Yeah.
discussions like this help us
Yeah.
realize, okay, here's where we're at.
Yeah, it's like not in my back door. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? That old saying, not or not in my front yard. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like remember when all those riots were going on in Chicago and stuff?
Yeah.
And they finally went into the mayor's neighborhood. What did she do? The defund the police.
Yeah.
She hired a whole fucking
Where you at?
squad of police
Yeah.
to protect her house.
Yeah, and then there's stuff with wording. Again, like even defund the police.
Yeah.
Like no one's saying stop giving money to the police.
Yes, they are.
I mean, no,
Yes,
no.
they are.
They're saying give
They
less money and,
literally-
and do it towards other places. There were a few people that did say that. but that wasn't what they were trying to do.
And you sound like CNN, bro, right
No,
now.
no. Because look, now for us, it doesn't. To me, I don't think that affects us. I think in larger cities
I
where
think
they
it
have,
does. In larger cities, yes.
yeah, in larger cities, I think it affects
sure.
them more,
For
especially
sure.
what we saw in those larger cities with those riots. Again, I think it's bad. I
What?
think
What's bad?
taking some funding from
Yeah.
what we need for protection, at the same
Yeah.
time, they're also showing you, hey, look at all these bad cops. I don't think all cops are bad.
I
I
don't
have
either.
friends who are cops. I have family
Yeah.
members who are cops. So it's
But they were saying all cops are bastards. All cops are
Yes.
bastards.
and that's
that's their
what they show
mentality.
you. Yeah,
That's
and
where
but
they're
that's,
at.
and that's
you
what
know?
they show you. And there's those dumb people. I
Yeah.
guarantee you, again, even on my side, who saw and were like, all cops are bad.
Yeah.
Bro.
All
Because
of
right
them.
now, what I've seen is that mentality. What I call it, like a college mentality.
Right.
When people, I just learned about this.
Right. I
now,
just got out of college.
I'm
Yeah.
100% in this.
Yeah.
I know it all.
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
don't know the whole story.
Yeah, they don't know shit.
and there's a
really.
lot of people like that.
Yes.
And,
and thousands.
You can see it.
That's why they infiltrate the colleges, dude.
Yeah.
That's that's the breeding ground of this shit, you know?
Well, I mean, that's where people start learning different ideals. And again, that's where it turns into, if you're strong in your convictions,
Yes, you have to be.
you have to be.
Yes.
And that's what to me.
But if you're weak-minded, you're fucked.
Exactly.
You'll latch on
you'll
to
latch onto
any
any
idea.
new thing
Yeah.
that's, hey, this is the popular thing.
I think communism good, and they'll get a guy in a suit, and he'll have his own class, and
Yeah.
I have written books, and this is why communism's good. I'm like,
Well, again,
and people buy that shit.
Anything on people is fallible to me. Anything
Yeah.
built on people. Communism, when you look at the thing on paper, you're like,
Right, it sounds great, right?
you're like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But when you get it into practical application, it's the dumbest thing on
yeah,
earth.
for sure.
You
dude.
know, and we've seen it.
Oh hell yeah!
You know,
we've seen it.
even with what we've had
going on right
before.
now.
Yeah.
in
and
freaking Cuba.
and we see this change, and like the thing is that we don't go, okay, well this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. What's
Yeah,
gonna work?
right.
We're like, no, we're gonna stick to this.
It's the definition of stupid.
Yeah,
you
we're
know?
gonna keep doing
you
this
do the
'cause
same
it
thing
still has
over
a
and again, and
chance.
then maybe it's gonna work.
Yeah, and to
yeah.
me, like I said, I'm not trying to change anybody's mind. And
Yeah.
like when I texted you the other day to be like,
Yeah,
hey man, listen
that
to the
got me
podcast.
excited.
Yeah, no, and I told my wife on the
I was
way.
hoping you were gonna back out. I'm like, oh fuck.
No, I
lost
told
it."
my wife on the way here. I go, I think I sent that because I wanted to talk about it. Because for
Right.
me,
That's good.
I get locked into this.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't believe this, then you automatically believe this. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, like there's some stuff that I agree with you on.
Yeah.
We've touched on it today.
Right.
Not necessarily everything, but there's
Yeah.
some stuff that maybe you don't agree with me at all, and that's fine. That's where we're at.
And these are the type of conversations that we could talk for a long time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because if we just totally agree, like, okay, we agree on that. Okay, all right, good, we're good. You know.
Yeah,
But I think it's good to.
Well, the
you
other
know,
part is, to me, I think the really biggest thing, and this is just my personal opinion on this, for real,
Yeah.
is that the biggest part is the belief system thing.
What do
like,
you mean?
like preying on people's beliefs. Like, to me, like you said, like church,
Mm-hmm.
or my religious God, Satan, you're
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
I have a strong conviction in that too. So yes, there's some stuff that we will morally agree on because of my religious background.
Are you religious?
Yeah,
Or
I'm
do you have-
Catholic.
Okay.
I mean, I learned stuff about the Catholic religion, and it became very difficult for me to be a practicing Catholic.
Yes.
And so what I do is
agree.
I have my relationship with God, which I have my
Yes,
foundation in.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Now, some people would say that I'm not a good Catholic.
Oh no, you have to go to church every mass, and you have to
Yeah.
confess your sins to a dude, and
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
like,
cool.
no,
you want to
don't.
believe that? That's your belief. Maybe that's gonna get you
Yeah.
closer to God.
Yeah.
Cool. That's not what I believe. And for
Yeah.
me, that's what I took a lot from growing up. Was that
Mm.
I went to a lot of other churches growing up. I went when I went to school here in West Oso. I would go to Baptist church, and all of them had the same core values.
Right.
There was some stuff where you kind of go like, I don't know about that. Like people speaking in tongues to me.
Yeah.
The first time
It's
I
in the
saw that,
Bible.
yeah,
Yeah.
the first time I saw that, it freaked me out
Yeah.
because I didn't know that
It
that
freaks
was a
me
thing.
out too.
Oh, bro.
And I don't think it's bad. I mean, it's not hurting
no,
anybody.
it's
you know?
it's just different.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Now there are some extremists in both sides. Like
Yeah.
in all religions, there's going to be an extremist, or in anything, there's going to be an extremist faction.
Islam.
Yeah, there's definitely an extremist faction in Islam. Now,
Yeah.
I know some Muslims.
Yeah.
I know a lot
nice
of them.
guys.
No, I know like their beliefs, and like I've
Right.
talked with them,
Yeah.
and that's not what they take away from their religion.
Yeah, it's basically, I think there's a separate book, or there's like a militant side of Islam that they get that and they go
Yeah,
full
and they run
on
with it.
in that
Yeah,
shit.
well, it's the same thing like when you have, like, again, members like of the KKK who are
Yeah.
burning crosses.
Yeah, and then there you got your normal races are like, I don't
Yeah.
really like that dude.
Yeah.
I don't like the blacks coming over here. And then you got dudes that are like straight up like hardcore racists.
Yeah, and what happens is, at first you start saying and generalizing. Like, to me, I don't believe that all conservatives are what I see on CNN or whatever on TV.
Well,
or
that's
here.
good, and I wish
Because-
more people would think that way.
Well, the thing is, they don't want you to.
No,
they want
they
you.
don't.
They want you to see you and be triggered. They want you to
Yeah.
see me and be like, oh,
and
fuck
they'll
that
attack
guy.
you if you try to stay away. It's
Well-
like it's almost like a cult, you know.
Well, you want them to have that fervor. You want them to be ready to do that.
Yeah,
And
you
now-
don't want them. You don't want them straying. 'Cause
No.
then that's how you get like in communist Russia, man, or in
Oh.
communist China. Like, if you even said to your buddy,
Bro.
like, dude, I don't know, man, I'm fucking starving. Like, where's all the food? The government's taking all our food. Your buddy's gonna rat you out, and they're gonna throw your ass in prison
Yeah.
and kill you.
And that's the thing, man, is that, again, you're using the government to control the populace.
Yeah.
And that's what I think we've seen here, is that maybe not so much on the level that we see over there,
Yeah.
but the divide and conquer is what I mean. It's like, look.
Yeah. It's
I-
like it's in its infantile stage, which
Yeah.
worries me, though.
And,
I
and
get-
that
I
is
get
just,
worried.
well, that's what I'm talking about with the court cases. Like, it is up to me. If I believe in what this country was founded on,
Yeah.
and I believe that these systems were set in place for our benefit,
Yeah.
then I gotta work with the system that's given to me.
Yeah. I think it's the best system. It's not heaven, but it's good.
It's better than most.
It's good, yes.
It's better than
it's
most.
the best one that works, we can clearly see.
Now, and we can clearly see lately that on both sides that we can be rigged. And now the
Yes.
people are starting to see that.
Yes, and that was
that's
the best part about
important.
Trump.
Again,
Yeah.
information. And I
It's
can't
an
take that away
information
from
war,
them.
man.
Yes.
It's an information
And that's
war.
what we want, is we want dialogue.
Yeah.
We want to know, hey, if I found out that all this stuff that I thought was wrong and it was right here and we both saw it from the same source that we
Yeah.
agreed on,
Yeah.
I'd be on your team. You'd be on my
Right.
team the same way. That's what they don't want.
No. Well, I mean, look at what they're doing with Facebook and Google and Alphabet
Now
and
those
Twitter.
now Facebook and Google and all that stuff, to me, because they're private entities.
You sound like CNN
No,
again.
listen, no, because it's private entities, it's a blurred line, and that's where I feel like the government either needs to step in and decide, yes, we're doing this, and no, we're not, because like even games, video games,
Yeah.
when they were gonna get, hey, the government's coming down on us, you know what they did?
What?
They started their own rating system within their own companies.
That's right, with the rating system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they were like, hey, the government's gonna come in, they're gonna start rating our games, they're gonna
But-
start taking away from us, so
Yeah.
let's do it ourselves.
But here the thing is, did you hear this happened like a week ago where Jen Psaki, you know who that is?
No, I
She's the
didn't.
press secretary for Joe Biden.
Uh-huh.
She's like, the press asks her questions and she
Yeah,
tells
yeah.
right. She said, and I think it was a slip because she admitted something very big. She said, "We're working with Facebook to weed out any disinformation and all."
No,
and we're
she
like,
said
"Oh,
that.
bitch."
No, she did say that.
Oh,
She did
bitch,
that.
you just said that you're colluding with freaking... That's literally a conspiracy. You know what
Well,
I mean?
yes.
They're conspiring behind our backs to weed out what they think is disinformation, which basically means anything they feel like.
Yes, and that's where I feel it gets
And so
scary.
that's when people started- yes.
That's when it gets scary
Yeah.
because now they've set a precedent, and
Yes.
even before, like, hey, you can't censor us.
Yeah.
And again, it's a private company; they can do what they want. Now, the government stepping in, to me, is
Right.
both good and bad. It's good because now we have the rules established. Here's what we got.
Yeah, now they should say, okay, since we're involved, but
But
who,
having that laxed hand
who
now,
gets to pick, though? Who
that's-
decides?
That's where the system should
That's-
work.
that's
and
why I
we should
think-
get into
yeah.
court and start doing this.
Well, I think it should be a free-for-all.
Yes, but we're not going to see that. You know why? Because it's now a tool that the government can kind of, hey, well, I'm not really touching it, but
Yeah.
it's definitely skewed
Yeah.
towards, because the Republicans can come in and do the exact same thing. Hey,
Yeah, they-
we don't like this.
Yeah, and they don't care.
And now we're getting that again, that so much information blurred that
Yeah.
we don't even know.
Right.
Okay, what is the truth?
Yeah.
Maybe they're both lying to us.
Yeah, because remember when Joe Biden's son's laptop came out? Did you ever hear about that?
I did see that.
What do you think about that?
Man, there was so many like.
You didn't know what to think, right? 'Cause
There
you
was
were
so
getting hit
much
from everything, right?
There was just so, and that's what they want. Like again, There's
but the
so
truth,
much.
there's a truth though.
There-
There's a lie, and then there's a truth.
Well,
And
all exaggerations start with a basic truth.
yes,
And
but
so-
there are also hard facts.
Yes.
Okay, hard fact: the guy had documents proving that Hunter Biden left the laptop at his place. That's a hard fact. It's not disputed even in the liberal
Yeah.
media. Hard fact: pictures came off of that video, off of the laptop that I've seen of Hunter Biden buck naked in front of his niece, his 12-year-old niece.
Yeah.
I saw the picture. His dick was blurred out, but I saw it.
Yeah.
And it pissed me off. Hard fact. They shut down every single company that tried to put that story out. They colluded. CNN, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Every single fucking company, social media company, blocked that story. Even though it was 100% true, they had all the evidence. They could not dispute it, and they blocked it all right before the election. That would have changed votes. But since they block it, no one sees it.
But it still came out because you saw it, right?
I saw
And
it.
I remember the story.
But
so
if you watch
it was,
CNN,
it was still out there though, and that's
but
the
they
thing.
blocked it though.
But they were still out there because you saw
You
it.
had
I
to
saw
dig.
it. I saw
Have
the
you seen the
story.
picture?
I haven't seen the picture, but I
I
saw
know.
the story.
Yeah.
And I followed up on it.
Yeah.
So to me, to say that it wasn't blasted out, like yes, it wasn't on CNN, and yeah, and you're right.
It
Because
wasn't on Facebook.
it's not going to really rock with what they're doing.
But the guys, there's a lot of tech guys that were saying, look, you don't realize how much power these companies have.
Oh, they have a
If
ton.
they block one story, there's billions of people on Facebook.
Well,
billions.
The thing is, even now, we allow them to hey, you like this video, you watch this video for
Oh,
30
yeah.
seconds,
It's the algorithm.
and they're gearing towards you. Now, this is
Yeah.
the biggest propaganda tool, period,
Oh, for sure.
for both sides, because you started
Yeah.
seeing when they started getting more Trump supporters on their side that they were like, oh, we're going to block this information, we're going to shut down this
Yeah.
this stuff, and that to me was wrong.
For sure. Of course
Because
it's wrong.
if you're gonna have an entity that's allowing you to speak freely, and then you're gonna shut down one person because of what they're saying, and there's no established rules,
Yeah.
then like that's fucked.
They make the rules.
Yeah, well they're making them now.
Dude, one of my YouTube videos got banned off of YouTube.
Yeah,
Straight up.
yeah, because of probably what you were saying, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's what scares me, because now there's no real precedent for the media like this, like on the
Right,
line.
yeah.
So now,
And if you think about it, it's new.
well,
It happened in our
it's
lifetime.
the same idea as the music stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, we kind of have this blurred line, so
Right.
let's see how far we can push it until we
Until-
start going,
yeah.
hey, bro, this isn't right.
Yeah.
Time out.
Yeah.
And the thing is, right now, especially with Facebook, nobody wants to say, hey, the thing I got on my phone, I got all my friends in there. Maybe it is a little biased.
Oh, for sure.
Like, you don't want to do that
Yeah.
because you're on it how long a day, you
Yeah.
know? And that's, again, you're not really...
You're disconnected from it. You're not.
Yeah.
You don't think it affects you because you don't know what's really going on.
Oh, bro,
you
and
know?
you're it's one of those things. Well, let me see. Hey, who no, okay, let me check this, and you're constantly seeing it. And if
Yeah.
it's on an algorithm, oh, well, we saw this. We're gonna show this to you.
Yeah.
We're gonna show.
Oh,
this
for
to
sure.
you.
And that's what's scary though, because they have a technocracy. It's a technocracy and an oligopoly. It's like 10 companies
you.
working together to snuff out any dissent into hardcore liberal
Well-
ideas.
Well, it's not even that. It's on.
No, that's literally what it is. Because you got to remember, Alphabet is the biggest company. I think Alphabet owns Google, and Google owns YouTube. Okay, so those companies, Google owns the biggest search engine in the entire
Yeah,
world,
in the world.
right?
Yeah, they're even making stuff
Okay.
that thinks for itself.
Yes. So look, so you can try this. There's also a search engine called DuckDuckGo. Okay, that's what I use when I want to try to actually find something.
Yeah.
Because all they have to do, let's say I type in child pedophilia in the Democratic Party.
Hey.
That bitch is on page 300.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
and
why
then
the
you know what's at the
filters work.
very fucking top line? Snopes. The story of Hunter Biden's laptop, false.
And
That's
again,
what they put at the front, even though you didn't search that
and
shit.
again, that's
They
where
control
that's
the
where
information.
that's where they put out more information, because again, you like you said, it's on page 300. You
Yes.
get to page 3, you're like, oh well, this says
Yeah.
this says this.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
must be that.
Yeah. Oh,
you don't dig. And
Yes.
that's the problem. And that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying is the major problem. Like, I don't think
Yeah.
it's a Republican thing or a Democrat thing. I think it's
No,
a government
Democrat.
thing. I think it's to me,
Well,
it's,
it's the people like Mark Zuckerberg.
well,
The people that run those big companies have political agendas.
yeah, totally.
do.
Because they're,
For sure. They're
in-
humans.
Again, and that's what I say. To me, I don't think it's either one side. I think whoever's in power is going to utilize the tools that they have. Now, that being said, obviously there's allegiance that have been
But okay,
established
look
for a
at
while.
Parler. Remember, you know who Parler is?
Yeah, totally.
Parler, they started to blow up big time because
Mhm.
Trump was thinking about going to Parler, and everyone was like saying, "Hey, man, we need to switch to Parler because Parler is not banning
Yeah, it's
everybody.
allowing
Who
you to
gives a
do this,
shit?
yeah.
You just want to say something like, whatever." The Parler's doing it. They started blowing up. What did iTunes do? They literally took Parler off of the iTunes store. All they did was make one phone call and say, "Hey, man, these guys are catching up.
But
Shut it down."
But
Boom, shut it
but
down.
the hard part again is this: they're a private company. If
But
they
they're
just
too big, dude.
yes, they are hugely too big. But we
They're
allowed them to get
snuffing
there.
out.
We allowed
did.
them to get there.
And we're still doing it because we still got.
So,
if
what I'm-
everyone deleted Facebook today, they'd run out of money.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that they want us to be divided. Like those companies want us to have
Yeah.
this because doesn't matter if it's the Democrat or Republican. To them, they're still going to get, hey, here's this. So they're going to go with whatever goes.
But that's like, but again, it's politically motivated.
Oh, totally. It's
You know what I mean?
100% because they want you to do in their best interest, not in your best interest. And that's the hard part to grasp for a lot of people is that, look, I'm not saying that iTunes, what they did was right or wrong, but it's their decision. But if we want to change that, we need to go in there and say, hey, well, here's what I think is wrong. Here's what we need to change. We should be able to tell them, hey, look,
Yeah.
if you're going to censor people, here's
But-
the guidelines for it.
But you almost can't because they have a stronghold on
Oh,
everything.
well, you can't because
remember
it's,
because I was naming Facebook.
well, you
they work
can't
together.
because they're all in cahoots like that.
Yes, they are.
And that's the
cahoots.
thing. It's designed for us to have, hey, well, here's what we should do. But if we divide us as a people, it's like, oh, well, you're never going to get that done because this half is always going to either overpower this half.
Yeah.
But together, we need to realize, like, hey, look at this. This is wrong.
It's like this. All the Democrats and all the nerds and shit that were liberals, they're smart as fuck. They created all these companies, all these tech companies, right? And then any company that tries to poke its little head up,
Pump
boom,
it out. Yeah, monopolies are.
they buy them out
Well, dude.
instantly. And so Parler started poking their little head out, boom, smash them. They never recovered.
Because that's what you do in this idea of what we have as a government. And dude,
Yeah.
it's funny we have all these laws against monopolies, right?
Yeah.
But like Fender owns Fender, Jackson, Gretsch, Charvel.
They do?
Yeah, they own all these companies, right? They
I
keep
didn't know
the
they
same.
owned Jackson.
Yeah, they keep all the same names, right? They were smart. So what they did is
That
they go,
is
look,
smart.
Charvels in the 80s and 90s, they made what they called the Superstrat. Fender sued them. What they were doing is taking Charvel bodies,
Yeah.
putting on the necks.
Put in their head.
Yeah,
socks
and people would get all pissed off. Like, they'd sue them.
yeah.
They acquired the company. What do you think the first things they did was?
Put out that guitar.
And jumped up the price $300 or $400, bro.
Son of a bitch.
And that's
what they
to
do.
me, I'm looking at it like they're buying up all these companies. Like, this should be illegal.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
And
because of
that's
loopholes.
capitalism run wild.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the downfall. I
Well-
mean, I'm saying yes, there are problems with capitalism. It is the best system. Communism's not even close in there. We shouldn't even touch that shit because
Yeah.
we know it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But capitalism is a flawed system because it's run by humans, just like
Exactly. And that's
Yeah.
that's like what people have a hard time with. Well, it's easy to say, well, capitalism is the culprit. Well, yeah, maybe. But
Yeah.
the people
But
in
it's
the
the best we
system,
got.
yeah,
Yeah.
are what's making it messed up. Now, are
Yeah.
there loopholes for people? Of course.
Yeah, for
Do
sure.
we not like it? Then let's vote it out. That's where I come
Yeah.
in, where I'm about America for Americans. And that sounds
Yeah.
like I'm running for office or something. But it should be for us to decide, hey, look, maybe I don't agree 100% with you, but if we agree that that this is wrong,
Yeah.
then we need to come together and get it out. To me,
Yeah.
I think for me, that the fact that there's no limit on any of those politicians' tenure
Yeah.
needs to stop.
Right.
And there's also people that will say, well, no, this is good. I mean, if we
I don't
decide,
think so.
no, I don't think so either. But if we get together and say, well, no, here's what we need to do,
Yeah.
I think that's the best way.
What if they rig the vote though?
See, and that's, again, people. We're anything big,
We're
dumb
fucked
people.
all the way around.
Oh, bro, and that's what court cases are. And the thing
Yeah.
is, it's you. That's why we have to have
Yeah.
all the information, all the
Yeah,
documents.
for sure.
But
Because then we could literally go against those people.
Well-
but since there's all these people that don't really understand what's going on, they're easily manipulated.
Easily.
And everybody knew what was really going on.
Dude,
Shit would not be the same.
Jonestown. Like, straight up.
Yeah.
Like, if everybody knew what was really going on.
Yeah.
Like, and that's
Yeah.
the mentality. Like I said, like, I'm not saying it's on either side. I think it's on
Yeah.
both, personally. I think that there's weak-minded people on both sides, and those
Yeah.
are who they're attacking.
Yeah.
Because the people who are level-headed and redo the research and do the talking,
Yeah.
most often than not, they're not the same people who are out there going like, well, here's what I'm going to do, and I'm
Yeah.
going to take this upon myself to do that. Because they've thought about it and go, hey, well, here's what. Now, again, perfect world. But
Yeah. All right, man. I'm gonna move on.
Go for
that
it.
one was good. We went along.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna bring up another subject.
go for it.
Vaccines.
Oh, man, that's a tough one.
What do you think, man?
Man, it's...
Want another beer?
Yeah, man, I'll take one.
Dude, I got banned off of YouTube, man.
Really?
Yes, I talked to a guy. Dude, this dude blew my freaking mind. Man, he's like hold on, let me go get a beer.
Thank you.
You gotta,
No, I thought...
I thought I had it. Oh yeah, it's over here.
Man, that's crazy, dude. Yeah, and that stuff to me, like, I feel like if somebody on one side can do it, somebody on the other side should be able to. Like, you'll like, just like you're saying, you got banned from YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, that shit's, like, it bothers me, man.
Dude,
Like,
and you know what freaks me out? I was like, it was interesting that they banned me because I was like, okay, so this is where the line is.
Yeah.
I want to see what they banned me on. So the video was about two things. Strictly two things, what we talked about. And this is why I really think it was. It was, okay, there's this thing called the Falun Gong. It's a group of people in China, millions of people. And this is a 100% irrefutable fact. You can look it up.
Yeah.
It's documented. It's not a conspiracy, all that bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Falun Gong, millions of people in China, right? Because there's 3 billion people in China. There's 300 million people in America. That just gives you people don't even realize that. There's 3 billion people in China.
Yeah, no,
Okay?
totally.
That's a shitload of
No,
people.
especially in the small area, yeah.
Okay, so what they were doing was they didn't really have a lot of healthcare, so they were doing yoga and like all these different breathing exercises and like stuff, and they were getting real healthy. And so the government started to get pissed off because they were like getting together, and this is like a crude explanation of the
Yeah, I
Falun
got
Gong,
you.
but you can do more research.
Yeah.
into it. So anyways, the government cracked down on them, and they started to harvest all their organs because they were really healthy.
Yeah.
So they were literally just kidnapping people, cutting them open, taking their organs, and selling to the highest bidder.
Mm.
There's no wait lines in China, man.
Nah,
If
fuck
you
no.
got money, you know how in America you gotta wait?
No,
for
no,
organs?
yeah, no,
There
totally.
ain't no freaking wait lines in China.
Yeah,
you
no.
want a kidney?
And you
How
got a
much
lot of
money
people.
man?
You got a lot of
Boom.
people per capita, yeah.
And there's plenty of people came out and said, yep, they fucking kidnapped my dad, they killed him, they took his kidneys out, and all that shit.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about. And the guy that I was interviewing was literally on the border of China. Like, he's not bullshitting. Like, he was...
I think I heard that.
Did
You had
you
it.
hear
Yeah, I
that?
heard that podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I did. I listened to that one.
That
Yeah,
one-
that one was
that-
actually really good.
That one blew my mind, dude. Like,
Yeah.
that was for real.
Well,
He's
see,
over
even
there.
like stuff like that, where I was like, dude, that's just entertaining and fucking
Yeah,
informative.
It's real.
Yeah.
And that's important. And people don't give a shit about stuff like that.
Well,
you
and
know?
see, and that's what I was getting at with the scary part. Like, I think to me, it's this: since we have so much tenured government, they know how the game works, and they do buy these businesses, and the businesses don't
Yeah.
have our best interest in. Like
They just care about money, dude.
Dude,
Power.
yeah, and
it.
that's the bad part about capitalism.
I know.
And it's not a bad thing. It's just
Yeah, it's just rampant.
that's what happens when they let it go.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what they banned me on, man.
Man, that's nuts.
That's crazy, right?
That is nuts.
Freaking crazy. Can't believe that. I got pissed. I'm like, damn, we can't talk about China, I guess. I guess we know who runs fucking YouTube. Oh yeah, the vaccines. So, did you get the COVID shot?
I did.
Oh fuck.
I did, and you know what? And for what the reasons I did, and honestly, it comes down to me. I think you should be. Every person should decide for themselves. If you don't want to take it, don't take it.
Yeah.
I don't think that anybody should be forced to take it.
Yeah.
I had some personal experiences with stuff that when I took it is because my wife needed to take it, and I was like, well, I'm gonna do it with you because that way if something happens.
Did she get forced to take it?
Not forced to take it, but it was one of those
kind of forced.
Yeah, it was one of those situations
like a soft.
Yeah, and it kind of made me feel like, bro, like it's messed
bullshit.
up.
Yeah.
And it is BS. And if she was gonna do it, I was like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna do it with you.
Right. I understand that.
Yeah, and up until that point, I'm with everybody else. Look, vaccines or anything are tested first. There was not a long enough test period at all. There was no test period.
Typical vaccines are tested for 10 years.
Yes. And maybe we can go with the idea of, hey, it was a pandemic. Here's where we're at. I get that. They inoculated our parents with, the little mark they had.
Yeah.
And I get that.
Yeah.
Okay. But at the same time, it's a slippery slope. What we're seeing.
We're seeing it.
Yeah, on what you want to believe.
It's increments.
And that's what we're going to. Now it goes again to beliefs. And that's the whole thing that I've seen in the past few years is like, look, if you believe that it's not going to do anything, then cool, that's what you want to think. And for the vaccine, man, I think it's up to every individual personally to decide on their own.
I wish other people thought that because people are getting attacked. Joe Biden said that I'm murdering people because I didn't get the vaccine. He straight up said that shit, dude.
I heard him the other day say, if you didn't take the vaccine, you're not as smart as I thought. And I was like, well, one, as a president, you shouldn't tell any citizen that. Like, I mean, if you think that, cool. I mean, is he right or wrong? I'm not the one to judge that. Like, I don't know what that person's going through. And that's the thing. For me, I had something personal to me where somebody that I know, them and their family didn't take the vaccine. They were adamant about it. I'm like, cool, that's your decision.
Right.
They got into a situation where one of them ended up in the hospital.
From COVID?
Yeah, from COVID. They got on the ventilator, and the people that were all right from it, as soon as they got better, got the vaccine. I think that's...
Did he die off the ventilator?
No.
Oh, surprise. Good.
No, yeah. So the thing is...
that ventilator will kill your ass.
See, and that's the thing is that with some people, you see that, and that scares the shit out of them. I'm not going to go into that.
Right.
And for me, yeah, I'm not going to lie. When they stuck me in the arm, I was sitting there going like, fuck, bro.
Right.
I'm committed now.
You were doing this.
Yeah, like
it's
definitely a dice roll. And I mean, but that's with anything, man. Because we're in a situation that a lot of people in their lifetime have never been in.
Yeah,
and that scares a lot of people.
That's the problem, though.
And,
fear. That's the ultimate tool, dude.
And again, and that's where you get into where, like I said, they're using beliefs. Because if you got a scared populace.
Yeah.
And
protect me, government. Protect me.
Half of them are scientific and don't believe in like a God or anything, right?
Yeah.
Because I even heard some people tell me straight up, look, if God has a plan for me, then I'm not going to get this. And for me, that's a very bold statement. I'm like, you believe so full-heartedly that you're going to go,
you'll die
no matter what. Yeah. And I'm not saying that COVID isn't real, because I've seen it, and from what I've seen firsthand, luckily everybody that I know has been good, but I've had some friends die.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been from complications that they already had, that maybe it was exacerbated by this.
Most likely.
I don't know. And that's the thing. I wasn't there with the doctor. I didn't see the reports.
Yeah.
So what I got to go with is, hey, they got sick. This was there. Would the vaccine have helped them? I don't know. The thing is, what you feel is good for you in this situation is where you should go. And if you don't want to get it, dude, I'm not going to judge you either way.
You couldn't vaccinate me. I'm trying to think. I try to think of a scenario what they would have to do to
No,
me.
yeah, and the thing is that I think that forcing the vaccination
Yeah.
is wrong.
That's where you draw the line.
Well, I
That's like where people are gonna start militias. And
Well,
shit,
well, that's a step away from okay. Well, now we're gonna make you do this,
right.
And now we're gonna
Exactly.
make you do this,
Yes.
And
you're
now
right.
you're gonna do this.
You're right.
Because
They're gonna say, okay, you're right, 100%. Oh, we got you. Look, guys, guess what? We just forced all these fools to get vaccinated. What else can we force them to do?
and that's basically to me the American way. Like we've got them to do this.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we can get them to do. Like,
Yeah.
and there's nothing wrong with not taking the vaccine if you feel that that's hey, that's what you want to do. In my eyes,
Yeah.
a lot of people, like you said, don't think that. There's gonna always be that strong belief on the opposite end of like, hey, bro, do it for this person. Another reason I got vaccinated was because my brother does have a compromised immune system.
Yeah.
And for me, when I decided with my wife, hey, here's what I'm gonna do, it was also like, hey, well, if there's for me even a 1% chance that I could take him a little bit safer, I'm gonna try it. And is it the right thing to do? Probably not, because dude, I'm put something in my arm that I have
You have
no idea.
No idea what the
no
fuck that
idea
is.
what it. I don't even know if it's gonna help. And what I'm seeing right now,
Yep. What are they saying?
yeah, hey, mask
Super
up
spreaders. Mask up
yeah,
again.
and the
Super
thing
spread-
is, like, and I also see stuff like out of Kingsville where, they put out a thing in Kingsville where in Clayburgh County, 100% of the patients were not vaccinated. How true that is, I don't know. I got to research that
Yeah,
up.
How true is it?
And like, it's like, okay, well, where do I get these numbers
How
from?
many numbers? When they say 100%.
Exactly.
Oh, there
Well,
was 5.
How many?
100%
Exactly.
of 5.
And then you get back into those
Yeah.
headlines where it's
Yeah.
like, you want these
Right.
people to be scared.
Of
Either of
course.
taking it or of not taking it.
Yes.
And you know what? Like I said, I mean, I don't know what you've gone through. You don't know what I've gone through. And
Yeah.
it'd be wrong of me to be like, bro, because
Yeah.
I think you should get
Right,
this.
right.
You need to get this. Like,
Yeah,
dude,
that's like
you know-
half of the population, right?
Yeah, and that's what, and that's to me, that's their prerogative. Is to make it right? Hell no.
Yeah.
But again, this is the society that we live in, and
I think that we're going into a new world order. I think they're trying to depopulate the planet. I think that they're trying to create a one world government. George Bush said it. George Bush Sr., Klaus Schwab, the Davos Group, all these massive companies in the world, they're saying we want a new world order. They're saying we need a one world government. They're saying that they're going to use, I mean, they're already rolling out. They called me a conspiracy theorist 6 months ago because I said that they were going to force us to take the vaccine.
yeah.
And now, and they're going to do passports. Now, look where we're at.
Well, I mean, it really depends on where you're going. Like with this stuff, man, it's tough. Like we're in these times where.
But are these times real, or are they making up the whole
That's
thing?
what I'm saying. It's tough because now you don't know with the window that we have to the world.
Yeah.
It's easy to go like, oh well, I don't like that. Let me go over there,
Yeah.
and you can cater to you.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
that's the worst thing. Like when I do like sales and guitars, right? I want to show you. Here's a guitar I think you'd like, and here's another one. I don't want to show you 5 because if I show you 5,
Uh-huh.
you're not going to want to buy anything. You're going to go, well,
That's too many choices.
Too many choices. You got too much information. Now
Yeah.
you're trying to, well, I'm just going to get out of here.
Right.
And
Yeah.
same idea. It's the same
Yeah.
idea. Like, oh, you don't like Facebook? Go to MySpace. Oh, you don't like MySpace? Go to
Yeah.
Instagram. You
Yeah.
don't like Instagram? Go to Parlor. You don't like Parlor?
Right.
Go here.
Yeah.
You're going to find
They
the
don't
one
know
that
what to do.
matches with you.
Right.
Just like Tinder.
Yeah, because I know some days, like when I get off of work, I'm like, okay, I got to do this, I got to do that, I can do this, I can do that. And I got so many different choices, I say, fuck it, I'm not doing nothing.
Yeah. That's the idea of a lot of this stuff, man. Like, so for me, it turns into like, how are they trying? Like, and I always laugh. When
Will you turn against them if they force us to get the
Oh,
vaccine?
I mean, anything that's impeding someone's natural choice, to me.
So that means you're going to vote for Trump next time.
Like I said,
To fight for your freedom.
there were some things that I didn't like about him. I don't know if I would vote for him personally.
Yeah.
But compared to what
Would
we
your
have
mom
now.
talk shit to you if you voted for Trump?
Nah, man.
No? Okay.
No, see, and that's the thing. Like, you gotta understand that my parents,
Yeah.
like, they've allowed us to make our own choices. Nobody ever forced me into like my beliefs.
Right. Okay,
Even with
that's
religion,
good.
it
Yeah.
wasn't like, hey, you gotta go to church. It's like we're
Right.
going to church. You take what you want. And when I decided I didn't want to go anymore, I
Uh-huh.
didn't go.
Right.
And the reason I didn't go is because I never felt inspired anymore. Like I would go and for me, I observe a lot.
Yeah.
So when I saw how my parents got into politics and I didn't like that idea of politics,
Yeah.
I just decided I'm not going to do that.
Right.
When I saw the politics in teaching, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like when I saw different things,
Starts to get greasy.
yeah, and I decided like I just don't want that in my life.
Yeah.
And you just start choosing what's gonna work. And now that's maybe not a great way to go through life sometimes, but like at the end of the day, man, you got to be informed of what's going on around you.
Yeah.
Because you need to know like, hey, do these people have my best interest in, and as a whole, as like a group of people, you know, is it this and this and go on a larger scale? And for me, having Trump as a president helped out a lot of my family and friends that were in the oil industry and the businesses. Dude, even where I worked at Guitar Center,
a lot of money.
it allowed me to have a job during the pandemic with the PPE. Like that was something that was in that administration. And there's some stuff that he did that I agreed with, and I'm not gonna lie. I sat there and was like, okay, that was all right, man. There was some really good policies that he passed too.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of stuff like yourself where like when I heard him talk, and I'm like, man, well maybe I don't necessarily agree with the way you're saying it, but I agree with that.
But the sentiment of
I can't stand behind the wording. And sometimes it's a semantic thing.
Yeah.
And that's where my belief system kicks in like yours does. And there was times where like, dude, I wanted him to come out and just be like, bro, okay, you changed my mind. And then he would talk and I'm like, well, I can't 100% get behind that, bro. Like, not that he was wrong on some, like there was some stuff that I do think he was wrong on.
Yeah.
But there's some stuff that I was like, well, if you worded that different, it may have.
More people probably would have liked it better.
I mean, dude, the thing is, truth be told, the dude brought out the highest voting ever.
I mean, he was like your favorite band. Like you go see your favorite band, you wanted to play the hits, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he had to come out and be like, yeah, hey, fuck him, or you know, or whatever crazy stuff he would say, you know. And like his rallies were like a stand up, man. He would like riff for like 2 hours, you know, and just try to make people laugh.
And a lot of parts, you know, like that's what you see on TV. Like to me, like there was some stuff, and to me, it all came down to rhetoric, man. What he was saying and how he was saying it, because, again, you're in any political format. Yeah. You're playing to a crowd. Yes. And you want that crowd to fervently follow you. Not as much as we saw in the past 2 years. Yeah. But you want that backing. You want them to feel inspired. Yeah. And dude, he inspired a lot of people. A shit ton of people.
Whether they inspired to hate him with the
on
freaking
both
passion.
Sides. Yeah, and that's the thing is like I can look at it for what it is. I can also dislike what he did, but I can also praise him for what he did do. Right. That I think, hey, that's not bad.
I think that if the world or the world actually did back him, a lot of other countries were flying American flags and saying, Trump, like we love Trump or whatever. But I mean, it's like that meme. It's like, we're bombing the Middle East again, and there's the borders being overrun, but at least we don't have bad tweets. You know what I mean? Like, we need to like say, hey, he's kind of an asshole, but maybe we need an asshole. You know what I mean?
I think we got what we voted for, like as a country. Yeah, like, hey, and there's nothing wrong. Like what I loved was that not my president thing. Like, no, brother, he's the president. And if you respect the system, then you gotta say, hey, man, well, look, we lost. Okay, what do we do? You can complain all day, but what are you doing for change? And that's what I tell people all the time. Like, cool, you don't like him. What are you doing? Right. You're not doing anything. Then just you're complaining. Yeah. Dude. Like, unless you're trying to make a positive change, like, you know, you can't really go out there and just.
Are you gonna vote for Joe Biden again?
Oh man, no. Oh no. And I'll be honest with you. Even with this, like. It was very tough because even voting for Joe Biden was like, bro, out of all the people, this is where we're at.
I know.
This is where we're at.
And they picked him because, for one reason, well, for a couple of reasons, but they knew that the mediocre, what do you call them, like liberals that were like in the middle kind of
those
like
halfy, like, hey, I'm not,
they're not
maybe
they're not like hardcore. They'll get them. And they'll get the old people, but the young people didn't want him. They wanted Bernie Sanders or, you know, those people. They
Yeah,
wanted
man.
socialism, communism, but they're like, well, we can't go that far. So they picked that old ass man, and the dude's the oldest president in history. He's fucking senile. He's eating boogers off his chin on live TV. Did you see that?
No, I hadn't seen that
You didn't
one.
see that one?
Oh, no.
Oh, that one just came out.
I gotta check it out.
He was talking. He was. I think it was a booger. It was like a thing on his chin.
Well, and
it
see,
was funny.
and the thing is this, look, I voted for him, but
Yeah.
even then I can look for like stuff like that and just be
Yeah.
like, oh my God,
Dude,
this guy, what the fuck?
he can't even talk, bro.
Oh, well, oh no,
He cannot talk.
I always laugh when he gets like, he's going,
Uh-huh.
and then
And
you're
he
like,
just-
hey, I like,
it's
for me,
gone.
I'm like, take him out, coach, take him out. Like, you obviously see that he needs to be pulled out of the game.
Yes.
And
he
well-
can't talk, dude.
Well, the other part is like, straight up, I voted for the guy, and how long did it take for us to see him on TV?
I know. He was
like-
hiding. Dude, yeah. And not only that.
even I got mad at that. Like,
Right.
bro, where are you at?
And remember, they were like, you're supposed to do an address. So, they're like, oh, he's not going to do it. He doesn't have to.
Yeah,
and the
no.
media covers for him.
Yeah, and like like I said, who voted for
Yeah.
the man was like, what the fuck? Like, and that's where it gets to me where, now you got to understand, the other part is we live in Texas, man. It's a huge
Yeah.
conservative state.
Yes.
So obviously, growing up, I picked up some conservative values.
Yeah.
Because that's where we live. There's
Yeah.
some things that my experience molded me into.
Yeah.
But that's not saying that I don't 100% disagree with some of the stuff. I mean, dude, there's stuff that I've, agree with.
Uh-huh.
It's just finding those ideas of like, hey, man, I understand that, like it's like I said, getting back to this vaccine, I understand that there's a pandemic going on and there's this stuff, but you can't force a populace to
That's
do that.
crossing the line.
That's where the government, to me, and it's not left or right. It's the government as a whole, because they obviously both agree. Because
Yeah,
if
even
they
the
do it, they're
Democrat- even the
both going to
Republicans
vote
are
on
saying
it.
yes.
Yeah, and that's the hard part, is that we're starting to see our vote matters, because we can vote these people out, we can
Yeah.
vote new people in,
Yeah.
and it is rallying those people, because that to me is the heart of the American idea.
Right.
As a people, we the people
Mhm.
come together, and that's the separation, is that we rely on the government a lot
Big
as a
time.
people. Not,
Yeah.
and it shouldn't be that way. It should
No.
be the government relies on the
Yeah,
people.
We're the ones.
And we do, and everybody's done it,
Yeah.
Republicans and Democrats throughout the years. We slowly chip at our what we're doing,
Uh-huh.
and now we've gotten to this, where it's, to me, even both sides, you have these extreme sides where it's like, bro, like, all we're seeing is the extremes now. They're not
Yeah.
showing these, hey, well, here's a
Right.
civil talk.
Yeah.
They want you to feel like it's against me and you.
For sure. They want it to be polar opposites, man.
Totally.
Like I just read an article. It said Matt Damon, he's doing a role for, like, playing like a redneck, like in Texas or something.
Yeah.
And so he was hanging out with like a bunch of like down south, oil field guys,
Yeah.
roughnecks and shit. He's like, I thought Hollywood was telling me that these people were all racist, bigot, hateful,
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, man, these are cool dudes. They work in the oil field, and they're just regular guys that want to support their family,
Yeah.
and that's what he was saying.
And that's what it is, man. Like, look,
But even to him, like, he was in the hive mind. He was in freaking Hollywood, where it's a group thing. And then I saw another article saying, he's being unlovable to people that are unlovable or something. I'm like, dude.
what's
what
even
the
like Biden,
fuck?
man? Biden literally said, no fracking. I'm like,
Yeah.
we're gonna get rid of it.
Yeah.
And then what happens? We open up a little bit with the oil stuff, right? Because he understands, hey, look, that got me elected,
Yeah.
but this is the population that I need to hit. And it was definitely, to me, a ploy, because he literally
Yeah.
said it, and then he went back and said,
He
well,
kept flip-flopping.
yeah, and I can't do this.
Yeah.
And what we have is, like, especially for where I grew up, like my friends in
I'm
the
in
oil
fracking business,
yeah,
dude.
that it helps out, and there's
Hell yeah, it
nothing
does.
wrong with voting that way, because that's what happens, and that's what I think what happens in most people. They vote a certain way because of life experience and what's going on.
Yeah, around
and then,
them.
Yeah, and then the other people are voting because of heritage. Like, well, my parents voted like this, my
Yeah.
grandparents voted like, so I'm automatically vote. It's going into finding out for yourself that
Yeah.
people really don't want to do, man.
I know, man. They don't. They just want to go, okay, what's this headline say? Okay, what's this headline say? All right, I'm out.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of the internet, is that they make it so easy
I
for you
know.
to get discouraged.
Yeah.
Is that they'll put
They still are loose, dude. They want us to be pissed off all the time.
well, it's like even the declassified information. When did they do it? When did they declassify it?
I don't know.
At midnight. Who's up at midnight just
Yeah.
waiting for the declassified stuff?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
But it's out there.
Very few.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's out there. Whenever they declassify documents, they do it late at night.
Oh, for sure.
Because
And they make it like 10,000 pages, so no one wants to
Exactly.
read it.
yeah, so that you have to shift through it. And, I've
Yeah.
looked through stuff where I've been there for hours, like, bro,
Right.
holy.
Yeah.
I mean, they just acknowledged UFOs.
Yeah, they're admitting it.
And
yeah.
nobody was like, holy shit, UFOs. Are like, can't believe this. They're trying to make us do vaccines. I was like, bro,
Yep.
they're literally admitting that there's
Yeah.
something out there.
know.
They don't
It's
care.
weird.
Like,
I know.
But
I mean, there has to be an alien that flies down and lands on the freaking ground and says, "Hey, here I am."
even then, dude.
You
hey,
think-
that was a TikTok video, bro. That was a filter. Like,
Oh, really?
and it's that disbelief. They want you
Yeah.
to have that suspended disbelief of like, man, like maybe that is the inkling of a doubt,
Yeah.
and you just, like I said, it all goes back to being, hey, here's what I believe, here's my moral compass, here's
Mhm.
where I'm at, and here's where I am. And there's, I mean, a bunch of people, like, I don't believe that, like, it's kind of hard to say, but like when you see a Christian
Uh-huh.
who's sitting there and they're judging someone, and then they
Yeah.
go out and do the bad stuff,
Yeah.
and they come in like, oh, well, I come into church
Right.
and then I'm absolved. Like, I don't think that's the way it works. But there's people who believe that no matter what I do out there, if I come in and just say I'm sorry,
yeah.
it's all resolved.
Yeah.
And that's hard, man.
I think the way it works is, well, it says repent, which means stop doing what you're doing, basically, for good.
Oh no, yeah.
You know what I mean?
and
Like,
really repent.
that's really
for it.
repenting.
And feeling
Yeah.
that what you did was wrong and asking for
Right.
forgiveness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because as a human, you say like, oh, like you shouldn't do this, and then they go out and do it.
Yeah.
Like that's stupid. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. In a Christian sense, I would say that they're not repenting, or they might not even be a full blown Christian, or they don't take it too serious. Or they're like, some people are relaxed about it. They're
Oh,
like,
yeah, totally.
oh, I can just get saved and I'm good for life,
Hey, right on my deathbed.
Yeah,
Bless
but
me.
but I think but the point of that is there's only one way, because, and it's kind of weird, but that is the only way, because you can't. It says in the Bible you can't get to heaven through works,
No.
because all of us are fallible, like you said.
Yeah.
It. We're all bad. We can't. No one's perfect. But you got to try to be like Christ. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
You got to try. We're not gonna. Everyone falls short of the gates of heaven, or everyone falls short of the glory of God.
Yeah.
No one's gonna be righteous. Nobody on this planet is righteous.
Yeah.
So to pretend like we all do bad things.
Yeah,
but we
but-
should at least try. Like
Yeah, but there's, like I said, I totally agree with you. But there's
Yeah.
a person out there who says, you know what, I'm going to go out there and do it anyways.
Yeah.
And to them, they're right.
Yeah.
Are they right to us? No.
Yeah.
But to me, in that context, and
Right.
this is that context only,
Right.
I believe that's up to God. Like,
Yeah,
hey,
for
I'm
sure.
going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to say what I can to them. If they don't
Yeah.
believe me, hey, I said my piece. I move on, and I
Yeah.
continue. I tried.
Mhm.
And that's up to that person to have that. And at the end of
Right.
the day, that's not my judgment.
Yeah, for sure.
And
man.
that's kind of the way I follow a lot of this other stuff too,
Mhm.
man. Like, look, I'm not gonna judge you, like, unless you're out there, really hurting people.
Mhm.
Like,
Oh yeah, for sure.
it's tough, man. And there are people who are out there just hurting people.
Yeah, the
And-
cartel's bringing in freaking little kids and
Bro.
selling them to freaking people and drinking their blood and sacrificing
Yeah,
them.
and there's
God
some
knows what
there's
the hell
some
they're doing.
messed up stuff there, man. Because
Yeah.
again, even with them, like, in their eyes, they're not doing any wrong.
Oh, they don't know.
No, and see,
Probably
that's
not.
that's the scary part about
Yeah.
that, is that, again, and not saying that we know where to draw the line.
Yeah.
But there's people who don't.
Mhm.
And to them, they will fight fervently for their beliefs. That's
Yeah.
why we see when anything, any extremist,
Mhm.
any extreme faction is always going to fight for what they believe, because to them, that's it.
They're right.
There's no
Mhm.
other person that can change their mind.
Yeah.
And just having discussions
And
with
that's
people.
scary too, because like, what
Super.
if your belief is I should be a pedophile, or it's totally cool to bring heroin over the
Super
border.
scary,
I'm
yeah.
I'm all right with that, you know.
Mhm.
I'm getting money. I'm trafficking these children. I don't give a shit. I don't. They're fucking me over. Why can't I do, you know?
Yeah, and you
And-
know what? A lot of those people are definitely messed up, man, for sure.
Yeah.
But to them, they're
It's-
not. And so
right,
it's
yeah.
finding those people and definitely getting rid of them, man.
Yeah.
And the hard part is that, like, I agree with you on that, man. Like,
Yeah.
we should definitely do that.
Yeah.
Find what this is, find the source, but at the same time, it's like there's other factions who are, well, you know, I benefit from this.
Oh hell yeah.
and
dude.
that's the part of human nature that is scary as fuck.
Dude, I've seen videos. I mean, they're leaving kids, little toddlers. They're just throwing them over the fence, and people are picking them up, and they're leaving them in the desert, and
Bro,
the kids
you-
are like, "What the hell?"
You see
know?
videos on YouTube all the time where people are in Walmarts, bro. Hey, let me try to take this kid and like just go and grab their hand like
Yeah.
nothing, man. There's
Yeah.
there's crazy people out there.
Yes.
And the hard part for us is that we look at it not rationally, but like, hey, here's a little bit more
It's
higher
real.
functioning.
Yes.
Yeah. And for them, there's always going to be, well, here's what I think. And there is, like, to me, mental health
Yeah.
is one of those things that goes unchecked a lot in our country. And
Yeah.
some of those people have the ability to vote and are easily
Oh,
manipulated.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, like, you see it in movies. I saw it growing up in small towns where they, hey, let's go get this group. Hey, you're going to vote this way.
Jonestown, bro.
Bro. I mean, even like, they were like, there's something going on here. When they got caught on, he was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
well, we should probably just get rid of everybody.
Yeah, I know.
It's scary.
Dude,
And that whole mentality, people just brainwashed.
Yeah,
man.
I know. I don't know. I have a hard time accepting the mental illness term. Like, I don't believe the science, man. I'm more of a spiritual, metaphysical guy. I think there's demons. Like, if you were to follow the Christian doctrine,
Yeah.
it says that the battles are not between flesh and blood. It's principalities and
Yeah.
spirits. So I look at that one verse, and I say, okay, there's something going on metaphysically that can get into your brain and tell you something. That voice in your head that everybody has, that consciousness, everyone has it, right?
Okay.
Everyone has that voice in your head. What is that voice? Who controls it? And who can manipulate that, and who can get into that? And so, you know, if someone could, like, because, you know, you could have a bad thought and you're like, oh, that's stupid, I would never do that. You know what I mean? That type of thing. What is that? To me, I think that's demons.
And that's totally your belief. Yeah.
Because
See,
I don't think science can prove that it's not.
no, and nothing
if it
can, and
could,
again,
then I
nothing
would-
can prove
yeah.
that. And that's, again, it goes to the belief system. Like, if that's what you believe, nothing I say is going to change that because that's your
No,
belief. Yeah.
you can't.
And that's fine. And that's
Yeah.
that for me. It's I accept that.
But that's
Like,
but that's my explanation of it, because
Yeah.
I'm just trying to grasp it.
Yeah,
my
and I accept
feeble
that
brain is like,
because
okay,
the real truth is we'll never really know.
right.
That's
we'll
the
know
real
the
truth.
second our lights go out.
Yeah, and when we do, hey, what if we both were to get, you know, we go at the same time we go, right?
Yeah.
And you were right. Well, then I'm
Yeah.
fucked.
Right.
But what if I was right? You're fucked. It doesn't
Well-
really matter at that point.
Well, if you're
Like,
right, then nothing happens.
you know what I'm saying? But at that point, it doesn't matter because, hey,
Yeah. Well,
you know,
well, it does matter.
we're in the
'Cause if
next
I'm right, you're
plane.
fucked.
yeah, we're in the next plane, you know? Or what if what I did, I didn't believe what you said, right?
Yeah.
And it was right, but I did all the right acts. And
that's
hey,
in the Bible also.
Yeah, so there's that idea, but
Yeah.
the truth is that we don't know, and that there's nothing wrong, in my eyes,
Mm-hmm.
with people who are like, well, let me just check out this dude. Not check out, like open it up and check out the brain. There are people that do that,
Yes,
lobotomize
for sure,
and
for sure,
stuff.
for sure.
But like,
Joe
let me,
Biden had his head taken off twice.
dang, I
You
didn't know that. I have to look it
He
up.
had a lobotomy. He said it.
Oh shit, man.
He said, yeah, I had a lobotomy 2 times. They literally took the top of my skull off, and they said, doctor, am I going to be able to be the same again? He goes, what do you mean the same? I swear to God. I swear to
I'll
God.
look into
I
that.
swear
man.
to God.
But like really, like to me, it gets into a point where, look, there's people throughout history who have had the same issues, and if it's able to be like, hey, well, look, this person does this, but the hard part is everybody's different,
Yeah.
and so to say that you're wrong to me is it's
Yeah.
wrong of me to say because
Right.
what if you are right?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's no way to quantify
Yeah.
even if what they're saying mentally. All I
Yeah.
know is that behavior can sometimes be taught.
Yes. Oh,
And
yeah.
if you're like, oh well, this person, okay, well, maybe there's something that goes on.
There's a
Well, let's
pattern,
see.
yeah.
Yeah, and finding the pattern. That's just like
Yeah.
any other
It's
animal.
like, okay, I know 1 + 1 is 2.
Yeah.
You know, something like that, you can show me, you can prove it to me. It's
Yeah.
something like that. Yes. Okay, I won't argue that.
Yeah.
But if you can tell me that, yeah, there's this little ball of mush in your head in here, and there's little things that are firing, and consciousness, they can't explain it. You know,
No.
they can't really, they cannot truly explain it to me. The smartest people on the planet can't.
Well-
So that's when I have to go, okay,
Yeah,
if
and
the smartest people in the world can't explain it to me, then I got to come up with my
what
own.
what works for you.
Right, what I think it is.
Yeah, and that's
you know?
what most people won't do.
Yeah.
Because most people will go like, well, if that's what I see on the page, that's what I'm gonna
That's what it
follow.
got to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
it said to take my son up to the mountain and kill him. Hey, bro, read the next page.
Yeah,
Like,
he
you
did-
know,
yeah.
keep on going, you
Yeah.
know, and that's the idea for me is that, yeah, like, especially in that context. Look,
Yeah.
for me to sit there and tell you, bro, you're wrong,
Yeah.
is wrong of me because now I'm saying, well, what I think is right.
Yeah,
And-
I'm right for sure. You
and
know what
there's
I mean?
no absolutes
And I'm not
here.
saying I'm right either. It
Yeah.
could be something a little in your
Yeah.
brain, but and also to another point, there's pharmaceutical companies that people that kill people and go crazy and shit. They pump those people full of drugs, man,
Oh, no, yeah, dude. Well, look,
massively.
I was diagnosed as a kid with ADHD.
Oh,
right?
Uh huh.
My parents never let anybody put anything in me,
Oh,
like
good.
Ritalin or anything. My mom was
good.
like, "Look, that's cool.
Good.
Here's this prescription." So I grew up with some.
Wait. They didn't give you any drugs?
They didn't give me
Oh,
any
good,
drugs. No,
good.
my parents were like, "You're a quack."
And look
blah,
at
blah,
you
blah.
now.
Yeah, and the thing was, I did learn that later on in life. Like I was institutionalized,
What do you
and
mean?
like I went into a hospital for behavioral stuff like that.
Okay.
I was a little suicidal when I was younger,
Okay.
and
Most teenagers are because
yeah,
they don't.
yeah,
they think
because
the world is over. 'cause
You don't
they-
know what's going on. So
Yeah,
what
it's
they
crazy.
did is that's when they try to show me like, hey, do this stuff. That's where I actually learned music. For
Uh-huh.
me, music's a way to cope with someone like my mind races all the time.
Right.
Like, I could talk myself out of not coming here all like I give you good reasons.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's part of me.
yeah.
Now does it say
Yeah, yeah.
necessarily be like do I think my brain's messed up? No.
No. Hell
I
no.
think that I'm fine.
Right.
Maybe
It's your
society
soul.
would look
It's
at
your
me
consciousness.
yeah, a little bit differently, but that's just to me the way I'm wired. I was lucky that my parents never gave me any
definitely.
drugs.
And
Very
that's why I
lucky.
think people should, oh man, I had it on the tip of my tongue. I think that's how people should be, man. Like, you shouldn't pump yourself full of drugs. Everyone is different, you know.
Yeah.
You should accept yourself and feel good about yourself. And I don't think we should pump these kids full of drugs just because a damn doctor says that he's got ADHD.
But you got to also understand that there's people out there who abuse this, right?
Oh, for sure.
So that go like this, and I've seen it firsthand from where I grew up. Oh, well, my son is depressed, so we should put him because
Prozac.
Well, not even that. Like, hey, well, he can't hold a job, so he's mentally unstable, so I need to get a check for him.
Oh.
And it's like, okay, and it's not that I like, or they're physically handicapped. It's just this
Yeah.
thing where you're perpetuating a cycle, but the child never
Yeah.
gets addressed. Luckily, my parents
Yeah.
saw that, hey, he is a little bit more of a hands-on kind of guy,
Yeah.
and I was lucky that my parents did that.
For sure.
Um,
Definitely.
there's parents that are out
You
there
wouldn't
like,
be the
hey,
same person if they would have
no.
pumped you full of drugs.
but there's parents out there who go like this. Oh, you know what? What do you give me? Ritalin? Give him Ritalin.
Give 'em the Ritalin.
Give him the Ritalin. They're not going to take the time. And that's where,
I know.
again, it goes back to the other thing. A parent's going to say,
Yeah.
here's what's up. And that's where
That's
we're trying
huge.
to draw the line. Because to me, I don't think they should have prescribed Ritalin like that to young kids.
Hell no.
Yeah, it's the same way that we were talking about the blockers and stuff like
Yeah,
that. I think
hell
it's
no.
wrong.
Yes.
But at the same time, there's no precedent for it.
Yeah.
There should be. I think that there should be like, hey, if we decide, hey, here's what we should be with children, this
Yeah.
and this, we need to find out either
Well,
behavioral.
they did figure it out, and then they said, "Oh, well, we'll give them Ritalin."
Yeah.
The
and-
pharmaceutical companies
yeah.
with all the fucking money.
Yeah, and I'm a product of, hey, look, I mean,
You said no.
I had
Eh.
some stuff that I still had to deal with, and as an adult, I
Yeah.
still deal with.
And it goes full circle. Now I'm the other guy saying, "No, I don't want the vaccine."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The same shit.
Same
Same exact
stuff.
thing.
Yeah, and that's where it's like, again, it's
And,
not.
and it was beneficial for you not to take the ADHD.
Yeah, the
medicine,
Ritalin,
and
yeah.
To me, in my mind, in the long run, I'm not saying anything bad about
No,
you.
no,
I
yeah,
don't know
no,
what's gonna
totally.
happen to you, but you could be totally fine. But
I could
in my
also
eyes,
grow a fourth arm. That's real. That's
That's-
truth. That's
yeah.
truth.
Yes.
And
for
that's
sure.
the thing is that like I can't knock you for what you believe because of your experience.
Yeah.
Just like you can't knock me for my beliefs because of my experience. Like, if we grew up the same, maybe I think exactly like you. If we
Yeah.
had the same job, I guarantee you I think exactly like you.
Yeah.
You know, like, be honest, the pandemic hit my industry so much because when
Right.
they
No one
shut
could
down
buy
everything.
instruments.
Look,
I had no money.
Yeah, if I didn't have the job at Sound Vibes,
Uh-huh.
I would have been fucked.
Right.
No gigs, no income, no nothing. I
Oh,
would
yeah.
be
Oh,
fucked.
yeah. Yeah.
I would have had to get on unemployment, but guess what? It doesn't cover musicians.
Damn.
So I would be fucked.
Yeah, for sure.
And
man.
luckily, the president
Trump.
set up some stuff that allowed
Right.
us to continue working. So, like, again, I can't
Yeah.
knock him for that.
I'm pretty sure the Democrats would have been like, nope, everyone shut it down. You know.
I mean, we're seeing, like, you know, like the stimulus checks from, you know, hey, look, you know, and to me, it's like, okay, but we're still not addressing a problem that
Yeah.
we're still
We're
having.
just throwing money at a problem that doesn't do shit.
Hey, here's this, pacify them, pacify
Yeah,
'em,
keep them locked down
pacify
longer,
'em.
longer.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, that it's no longer for me like, oh, well, it's Democrat and Republican.
Mhm.
It's to me like, hey, we need to figure out, especially here in Texas, what's
Yeah.
best for us as
Lots
a
of
state,
guns.
as people.
Leave us free.
Yeah, and the thing apart is about leave us free too is, well, whose idea of freedom? And to me, that's the hardest.
Constitution.
Yes, and that's what we should be with the system.
Yes.
If it works and we believe in it, we should follow that.
I
But-
will not give up safety for freedom.
Yeah, no, totally.
Fuck that.
No, totally.
I'll take my risks to live free than to freaking die.
And that's the thing is that's the hard buy for somebody. Is like,
Yeah.
look, if you don't do this, then this is gonna happen. Well,
Exactly.
what if
Yeah,
it doesn't
that's
happen?
freaky.
Yeah, if I don't do that, like for you, it's like, hey, if you don't get the vaccine,
Exactly. Yeah, that freaks me
you
out.
could kill your whole family. It's like, well,
I'm not
that's
worried
not.
about
Well, no,
that.
I'm saying that's like that's not what's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's
Like,
not what I'm worried
But
about.
that's what people would think. Like, well, this is what I'm telling
they're
you.
in full fear mode. Yes,
Exactly.
they're full fear mode. But not only that, it's like, if you don't do this, I can't buy food.
Yeah.
It says, hey, guess what? We decided that if you don't get the vaccine, you can't go to HB.
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about.
Well, the other
Because then
part
how
is,
far do I go?
well, they're already asking for
What
your
do I do?
vaccination cards to travel.
Oh,
Hey,
for
let me
sure.
see. Let me see your card. Let me
For
see that.
sure.
Bro, just drive your car.
And-
Like,
yeah,
just
and-
try to avoid that. And it's
Yeah.
not easy. It's getting harder and
And
harder.
yeah, it is. And they're going a little bit, just like Hitler said. He said the way you take over is by increments. You
Oh,
take
dude.
a little bit of freedom at a time. That's why I freak out, because I know my damn history. And he said that.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. You just pick at it. You just
Yeah, and
you
with-
keep going, and the next
and
thing you know,
he-
you're in a fucking gulag.
And he used propaganda all the
Oh,
time. I mean,
dude,
he
he was a
probably wrote a
king.
book on it. Here's the other part. And this is fucked up to say, but like, just like we hear, like what he did was terrible.
Yes.
Terrible.
Absolutely.
But he rallied all those people.
Yes, he did.
And that's the scary part, is that belief in his ideas
Yeah.
was like, well, then I'm going to follow this guy. And that's the part of human nature that's very
Yeah,
scary.
it is. It's very scary.
Is that, hey,
'Cause-
we want to follow something. We
Yeah.
need to.
That's what's happening. All these people are like, fuck yeah, we're going to... People on CNN, yes, we do need to force people to get vaccines. And hey, why aren't we telling... Don Lemon said the other day on CNN anchor, said that we shouldn't let these people buy food. A damn guy on the damn TV said that, man.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, motherfucker, come say that to me. Like, if that dude's in power, someone's going to die.
Well, that's the other part, is that it's easy to say it from far away.
Yeah, someone's
say,
gonna
like, hey,
die.
here's what's
if someone tells me I can't buy food for my family, that's it. That's
Well,
where the line is
the
crossed.
other part is that they're feeding into that other side of like, hey, well, yeah, hell yeah, I'm behind that 100%.
Right.
We should go out there and
Yeah.
stop them. And to me,
Uh-huh.
I think that is wrong too.
No, I'm not.
No,
Saying,
no,
I'm
I'm
not
saying,
gonna
yeah.
bring the fight to them.
No, I'm saying that they when they hear stuff like that, like you shouldn't get food. There's people who watch that and go, yeah, they're right. They shouldn't get food.
Right,
And they're
okay,
rallying
yes.
those people.
Yes, yes,
and I don't
yes.
think that is right
That's
either.
the Hitlerian move, bro.
Yeah, dude. And you see it on all factions and all places. It's again, the old tricks are the
Yes,
best tricks.
hell yeah. And,
they
and,
work.
Yeah, Hitler's main propagandist dude said, "You make the lie so big that they won't accept that you're lying to them.
Yeah.
So they just lie. The lie is so
Keep on
big,
going.
so many people believe it that the normal person says, well, I guess I better go with that because there's no way in hell they're lying to all of us.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
And that's the hard part, is that's that line right now is so blurred between people that that's what they want to do. And that's, again, they don't want this. They don't want people
Yeah.
talking. Like I said, I
Yeah.
might not change you. You might not change me, but
Because
we're
m-
discussing
yeah,
it.
because maybe someone that you say, hey, check out this podcast I was on. Maybe they're hardcore liberals or something.
They
They
hear-
hear me and they're like, what? What's this guy saying? If you're listening,
And look it up and say yes.
prove me wrong and look up anything that I've said.
Yeah, no,
Please.
totally.
Yes.
Like
totally.
I said, the funny thing is there's some stuff that I didn't know, but some stuff that I did know because
Uh-huh.
I went down, because for me it's this. I can't just watch CNN and look up all like Snopes and go like,
Right.
well, my side is right.
Right.
I have to
Yeah.
because that's the way research works.
Yeah.
Watch Fox News. Go
Yes.
to all those places and for myself decide between
What's-
these
yes,
two.
that's what you have to
Here's
do.
the common.
Right.
So this must be the actual truth here.
Yeah.
This is bullshit.
Right. You have to be
side
able
will
to
have it,
discern
yeah.
the bullshit.
And that's the thing is that, like you said it earlier, there's just some truths that are just, here's the
Right.
truth.
1 + 1 is 2.
Yeah,
You can't
and-
prove- yes.
and that's
and that's the truth.
Shifting
on-
through the bullshit.
Yes. I would encourage anybody to go to Infowars.com. That's where I get a lot of my news. He's not beholden to companies because he sells his own stuff. Because once you get someone that pays for you, then you got to do what they say.
Bro,
You know what I mean?
I used to watch Infowars back in the day.
No
until,
shit.
Until Alex Jones got a little too crazy for me.
He does get hyperbolic, but holy shit.
But dude,
he's
there's
been
some
right
stuff.
on
There's
the
some
money.
stuff I'd look up and I'd be like,
Yeah.
oh shit. And I loved when he would say,
Yeah, he would go
if
crazy.
I'm not here tomorrow, you know why? Because I said this. And dude, I look it up.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I
that's
know.
the thing is like I can't sit here in good conscience and tell you, here's what I think, and then you tell me something I'm like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like because I have to know. Like
Yeah.
I have to do
You
it
have
on
to
my
find
own
out.
because
You can't just accept what anybody tells you.
no.
Yeah, and even
no.
he says, he's like, do not accept anything I'm telling you. Research it all, and that's
Bro,
how you make yourself foolproof.
Most
you know?
parenting begins on a lie. Hey, Santa's coming. Hey, the Easter Bunny.
Yeah.
Hey, the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah.
And then you find out, wait a minute, well, what? I hope no kids listen. No, I'm joking, but like, that's the thing is that we start accepting that, hey, these little white lies are okay because
Right.
it's good for them.
Yeah.
And obviously, you want to have that experience with a child, but that on a larger level
Yep.
gets very scary.
Yes,
you
for
know, like
sure, dude.
like the idea to me, like the sheer idea that politicians are in power for me
Yeah.
is it's almost like believing in Santa Claus to me. Like I think that their interests may affect me in a positive way, and there's
Sometimes-
policies on both sides that
yes,
work,
Sometimes.
but more often than not, there's stuff that I don't agree with.
Oh, for sure.
And-
like them printing money out the fucking wazoo.
Oh, bro, paper.
They need to stop,
Paper
bro.
that has no value.
Dude, that's like a 10-hour conversation on itself, man.
Oh, bro, have you heard? Like, about like the reprints, right? Like
What
the
reprints?
stars. So like, there's money when they print it out. Like if they mess up, they
Uh-huh.
reprint it with like a little
Oh,
star.
really?
And if it's never in circulation,
Uh-huh.
it's double the value. So you could have a $20 bill in
Yeah.
this thing. If it's never been circulated,
Yeah.
it's worth $40, and it has no value. It's basically they messed up. They reprinted this.
What do they do with it?
They recirculate it, but if it doesn't get circulated, the value of those little paper
Oh,
stacks, because they have a
yeah.
little star on them,
Yeah.
go up. So you could have a
Damn.
$5 bill and you
Yeah.
can search it on there. They're like, hey, look up the bill.
You can buy one?
No, I mean
Oh.
you can get one. I
Oh.
believe from a bank. Like if you go to
Oh,
the bank
really?
and you're like, hey, I want 500,
Yeah.
they give you a stack,
Damn.
and it's never been circulated.
Oh.
It could be like
Oh, 'cause
$100
they
bills.
messed up on it.
Yeah, and if you never use them, they go up in value. But
Crazy.
you're just gonna sit on that money for
Yeah.
it doesn't
Who has
make
money to do that?
and it's pieces of paper, bro.
Dude.
No value. Do you remember? I don't know if they used to say on them. We were too young, but
yeah.
they used to put on redeemable in silver. So that means
Oh,
you could
yeah.
take your bill, go to
Yeah.
the bank, get silver. They got rid of it.
Yes,
So
they
that way
did.
you have no value. You
I
can't
know.
go and do that. There's no physical value
Yep.
in that.
Hold on real quick.
Go for it. Yeah,
going
no.
for a good while, dude.
Yeah, man. Dude, I like to
Keep going,
talk.
man.
I like to talk.
We could do more too, like in a month or so, man. I can
Yeah,
have
man.
you back. Hopefully
Yeah,
we'll have
man.
an AC in here.
Yeah,
Won't
stuff.
be as hot.
Dude, stuff like this is always fun because.
Even if you want to bring like one of your homies, like your bass player or something, we could
Yeah,
do that
yeah.
too, you know?
Oh man, my bass player isn't as. He isn't as.
Social?
Not social. He's very strong. He's the people that
Oh.
you would see like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about,
Like wants
bro?
to fight about it?
Yeah, no, totally. He's
Is he like a hardcore lib?
yeah,
No
man,
way.
straight up. And like, and even there's times where I'm like, bro, you need to chill the fuck out. Like, and like I said, like that's that mentality. Like
What does he get hard on? Like, you better
Bro.
fucking take the vaccine, dude.
yes,
No way.
yes,
He's one of those.
yes. And like to
God,
me,
have you tried
like
talking to him?
yeah, dude. To the point to look, and like I said, like you hear, like I have some liberal
Shit.
tendencies
Yeah.
to where I don't even want to talk to him sometimes because
Yeah,
it doesn't
he'll
steer away from there.
It
Like
just goes straight
we
into
we
hardcore.
went from everything, passed in through it, passed out of it.
Right.
We would be stuck there to the where I'm just going like this. And there are people, like I said, like for
Yeah,
me
dude, they're
and
so-
you talking, cool.
Right.
With him, it's like so far extreme that I'm just like, hey, bro,
Damn.
I don't even want to hear it right now, like,
Oh, shit.
because everything's a travesty. And it's like, hey, dude, we've been like I always tell him this. Look, especially with racism, like I've been dealing with racism since I was a kid because of how I look, how my
Right.
dad looks,
Uh-huh.
and it bothers me. But I know that there isn't this big agenda out to get
they're
me.
not a secret club trying to round
Yeah,
all the
there's
Mexicans
definitely
up,
there's
trying to-
definitely people
Oh yeah, I know some.
who grew up, and that's the way that. And no,
Yeah,
I've also
they've been growing up
yeah,
racist.
they've
Yeah.
been
They've been
taught
it
to
by
be
their
that.
parents.
Yeah, and I don't believe that everybody
Yeah.
who's conservative is like that. Do I think that some conservatives have that tendency for that? Yeah.
Yeah.
The same way that I think some liberals have the idea of science is the end all be all.
Right,
It's like, well,
exactly.
no,
No,
it's not.
Yeah.
Like to me, if I believe science is the end all be all, then I take out the
You
idea
cut
of
out- you
me
stop yourself from
having
thinking.
any spirituality.
Right. Exactly.
So how can I have a
Exactly.
spirit if I take all the
Exactly.
spirituality out of it?
Right.
And
It
that's what I was-
strips you, and that's what they want to do.
Oh, totally.
They want to just rip God out of you, dude. They just want to make you believe that there's no God, and you want to be nihilistic, and you know,
Yeah, and-
all
and-
that shit. It's evil, dude.
Yeah, and the hard part is, and it's nothing against like what I love, especially someone like you, who your belief system does kind of shape where you go,
Yeah.
but it doesn't cloud your judgment
Right.
because
True.
you're like, look, this is
Yeah.
why I believe this,
Yeah.
and maybe you think it's different, but this is what I believe, and I'm the
Yeah.
person that's gonna be like, bro, cool,
Right.
like,
For sure.
cool. I'm
yeah.
not gonna fight you over your beliefs,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, I know.
Like,
It's crazy.
that's what makes this country great.
Dude. I wonder if you should bring him over here.
Oh, bro, no. He I definitely think he
If
would.
you can't handle him,
Like
oh,
he would
fuck.
storm out, bro. Like, or he'd be like in there, like I can't believe, like, dude. And it's funny because like my boss, the owner of the store,
Robert, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
he's conservative.
Yeah, yeah.
And like we've had conversations where I'm like he'll talk about Nancy Pelosi. I'm like, bro, I agree with you 100%. I think the bitch is fucking crazy, but it doesn't mean that I'm gonna just jump ship for what I believe.
Yeah.
Like I do think that bitch is fucking.
Yeah.
I think that it was fucking poor taste for her to tell everybody don't go out and then go to a salon.
I know.
It
that
was
bitch.
so much bullshit.
And that bitch is kneeling, and she's got a fucking.
Oh, bro,
When they all had the kneeling, they put the scarves on.
that was the most BS shit
Dude,
I've
that
seen.
was like the fucking scarf that the
Yeah.
plantation,
See,
like the people
yeah,
that sold slaves.
like,
on
and
there.
for me, I'm like, I voted for that, and that's what I believe. But there's even times where I have to admit these people are
They're
dumb as
fucking
fuck.
crazy. But the bad
Dumb as
part
fuck.
is nobody cares. Nobody looks. What kind of garb is that? Let me see real quick. What the hell? You
They
know
were-
what I mean?
Because they were hitting.
It's almost
they
like
were-
they're doing it in their face.
They wanted to hit a demographic that was. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I agree that there's some things that happen because that's the way it is. But like, there was definitely pandering
Oh hell.
on
yeah,
both
dude.
sides, but more obvious
Yeah.
when you're kneeling
Yeah.
with the mask the same colors. I'm just even
Yeah,
I
it's
was
symbolism, dude. The
even I'm
symbolism
sitting there
is through
going
the roof.
like, bro.
Yeah.
But at the same time, look, like for me, like I said, like the mental health thing, going on to
Yeah.
something like that, where they have the gymnasts who quit in the Olympics. Did you see that?
Okay, let's jump back in, drink one more beer, or if you're done, that's
Yeah, let me
cool.
go to the bathroom real quick.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay, let's do like another like 20, 30 more minutes. Maybe you can plug in.
Yeah, man. No, I was checking it out right now. It's like, yeah.
That's the one I'm by myself, playing by myself, the looper.
Yeah, man.
Tone. Get different effects and shit. Of course, the wall and then a kill switch.
Hell yeah,
That way I
man.
can just cut it
Yeah.
right into the amp.
So you.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
Oh, we're not, man.
You can't be doing that. You gotta be playing.
Yeah, man. They're
Oh,
awesome.
man, I thought I was gonna blow your mind with the 7th Street.
Yeah, man. I loved Corn and Limp Bizkit growing up.
No
man.
shit.
Yeah.
Me too, dude.
Hell yeah. That Petrucci's nice. It's like a. Yeah.
Sure is a Petrucci.
Hell
got
yeah.
another one. I got a Majesty.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Does it have the recessed knobs and shit, all that good
I'll
stuff?
bust it out here in a minute.
That's fucking rad.
Oh, dude. That thing is so freaking nice, dude. I call it the Ferrari of guitars, man. It's the Ferrari, dude. You want a cold one, or you good? Or
Yeah, man. I'll take one.
take one more? All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta get an AC in this bitch.
Bro, like I said, I'm used to it. I usually
Yeah,
sit in
you're
my
used to it.
my garage, just
Garage
fucking chilling,
band
dude.
days, huh?
Bro, shit, yeah.
Yeah, I called Sweetwater. You know what that is?
Hmm.
And they decided to give me a credit card, and I
Bro.
went crazy.
Yeah, nah, bro. Hey,
I bought the Bertucci, I bought that interface, I bought the drum set, all the modules, all that mic. I went crazy, dude.
Hey, nah, bro. I did the same thing. I remember Robert being like, "So why don't you get it here? Because we don't have it." Like, we don't got it, bro.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Nah, dude,
Yeah.
that doesn't matter, dude. Hey, I'm
I know,
wherever you
it-
get your shit, bro. Just get
Yeah,
it.
it's true though, man. A lot of stores, like, sad to say, like,
Oh,
there's
well-
some things you just can't not get in
Oh,
stores.
well, right now, dude.
Oh, especially right
with
now,
the,
right?
that microchip shortage.
Yeah,
That affected everything electronic. So
even guitars or pedals and stuff like that
amps, digital amps, pedals, anything
Damn.
that does PA systems,
too.
anything that had that chip.
Wow,
Effect.
that's what happens when we freaking sell out to China in the world, and we don't want
Oh,
to
bro!
make
Not
stuff
only
here.
that, shutting down, and
yeah.
nobody stopped ordering.
I know.
Like
Oh, they kept ordering.
they
and they're
kept
like,
ordering. So the
"Oh,
companies, instead of saying we're
crap."
not taking orders, we're like, no, totally. sold out of their inventory, sold out of their back stock inventory,
Dang.
and still have obligations.
That's crazy. I didn't think about it that way. They just kept, hey, we still want the stuff. They're like, well,
Yeah.
what do you want us to do?
Now they're like, well, it's gonna take this long to make it because we don't
Dude.
have it.
Imagine if we went to war with China.
Oh, bro.
Dude, there are two things would happen. We'd go into like World War II style freaking manufacturing, which would be a good thing, I guess.
Yeah.
But we don't make anything here, dude.
Oh, dude, we're a war.
We don't make anything.
Dude, America's a war economy, man. Whenever we're in
Yeah.
a war, we do really good.
Yeah.
Economically, because we rally behind the army, which is
Right.
fine. That's
Yeah.
very American.
Yeah.
But like, I always feel like when we don't have war, it's like
we get soft.
we need to get something going,
Right.
right?
We need to kick a war off, a big one. Yeah. It's sad to say, dude, but that's, I don't know, dude. It's brutal. War is crazy, man.
Hell yeah, man. It's the money.
So, what are we gonna do, man? Like, are they gonna print us into oblivion, or are they gonna crash the dollar?
I mean,
or are they
that's-
gonna go into? What do you think about crypto? Like,
well,
are we
well,
gonna?
well, you know, you mentioned it earlier. Like we get rid of the dollar, which had some power behind it,
Yeah.
right? So then we were like, well, what are we gonna do? We just get one global currency,
Right.
and one that we're going
Exactly.
towards the cryptocurrency.
And
to
then
me.
all the liberals are gonna be like, yeah, that's a good idea. If you don't like it, then
Well, see, and to me,
it seems
it's-
like the liberals are hardcore for the government nowadays.
well, and that's
Like,
that's the thing is
big
that
state, you know
because
what I
it
mean?
helps, you know, and there's nothing wrong with having that mentality of like we should work together, but when you rely on a system, and like I said, I've already said I don't think that system is inherently there for me.
Yeah.
Then how
yeah,
can I rely
they're
on
doing
it?
their bidding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, you know, like
They're just getting us to jump on board with
yeah,
it.
like the movie They Live. Like,
Oh,
hey,
yeah, that's a
hey,
movie
go,
right
and you're
there,
just
dude.
sitting there like, oh my god, like this could totally. When you're watching it, you're like,
Yeah.
I can't see this being untrue.
It's real, dude. It's like an allegory of what the hell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they put it right in your face,
I know.
and it's one of those things.
Oh, sorry, I
Go for
stopped it. I thought I was accidentally. Okay, I thought for a second I might have been recording over something, but no, we're good. They live talking about that.
Yeah.
All right.
And I mean, really, dude, the whole part is that these things, especially like conspiracies and stuff, like when I was
Yeah.
younger, I looked a lot into them.
Yeah, me
And
too.
there's
I
stuff
still
that,
do.
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And there's stuff that it's the evidence is there.
For sure.
And there's stuff that I'm like, well, that's a little far.
Yeah, like you kind of gotta some of them, but you have to just discern them or kind of like
Exactly.
investigate them and say, okay, this is all the information I have. This is what I think. What's really going on?
Yeah, and
you
the
know?
other part is, again, reputable sources.
Mhm.
And your reputable sources, my reputable sources are going to be different, but we're all going to agree that there's going to be two main. Like, to me, like we've already established, like to me, Fox and CNN.
Yeah.
To me, if that's where we got to get our information, it sucks.
Yeah,
Because-
I stopped. I just watch Infowars to be
Well,
honest
yeah,
with
see,
you, dude.
and the thing is-
that's the only dude I trust nowadays.
But
It's
see,
sad.
but for me, I'll do all of them because you have
yeah,
to. Cause
well, I mean, yeah, kind of. Well, that's not true because like I'll get on like YouTube, and they'll show me like CNN. These crazy bastards are saying this, so
Yeah.
I'm still getting a dose of that. I'm like, oh shit, these
well,
people
see,
are crazy.
and I'll watch because you got to know what they're giving out. Like,
Yeah.
okay, if CNN is doling out this, okay, let me see the rebuttal on
Right.
Fox. Okay,
Mhm.
well, let me see what Infowars had it.
Yeah.
Okay, and if to me, even if it's far left or far right, but all of these things have the same information.
Yeah.
Okay, well
Weird.
then that's
Yeah.
there's something in there that's true.
Yeah.
But when there's like, okay, here's this, and then the exact opposite, and
Yeah.
they're the only two people talking about it,
Yeah.
then there's a disconnect there.
wrong.
Yeah, there's a
Mhm.
disconnect there.
Yep.
And it's sticking all that stuff, but I think part of that is that I love to do that shit. That's
Yeah, dude.
that's why I play the guitar as well as I do, is because I dive into stuff.
Right.
Because that's what I want to do. Like,
Yeah.
I need
exactly.
to. I
You
need
gotta-
to know.
You're gonna put your time into it because that's what you enjoy doing. You know.
Oh, and the other part is, I just, like you said, I need to know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
in
it
there.
bugs you, dude. And that's one of the main question that hurts me, hurts my brain, dude, is I want to know what the fuck space is, and how far is it, and how big is it, and is there anything out there, and that question I know will never be answered.
Well,
and
see,
I have to accept that.
And that's the thing, and that's the hard part. Again, like we were
That's
talking
like
about
the final level, dude, of
yeah,
the video game.
well, it's like what we're talking about with beliefs. Like, you know, you can't prove that what you think is
Yeah,
wrong, and I
right.
can't prove that it's right, and
Yeah.
I'm same vice versa.
Yeah.
But when you get into those gray areas, like I'm with you on the space thing. Like,
Right.
It bothers the hell out of
Yeah.
me that I'll only see one side of the moon.
Yeah, for sure.
Like-
For sure. And
like, what?
yeah. And I also get bothered when the guy's like, "No, you're wrong. It was the Big Bang, and and evolution is 100% fact." And I'm like,
Prove it.
"Nah, dude.
Prove it.
No,
yeah,
it ain't."
It's like prove it.
Yeah.
Like prove it.
Yeah.
Like
And, but we don't know how it started, but we know for sure it's a fact, and that's what happened. I'm like, "Nah, dude." You
well,
know?
and that's the thing is where most people have a problem is just being like, well, okay, maybe that's an idea, but I don't have to believe it and move on.
Right.
Other people are going to be like, well, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Because what I think is right.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing a lot
And
of.
a lot of those people that are saying that are reputable, high up, powerful people. In which
Yeah.
that's what makes it bad.
Well,
though, you know what I
whenever
mean?
you're high up, you got to think that one thing is a certain thing. If you're high up, there's
You
people.
have to.
Well, there's people under you, and you
Yeah.
have to follow
You're right.
what
You
they're
have
doing.
to.
And that's why,
Because
like,
if you don't, then
you know what? One of my favorite things I love to tell bosses is this: I don't want to be a manager because I can't call in. Because once I become a person of power,
yeah,
I can't be able to do what I love to do freely.
Yeah.
You don't like what I'm doing? Fire me. Cool.
right.
I don't want that responsibility personally, because then I have to be an example, and I got to do all this stuff, and I don't want to be a manager. I want to have maximum
Right.
fun at my job, you know?
Yeah.
I don't want stress, but when you're up there, those are the
I know.
responsibilities you take on.
I'm actually a supervisor.
Yeah,
and
and-
a lot of it's bullshit. Like you're
Yeah,
saying.
and there's times
there's
I'm sure...
there's perks, but I mean, yeah, you know, there's some things that are good, but like you said, it's more responsibility.
Yeah.
You got to put a good example
And
for
some
everybody.
people are
you know,
good
that's
at it.
Yeah.
Some people are
Yeah.
really good at it. Some
Yeah.
people are natural born leaders. I don't feel that personally I am. But I love to make decisions for myself. So in my life, I like to think for myself, and I like what I hate, again, going back to that, is the idea of like, if I don't agree with you, I'm automatically wrong. And
Yeah.
you know, it's cool if you think that,
Yeah.
but to fight over that,
Right.
to me, it's like, hey, look, unless he's doing something inherently, like you could see
Yeah,
obviously.
like if I say 2 + 2 is 6, then you can.
I'm gonna be like, I don't think you're wrong. I mean,
Then you could say no,
it's
you're
the numbers,
wrong.
yeah. And that's
Yeah.
the thing is that it's become when I was a kid, it was celebrate to diversity. Everybody celebrates your
Yeah.
diversity. Now it's almost like, hey, don't do that. It's mine. And
Yeah.
and that mentality is
Right,
is the
it's-
wrong direction. Period.
Completely.
Because
Like that whole cultural appropriation shit. Did you
Oh,
hear that?
bro,
I'm
yeah.
like, are you kidding me, dude? Who's coming up with this crap? I mean, they're pumping it into the college. All these ideas are coming out of colleges.
well,
that's for sure.
and then a lot of it's taught too. You know, even at the home. Because to me, and it is this. Because you know, when you get going out to college, you get exposed to a lot of different ideas.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to holding
Unless you're
yourself.
at university.
Yeah,
Those-
holding
it's like a
holding
group thing.
yourself accountable.
Yeah.
For your mind. Like, dude, there's always going to be somebody out there spewing some sort of difference from what you think, because no two
Yeah,
people
for
are the
sure.
same.
Right.
But you have to have those convictions to
Yeah.
say, hey, you know what?
Discernment.
Yeah, this is what I'm going to believe, and this is what I'm going to follow. And sometimes you're wrong. That's the hard part about being human, is that there
Yeah.
are times you're wrong, and that's okay to be wrong.
Yeah.
Now if you're killing lots of people, like some
Yeah.
presidents, I'm not going to mention
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
We mentioned them earlier.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
wrong. And there's people who are going to praise that person, like, you know, because it was different.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm a realist. I understand, like, that
Yeah.
guy
Yeah.
may have been great to some people, but I still understand
Right.
that he built those
He
cages.
killed a lot of people. And who built those cages,
yeah,
Joe?
he built
Who
those
the
cages, bro. Like, I'm not going to lie. He built them.
He did.
And maybe they were full when Trump was there, but they're still full now. So that's
Oh, they're
three.
even more full,
Yeah,
dude.
2 different parties, and
And they
it's still
forgot
there.
about it. That shit was on repeat on the news now. Huh?
Yeah, and it's wrong. And that's the thing, is that, like, I can sit there and say, you know, I voted for this,
Yeah.
but I still think that this is wrong.
Yeah, and I saw, dude, I was seeing videos. The little kids were literally sleeping in dirt.
Yeah,
Under
man.
freeways and
It's
shit.
well, man, even at the border. 'Cause I live-
Imagine if Trump was doing that. Oh my God!
Oh,
Remember they were
man.
crying and
Oh, bro.
it's the Holocaust. I'm
Bro,
like,
and-
oh,
and-
this is ridiculous.
And that's the hard thing, man, is that what I'm seeing now, again, preying on the beliefs. It's
Yeah.
if you feel like, hey man, I gotta take care of the kids, and you do that, that's gonna pull at your heartstrings.
Oh, for
You're gonna
sure.
see that and you're like, fuck it, that shouldn't be out there.
Yeah.
And they want to do that. They
Yeah.
want you to feel that empathy and
Yeah.
that, hey, well, you know what, this is what we want to do. Well, like it's like right now with the DPS stuff where
Yeah.
they're saying if you suspect somebody of being illegally
Illegal.
here, to stop them here. I think that somewhere around the border, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think somewhere like in Dallas, maybe not as much sense, but it also starts a different precedent for people who have already existing prejudices.
Yeah, I think that is a little greasy. I heard that
Yeah.
one. That one was the first one where I was like, oh, well, I understand why he's doing that.
Of course.
Because they're running rampant right now. But I don't know. There's got to be some kind of, like, there needs to be details on
Yes,
that. You know
but
what I mean?
but what they're hitting is those people who are like, hey, yeah, heck
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
what we need.
For sure.
And they're-
Your ride's here.
Oh man, we got a few more minutes then.
Okay.
But no, I mean, getting onto that, and that to me was very, very much like a blatant thing.
Uh-huh.
And you know what? He pushed it, and he's gonna push it. And
Yeah.
we live in Texas,
Yeah.
and as a people, this
Mhm.
is something we have to deal with.
Yeah.
And what do? We combat it in any way we can.
Mhm.
Now, I don't think violence in any shape or form is the answer. I think it's a causality of stuff.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes in certain situations, violence ends up being the only course. I don't think it's the right course.
Yeah.
I think it ends up being there, and that's
We'll
the
see.
only course. Yeah.
We'll see.
And
Definitely.
yeah, and especially this month, man, because even like with the Q stuff, I may follow that stuff too, just because
Yeah.
I need to know.
Yeah.
The August 13th being brought up a lot.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, like, dude, I'm informed. Like I have to
Yeah.
know because
For sure.
I
I'm
need-
surprised you know about that.
yeah, I need to know what's going on. Just because I don't think necessarily that way,
Yeah.
I need to know what that mentality is.
Oh, for
Because even I don't understand it,
Mhm.
I need to know, okay, well, here's something I have to be aware of.
sure. Yeah.
I mean, being informed, man.
For sure, man.
Learn it on your own.
Yeah. Well, Saul, man, thank you so much for coming on. This is a hell of a blast,
Oh,
man.
bro, no, it
This
was
was
a
fun.
lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, this was a long one.
Heck yeah.
I'd like to have you back, dude. We could talk some more.
Oh,
about
totally,
freaking
dude. Stuff like this is fun. And like
Yeah.
I said, one of the most important things, like I said when I text, is as long as we can have a discussion.
And we
dude.
did, and it went well. and
Yeah,
we
I
just-
mean, I'm not trying to
hashed it
change
out.
your mind. You're not trying to change mine. Maybe
Yes, I
you
am.
are. Yeah, even if you are.
but it's still,
cool.
it's coming
Yeah.
from a good place, and I'm
good
not
place, yeah.
forcing it on you. I'm not getting mad at you. I'm just talking to you.
Yeah, you
know?
didn't resort to base violence. You didn't say, "Hey, bro, I want to do this." No, and that's what it's about, man.
Yeah,
is having
for
a
sure.
civil discussion with people. Hey, and it's like a debate. You know,
Yeah.
hey, we go back and forth.
Yeah.
We may not change our mentalities, but maybe I'll go back and I'll research something you said
For
and
sure.
be like,
For sure.
bro. And that's what I like. Even
Yeah.
if I come back, I could be like, so I looked that up.
Oh
bro.
hell yeah, dude.
So I mean, the Biden head thing. I'm
Oh,
gonna check
dude,
that out.
that is
I'm gonna check that
100%
out.
real. That's gonna freak
I'm
you
gonna check
out,
that
dude.
out, man.
That's gonna freak you out.
Hell
But yeah, man. Thank you so much,
No
Sal, man.
problem,
It was
man.
good to meet you, man. And hopefully I'll talk to you again, man.
Hell yeah.
All right, man. Cool. Thanks.
No, man, that was fun. A lot
Yeah,
of
hell
fun.
yeah. Maybe I can even bring one of my goons in here and talk to you and stuff.
Oh, bro, yeah, I'm down.
I got
Like
a lot
said,
of cool friends, man.
Yeah, for me, dude, I like.
I would like to talk to your bass player, but holy shit, dude.
Yeah, no, bro. He, like, he's one of those guys who goes online and tells the people online, "Well, you're just."
He's a
you're
keyboard
dumb
warrior.
Fuck because he researches like us,
Oh, okay.
but he's one of those guys like who, well, bro, the science says this, and if all these people just got online and got on board, we'd be done with this. I'm like, well, it doesn't work that way. We're dealing
Yeah.
with people.
Well,
And-
so he's the lie's too big to believe that it's not a lie guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, oh,
Yeah,
I must
and-
believe all these big politicians because they're,
Yeah,
they're
and
the
for me,
rulers.
I'm a firm believer in the idea of like, look, dude, they've done this before.
Dude, I didn't even get to show you. Have you ever heard of the Tuskegee experiment?
Oh, yeah.
You
Oh,
have?
yeah.
They fucking injected everyone syphilis and they let them die
Yeah,
and they
see
were
how
studying
long?
them. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So don't tell me that
No,
the
bro,
government's
they do it
too,
all the time.
too good
they,
to.
They did it to one.
That's
where
what was
they,
one of these articles I had
They
here.
released psychedelic stuff into
MK Ultra.
Yeah, into
Yeah.
the water and just watch what happened.
Yeah.
Bro, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not.
That's
like,
what I'm saying. Like,
and that's on both sides, like Republican. And this
Oh,
is
of
historically.
course. That's
so
not. That's
to me, I have a hard time believing like, oh, these people do this.
Oh, the government would
Yeah.
never do that to me. They're
Like, nah, bro, they're
no,
doing
they
that
will,
to
and
you.
they do horrible shit. But.
Dude, I'm sorry, my wife came a little
No,
bit
no,
early,
no,
but
cool.
fucking A, dude,
That
nah.
was fun, man.
It was a lot of fun.
I'll put it out next week.
Yeah, no
'Cause
problem.
I got one this week, and then I'll drop it next week.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. Like I said, like, it was just fun to just say, hey, man, because a lot of times, especially with like Clarissa, I have to like watch what I say because of her thing, and like with this, it was like, you know, like it's my wife, like, look, I'm just gonna say what I want because a lot of times I get
a random dog just walked in my garage.
I get hit a lot with like, oh, I'm a live. I'm like, well, I have